When the man first displays his cultivated centipede larvae, he immediately shocks the Tang clan master, who is hailed as a poison genius. The master has a daughter and promises her in marriage to the young hero. It turns out that the centipede larvae he just showed appear harmless, but once they mature, they become the terrifying azure-spotted centipede. What shocks the Tang clan master even more is yet to come. I can not only crossbreed different species of venomous creatures, but also accurately predict the hatching time of all venomous creatures in the world. You could say no one in this world understands poison better than I do. Among 870 species of creatures, about 20,000 are known to be venomous. These 20,000 venomous insects, snakes, and ants are imprinted in my mind like a program. In my previous life, I was a venomous creature enthusiast, and even a major internet celebrity with 40,000 followers online. In an accident, I was bitten on the arm by a black mamba, one of the world's 10 deadliest snakes. My vision went black and I collapsed to the ground. When I opened my eyes again, I had arrived in this world and lived in this ruined temple for 7 years. Today, this ruined temple seems a bit unusual. In this stormy weather, a group of people with Tang character emblems burst into the temple. After hearing the commotion, I went out to investigate, but when I looked up, I saw a group of fierce-looking people staring intently at me. The leader is the Tang clan master. He didn't expect anyone to be living in such an abandoned temple. The group respectfully cupped their fists toward me. "Young hero, could you shelter us for the night to escape the rain?" Although I don't know who they are. Judging by their manner, they don't seem like bad people, so I also respectfully cupped my fist toward them. I also settled in this abandoned temple a few years ago. Please make yourselves at home. Then I glanced at the loft behind me. You're welcome anywhere else, but please don't enter the room behind me. The Tang clan master is grateful. We will certainly follow what you've said, young hero. So he orders his subordinates, never go near the young hero's loft. Find somewhere else to shelter from the rain. Everyone immediately finds shelter after hearing the order, but I notice characters printed on their clothing. It's a uniform with the character Tang written on it. They seem to be either a family clan or a martial sect. Although I'm curious about what they do, I have more important things to handle right now. I bow to the Tang clan master and retreat into the loft. Not far in front of me are some jars. These jars are my treasures. I feed my children at regular times every day. I casually open one jar lid. Inside are some insects I caught during the day. These are just food for my children, I say with a sad expression. It looks like everyone's hungry. Something delayed me today. Daddy will feed you right now. Then I open a jar containing a spider. This is a black ground tiger. It mainly inhabits the Toronto variant in Hainan and can grow to 20 centimeters. Its distinctive coloring reminds people of a black tiger. I casually pick up some food to feed the black tiger. I'm late today. You should eat more tonight. When it smells the foods. Aroma. The black ground tiger swallows it in one bite. I watch the black ground tiger eat with satisfaction. Initially, it was only thumbnail sized, but after just 2 molts, it's grown this big. Then I go to the venomous creature cabinet I built. I quickly pull out one of the boxes. Inside is the bewangling leopard gecko I'm keeping. It's also native to this area, characterized by stripes on its torso and tail. Such a rare species that was so hard to obtain in my previous life can now be found everywhere when I go out. They're also the joy of my current life. Meanwhile, outside my door, a man quietly approaches. "Young hero, are you inside?" His voice startles me, and I quickly put away all the venomous creatures. I walk to the door and ask what he wants so late at night. It turns out the Tang clan master wants to thank me for the shelter, and specially invites me to dine with them. When I learn they caught a deer, I'm immediately tempted. I've lived here for several years, eating lizards or non-venomous snakes every day, never having tasted other types of meat. I eagerly follow behind their master, constantly thanking them for their generosity. Soon I arrive in front of a large bonfire. The aroma of deer meat completely captivates me, and I can't help but drool. Seeing my expression, the Tang clan master laughs helplessly. It seems the young hero is still a child after all, unable to resist good food. Then the Tang clan master slowly speaks. "The meat needs a bit more time to cook. Before then, may I ask you a few questions?" This makes me extremely embarrassed. They definitely saw that foolish expression. How humiliating. The Tang clan master asks if I live alone in the deep mountains and how old I am. I give him a vague answer. I'm probably around 13 or 14. I accidentally injured my head as a child and don't remember much from before. I live here alone, usually catching snakes and selling their skins to get by. The Tang clan master shows a trace of sympathy. Such hardship at such a young age. During our conversation, the Tang elder takes a piece of meat and hands it to me. "You've waited long enough, young hero. Eat it while it's hot." After thanking them, I take a bite of the hot meat. The deliciousness of this meat is absolutely unforgettable. This is my happiness. Seeing me like this, both old men burst into laughter. After a while, the Tang clan master calls out to me. He claims he's looking for something and asks if I've seen anything strange in the area. I'm confused and ask him to describe this strange thing in detail, but he seems hesitant. The elder beside him tells him to speak. Frankly, we've received the young hero's kindness. There's no harm in telling him. Seeing even the elder say this, the Tang clan master no longer hesitates. Actually, they're looking for a heavenly dragon with blue spots on its body. This startles me greatly. The heavenly dragon he's talking about is just a centipede, isn't it? And I also hear him say that this centipede is extremely large. If it's an adult centipede, it could swallow 100 young heroes. His words make me completely lose my composure. This centipede seems ridiculously large. Now I finally understand one thing. I didn't travel back a few hundred years, but came to another world entirely. The elder tells me not to worry. They came here specifically to catch this centipede. Now I understand. They must be like me, planning to catch that centipede and take it back to raise it. The elder laughs heartily. "You're quite the jokester, young hero. No one in the entire martial world has ever raised a azure-spotted centipede. We came here to capture it because we want to use it as medicine." This leaves me stunned. I thought they were fellow enthusiasts, but they're medicine dealers. But I remember that the azure-spotted centipede shouldn't be usable as medicine. They're probably probably going to waste their efforts. It turns out the elder's granddaughter is seriously ill and bedridden at home, so they had to risk coming out to catch the centipede because they heard that a heavenly dragon's inner core could save her. Indeed, every era is the same. Parents' hearts are always devoted to their children. It seems when children hover between life and death, parents will try anything, but this azure-spotted centipede really can't be used as medicine. Seeing the master's pitiful state, I can't help but soften. After all, I just ate their meat. I should help them. So I slowly say, I should know where that heavenly dragon you're talking about is. If you're willing to listen to me, I can help you find it. Following my approach to find this giant centipede will definitely work, because information about all venomous creatures in this world is in my mind. Right now, I'm searching through the information in my mind. Finally, after a moment, I find the heavenly dragon's habitat. Then I tell the Tang clan master, you don't need to worry too much. I already know where that creature is. Both the master and elder are extremely shocked, but before I answer them, they need to tell me where they've searched before. The master slowly says they previously searched the north and east of this area, mainly searching during the day, focusing on the riverside in the north. This is about what I expected. No wonder they couldn't find the azure-spotted centipede. My words confuse both masters. What do you mean by that, young brother? Centipedes belong to arthropods. Their activity range is quite extensive, and because they're cold-blooded animals, they need hiding places that maintain temperature and humidity. Another interesting fact is that centipedes differ from most insects with waterproof membranes. Centipedes have weak waterproof membranes and breathing pores on their skin, so they actually don't like very wet places. They're strange creatures that need high environmental humidity but hate too much water, yet can't survive long without water. So I suspect such a large azure-spotted centipede is unlikely to live in dense forests or by rivers. The elder suddenly understands. It seems azure-spotted centipede don't prefer places like rotting wood or crevices. Some small centipede might appear in such places, but you mentioned a large one. With such a large body, fallen trees and dense forests or riverside rocks wouldn't work. There's no place for it to hide, so the search direction should be in the mountains. Hearing this, the two masters exchange glances and nod. This young brother is right, but the Tang clan master is still puzzled. Where exactly would the azure-spotted centipede appear? If you could tell us, we would be greatly grateful. I chuckle, if I'm not mistaken. That heavenly dragon should be to the west. I point ahead where mountains stretch endlessly. I suggest you go to the Rocky Mountains to the west. If it's a centipede, it will rest under sun-warmed stones during the day, but at night, it will roam around. The Tang clan members spend the next 3 days searching this rocky mountain. The Tang clan master even jumps to the highest point to observe the surroundings, but finds nothing. Finally, one Tang clan disciple can't take it anymore and approaches the master. Did that young hero make a mistake? There's no way a heavenly dragon could be here. The next moment, the master instantly jumps down. That's enough for today. Fire the signal flare. Gather the search team, prepare to leave. The master feels extremely unwilling. Where could this damn azure-spotted centipede be? Could his most excellent daughter really die in the bloom of youth? Thinking of his pitiful daughter, Tang Shil-san can't help but clench his fists. At this moment, a tremendous sound echoes throughout the mountain forest, and it's accompanied by a monster's roar. Everyone panics, but the master has a vague suspicion in his heart. Sure enough, within 3 meters, a large stone bursts out from underground. This shocks both the elder and master completely. A massive dark shadow slowly rises from underground. Looking closely, it's the azure-spotted centipede dragon they've been searching for. The young hero was right. It really appeared here. Meanwhile, back at the temple, this thunderous sound carries over, making the earth tremble. I don't know how big that centipede is, but I can feel the intensity of their battle is beyond imagination. Even the mountains are shaking. However, I'm very excited to see what the centipede looks like. After all, I'm quite curious about how big a giant centipede that could swallow 100% of me would be. After a hard battle, the Tang clan members finally take down the giant centipede, and the Tang clan master successfully obtains the azure-spotted centipede dragon's inner core, which is surrounded by blue-green light. Many people cry tears of joy. This way, they can save the young miss. The Tang clan master tells his father to return first while he stays to handle other matters. As the saying goes, grudges are carved in blood, kindness is carved in stone, resentments should be etched in blood, while favors should be carved in stone. Only then does the elder realize he was so focused on his granddaughter that he nearly committed a great discourtesy. Then he nods, puts away the inner core. You must treat the young hero well. If he wants anything, try to satisfy him. The master naturally understands this clearly, but first he needs to settle the injured warriors, then go find the young hero. What they don't know is that I'm now facing a big problem. This morning when I got up, I found 3 centipede larvae clinging to me. These 3 little centipedes really like me, constantly nuzzling my cheeks as if they think I'm their father. Last night, I cleaned the eggs as usual and placed them by my pillow. But when I woke up this morning, they had all hatched. This surprised me greatly, and these centipedes are unexpectedly cute. But the trouble now is what to do with them. Do I have to keep them with me forever? And these little guys are particularly clingy. I can't get them off me at all. Whenever I try, they keep biting my clothes, not wanting to let go of me at all. Actually, last night I also went to the western mountains, and I found a cave that seems to be the azure-spotted centipede's lair. I searched the entire cave and only found 3 eggs, but I'm still glad I came early. If I had been any later, I might not have gotten even these 3 eggs. These 3 centipedes hatched successfully the next day. Although I didn't get to see a living azure-spotted centipede, finding the remaining eggs was lucky. Except for one bad thing. These 3 centipedes keep clinging to me and won't come off. I keep scratching my back, trying to get them off me. Although they don't need to eat before their second molt, and I don't need to worry much about them, having them constantly hanging on me is troublesome. Just then, I have a bright idea. If I go into water, they should automatically leave, right? Thinking of this, I can't help but chuckle. Let's see if you'll come off now. Then I tell the centipede larvae on my body, I'm going to take a bath. If you're brave enough, keep staying on me. This startles the centipede larvae greatly. lately. After some time, Tang Chil-san comes to this small ruined temple. He's here specifically to thank me. He calls at my door for 2.5 hours without getting a response. This makes him curious. Could the young hero not be home? Then he pushes open the door and enters. Although I told him before not to enter my room, he really can't resist. After entering, he first looks around and finds it quite tidy. There are herb jars and medicine boxes inside. This makes the Tang clan master guess that I might be studying medicine. Then he sighs and prepares to leave. After all, barging into someone else's home is quite impolite. But the moment he turns around, he suddenly stops because he hears rustling sounds. This sound makes the Tang clan master pause and look back. This sound is very familiar to him. Besides that, the jars nearby are also making chirping sounds. These sounds make the master go forward to investigate. He opens one of the lids without hesitation. However, the scene inside really startles him. The young hero actually raises these things. Inside the jar is a black spider. Just from the color alone, you can tell this spider is highly venomous. Then he looks at the cabinet above. Could there be a venomous creature in every box? He quickly pulls open one of the boxes at random. Inside is actually a yellow and white lizard. Then he opens 3 or 4 more boxes, and each one shocks him immensely. Take this canopy beetle. Not to mention its toxicity, its rarity alone makes it extremely uncommon. The Tang clan master also finds a pile of snakeskins in the boxes. Could these be what the young hero mentioned about selling skins for a living? He actually has so many of these precious things. This scene is like a dream to him. He can't believe it. Could that young hero be raising venomous creatures and making them reproduce? If that's the case, it's terrifying. Because even the Tang family, who are experts in poisons and venomous creatures, only raise them to extract venom, and have never found a way to increase their numbers through reproduction like this. The Tang clan master slowly walks out of the room. He didn't expect that this small chance encounter saved his daughter. But the real fortune is actually the young hero himself. The master looks up and sees me walking slowly toward him. I anxiously ask what happened to his arm. Was he injured? The master interrupts me. This small injury is nothing to worry about. There's something more important I need to tell you. However, at this moment, the master seems to sense an enormous killing intent. He quickly turns his gaze toward the entrance. There he sees a purple light continuously gathering. Then, from that purple light emerges a humanoid monster with overwhelming presence. The man gives an evil smile. I never expected to encounter you. At this moment, Tang Chil-san waves his sleeve and directly sends me flying behind him. He tells me to be careful and avoid this person's attacks, but the master's warning comes too late. That person is already almost upon us. With just one stride, he covers such a distance and arrives in front of the master. He strikes heavily with his palm, putting all his power into hitting the master's arm. The moment the attack connects, the master groans and continuously coughs up blood. However, the opponent's attack isn't over. He puts his hands together and fires an energy blast that destroys the temple. A breeze passes by and the master, completely outmatched, heavily falls to his knees. He's very surprised. He didn't expect to encounter a master at his father's level here. He must find a way to let the young hero escape. But when he clearly sees the 2 figures ahead, he's scared out of his wits. I'm now firmly grasped in this man's hand. With just a slight squeeze, he could send me to meet Buddha in the West. The man can't hide his joy. He heard yesterday that Tang family members came to Hainan Island, so he came to look. He never expected the myriad poisoned divine Lord's son would be here alone and injured. Hearing this, the master feels great alarm. The opponent knows him and bears a grudge. May I ask who you are, senior? Why do you trouble me and the young hero? The man clenches his fists tightly and says, I understand that you don't recognize my face when you see it, but can't you recognize these red fists of mine? I am the one your father made into this blood hand Rakshasa Zhou Enyang. The master is greatly horrified. He didn't expect it to be Zhou Enyang. He heard before that Enyang was hit by a poisoned palm to the head and then fell off a seaside cliff. It looks like he survived, by luck. Thinking of this, he angrily shouts, let that young man go. He has nothing to do with us. I'm willing to give my life to spare his. Hearing this, Zhou Enyang becomes even more excited. The more you want me to release him, the less I will. Anyone who has had contact with the Tang family, I will kill them all. His words make the master extremely anxious. It seems this great devil still won't spare the young hero. At the same time, salty saliva is about to flow from my mouth, which means I'm severely lacking oxygen. Seeing this, Zhou Enyang laughs heartily. Let me send you, little guy, to your death first. The next moment, Zhou Enyang's aura begins to explode, making my breathing increasingly difficult. I beg him to spare me. I curse inwardly. I didn't expect to die here. It's really pathetic. I've only been in this world for a few years, and I'm going to die again. At this moment, it seems like 3 eyes inside my body burst with endless killing intent. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 centipedes inside me quickly drill out from my chest. Their target is very clear. Zhou Enyang in front. The 3 little ones are very fast. In just the blink of an eye, they reach Zhou Enyang's arms, chest, and neck. At this point, Zhou Enyang has already been bitten several times by these 3 little ones before reacting. This is bad. I didn't expect these 3 to be azure spotted centipede. Those are extremely poisonous creatures. How are they on this young man? He immediately prepares to crush the 3 young centipedes to death, otherwise he'll be the one to die. However, his movement suddenly stops completely. His body turns purple, and he spits out a large mouthful of blood. The master Zhou Enyang falls in the ruined temple. If this gets out, won't he be utterly disgraced? I didn't expect such a powerful person to be alive and well 1 second, then dead the next. To shirk responsibility, I asked the master beside me if he was a bad person. If he was bad, then it doesn't matter that he's dead. The master is so shocked his jaw drops. This is too incredible. The famous Zhou Enyang actually died at the hands of the young hero. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he definitely wouldn't believe it. However, the next moment, as if thinking of something, his facial expression breaks into an uncontrollable smile. This young hero should become a member of of my Tang family. I absolutely cannot let him get away. I pick up a branch nearby and keep poking Zhou Enyang's forehead with it. Finding he has no reaction at all, it looks like he's really dead. A few days after Zhou Enyang's death, this temple is already in ruins. Since that battle, the master seems to have fallen seriously ill, and I take care of him every day. I tell the master to give me the location of Tang clan so I can immediately notify them to come get him, but thinking carefully, I can't leave him here alone, yet I can't call a doctor either. I'm caught in a dilemma for a while, but this old guy really surprises me. He spit up so much blood yet shows no signs of dying. The master chuckles. I am a martial world person. How could I die so easily? This startles me. So you're a martial arts person. The martial arts people he mentions, aren't they like the ones I saw in TV dramas? The kind that fly around and know martial arts? The master smiles awkwardly. Although such people exist, they're extremely rare. In the martial world, only a few masters can reach the level you're talking about. Now I completely understand. I really came to an extraordinary otherworld. Otherwise, how could there be centipedes as big as houses? Seeing that I know little about martial world affairs, Tang Chilson plans to explain things to me. First, he asks to introduce himself. He calls himself Tang Chilson, master of the Tang family, and asks for my real name. I say straightforwardly, I'm called Soryong Wei. The master slowly closes his eyes and carefully savors my name. Soryong Wei. Soryong Wei. It sounds like a delicious name. Then he looks at me. I have many curious questions. May I ask them? I tell him to speak freely. There's no need for formality between us. So Tang Chilson asks without hesitation, are those creatures on your body heavenly dragons? So he's curious about the centipedes on my body. They are indeed centipedes, but only azure-spotted centipede larvae. This startles Tang Chilson greatly. He sits up directly and questions, are you taming azure-spotted centipede larvae? What method are you using? Facing his questions, I'm somewhat embarrassed. After all, he keeps asking if I raised all those venomous creatures, and he claims he saw them by accident. Who accidentally enters someone's room? This is a long story. If you want to hear it, I can tell you slowly. Please speak freely, young hero. I have plenty of time to listen. So I tell him about the day they went to hunt the azure-spotted centipede, and about those things in my cabinet. Afterward, Tang Chulson is greatly shocked. You mean you personally took the eggs back to cultivate them? I nod. Because I know the approximate hatching time, I went and brought them back. This leaves Tang Chilson at a loss for words. After all, he's never heard of anyone knowing hatching times. I go to the cabinet and casually open a drawer. Then two different colored lizards appear in my hands. In my right hand is an ordinary Kong Tong lizard with yellow stripes on its body and white stripes on its tail. The other one has a yellow head and a white tail. By selecting lizards with large white tails for breeding, you can cultivate these two color variations. After hearing this, Tang Chilson finds it somewhat incredible. If that's the case, could you breed two different types of venomous creatures together? Speaking of this, he talks rapidly. In that case, if you breed two highly venomous creatures together, couldn't you create an even more venomous one? His thinking is quite open-minded. I hadn't thought deeply about it before, but theoretically it seems feasible. Before I finish speaking, Tang Chilson exclaims, young hero, you're not joking, are you? Is it really feasible? After hearing my affirmative response, he finally feels relieved and makes a decision. Young hero, join the Tang clan. No, you should join our Tang family. He becomes more and more excited. As long as you're willing to join me and the Tang family, I'll teach you any martial arts without reservation. Whether it's spiritual medicines, herbs, or any kind of poison, I'll give you however much you want. If it's you, I think you should be able to catch or cultivate the 10 greatest venomous creatures of Central Plains from martial world legends. If this still isn't enough to move my heart, he can let his daughter marry me. This greatly shocks me, and I ask him to repeat what he just said. Tang Chilson laughs heartily. Though you're young, you're still a man. This is normal. I said I'll marry my daughter, known as the 3 flowers of Central Plains, to you. But I directly interrupt. I'm not asking about these flowers and plants. I'm talking about the 10 greatest venomous creatures of Central Plains. Are they as powerful as the blue-spotted heavenly dragon? Tang Chilson's gaze is extremely determined. Although the azure-spotted centipede is powerful, this low-level venomous creature is far inferior compared to the 10 greatest venomous creatures of Central Plains. From house-sized scorpions to golden frogs that shine like gold, each of these venomous creatures exceeds your imagination. Tang Chilson chuckles. It looks like I've already convinced you, and he can tell just from my expression that I'm very interested in this. 2 days later at the temple, when the Tang clan members discover Zhou Enyang appeared here, they're immediately shocked. Tang Chilson slowly speaks of the previous danger. It was really close to disaster. He probably went into seclusion to focus on improving his martial arts and reached a level close to my father's. Suddenly someone seems to think of something, if that's the case, since the master killed him. Haven't you already ascended to the myriad poison realm? As soon as that person finishes speaking, people continuously congratulate the master on successfully crossing realms. Tang Chilson shakes his head. It's not as you say. And Zhou Enyang wasn't killed by me. He was killed by the young hero sitting beside me. Everyone is greatly surprised to hear this. 3 people move very quickly and immediately come before me. They thank me, thanks to the young hero for saving the Tang family master. Could you be an immortal who has returned to youth? Tang Chilson speaks again. You few seem to have some misunderstanding. Why don't I let you see directly? I smile slightly and tap my chest, signaling the little guys can come out for a stroll. Soon someone sees something wriggling inside my clothes. The next moment, 3 yellow centipedes drill out from inside. Everyone is extremely shocked. These 3 centipedes are heavenly dragons, aren't they? Could it be that these 3 larvae killed Zhou Enyang? None of them expected that heavenly dragons could be tamed. Young hero, to have such ability at such a young age, why don't you join our Tang clan? His words make me somewhat embarrassed. Let me consider joining the Tang clan for now. Then Tang Chilson checks his injuries and finds they're almost healed, so he prepares to depart. After all, the next matter probably can't be delayed. This makes me curious. Isn't your business already completed? Do you have other things to find? Young hero, you don't know, this blood hand Rakshasa Do Unyang practiced a martial art called blood hand single palm. This is an extremely terrifying evil technique that requires human blood and bone marrow to reach perfection. For him to cultivate to this level, he must have consumed countless people to achieve this accomplishment. This startles me greatly. What kind of crazy martial art is this? This martial world is too dangerous. And this is what Tang Chiel-san worries about. If that guy left behind a manual or took disciples, we must deal with it to eliminate future troubles. We absolutely cannot let such a cruel evil technique reappear in the martial world. Besides that, if anyone was captured by them, we can help rescue them. All disciples nod. Then the master looks at me and invites me to travel with them. Since I'm very familiar with the terrain here, I hesitate somewhat, not about him asking me to help, but about how joining the Tang clan would mean being restricted. If I become part of the Tang family, I might have to work there for life. Normally, shouldn't you intern while grasping the company atmosphere and observing the boss's character? So I nod, indicating I will definitely offer full support, and that I also deeply hate people like Zhou Unyang. So I must take on this responsibility without hesitation. Since it involves saving people, we must hurry our journey. But in my heart, I'm also calculating, planning to figure out the Tang family's true nature during this journey. Otherwise, I won't easily join them. After all, capable people interview companies in reverse, and I happen to be a capable person. The death turtle dove, the deadliest among the 10 greatest venomous creatures of Central Plains, hailed as the emperor of birds, with a wingspan of 5 meters, razor-sharp beak, and entire body covered in purple-red feathers. Upon hearing this, I become incredibly excited. I mean, who wouldn't love such a venomous creature? The venomous insects and snakes on Earth are merely at a cute level at best, but this world has biological weapons flying around in the sky. I immediately want to form a contract with the death turtle dove, but Chel-san pours cold water on my enthusiasm. This bird is extremely rare and incredibly arrogant, and if you truly encounter one, only by mastering Tang Clan's supreme poison arts and reaching the realm of immunity to myriad poisons can you form a contract. Chel-san looks at me with scheming intent. This technique is never taught to outsiders. Why don't you join our Tang clan? This shocks me beyond belief. So you, old fox, were waiting for me here all along. It turns out that 3 days ago, while searching for Bloodhand Rakshasa's lair, we stumbled upon a village by pure chance. Looking around, I noticed something strange about this village. Everyone in the village has lifeless expressions on their faces. Even the children appear weak and listless. Chil-san respectfully cups his fists and asks the village chief, "Have there been any missing persons in the village recently? We're investigating Bloodhand Rakshasa's lair. The village chief doesn't seem to want to get involved with us. They don't want too much entanglement with Central Plains people. So he says there have been no disappearances here, and nothing unusual has happened in their village. You better leave quickly." Chil-san questions him. "The number of houses here doesn't seem to match your population. Are you sure nothing unusual has happened in the village?" However, the village chief directly tells us to get lost, not wanting to waste more words with us. Chil-san feels somewhat helpless and turns to ask me, "Didn't you say that Li people are very friendly to the Han people? This doesn't look like it." Just then, I see a girl ahead swaying unsteadily, and the next second she collapses right in front of everyone. The village chief holds the girl's body, tears streaming down his face. "Xiao Mei, you can't die!" Chil-san finds it very strange. Everyone in this village seems abnormal. At the village entrance, he had already noticed that many people had dull expressions on their faces, as if they had all taken some kind of prohibited substance. Chil-san quickly steps forward. "I know a little about medicine. Let me help you." Although he's not a real doctor, his medical achievements are quite impressive. Treating a child is definitely no problem for him. While Chil-san examines the child, the village chief begins telling us about the strange happenings in the village. Not long ago, a strange disease started spreading in the village, making not only the children critically ill, but even the strong adults sickly. Soon our group immediately heads to the village chief's house. During this time, I asked the Tang clan disciples, "Is Chil-san's medical skill very advanced?" The disciple says confidently, "Chil-san was being modest earlier. With his medical skills, he could rank among the top on the entire continent, but his poison arts are 10 levels above his medical skills. This amazes me. So he's such a formidable person. I thought they were just poison-using assassins or groups. If I joined Tang clan, besides the powerful poison arts, learning some medical skills wouldn't be bad either." However, the disciple's tone suddenly changes. "We also often capture bad people to test poisons on them and observe their reactions. This scares me. What if they use me for human experiments?" I suddenly realize this group isn't to be trifled with. I need to carefully consider joining Tang clan. 2.5 hours later, Chil-san uses his internal energy to preserve the girl's life. The village chief expresses deep gratitude for this. The injured girl is his granddaughter and his only family. He absolutely won't let anything happen to her. At this moment, Chil-san senses something's wrong. During the treatment, he discovered the girl's pulse is extremely irregular. Could her heart have been this weak since birth? Actually, no. The village chief sighs deeply. "She started getting sick half a year ago. Not just my granddaughter. Others also became sickly and listless. It's precisely because of this strange disease that he wanted to drive us away earlier, not wanting us to catch it too." After Chil-san encounters this situation, he decides to help them. He asks the village chief to gather people for medicine testing. He'll create some medicine beneficial for the heart. The village chief is instantly moved to tears. "Thank you so much," Chil-san chuckles. "Tang clan always helps those in mortal danger. We won't hesitate when it comes to such matters." This gives me a new understanding of them for the first time. It seems I should consider joining Tang clan after all. This organization seems pretty decent. It's not until midnight that Chil-san finally finishes his work, but it's precisely because he examines so many patients that he discovers a tricky situation. Their symptoms include weakness in limbs and swollen eyes, but some people also have irregular pulses and mild fever. This troubles the Tang clan. Everyone shows different symptoms, making treatment very complicated, but the severely affected patients all have heart problems. He then turns to ask Shubei, "Where is Soryong? Why haven't I seen him around? He went to sleep in the evening." evening. Perhaps he's been too tired lately, Chil-san thinks carefully. He's someone who hasn't practiced martial arts, yet he's been running around busy with us. He's bound to be tired. Plus today's rushing around. Soryong has done his best. He then suggests going to check on me. Soon my door is pushed open. Above my head are 3 azure-spotted centipedes, sleeping soundly just like me. Chil-san shows a fatherly, kind smile. This son-in-law is really nice. Even his sleeping looks so adorable. But the next moment he's shocked. How could there be such a thing on Soryong's face? Chil-san strides to my side and quickly raises his arm. With a loud slap, he hits me hard across the face. This slap directly wakes me up. With wise eyes, I ask him, "What exactly are you doing? Why did you hit me?" Chil-san tightly grips something in his hand, wanting to crush it to death. Chil-san frantically explains, "Let me explain." It turns out that just after Chil-san showed that fatherly, loving smile, he suddenly discovered a small golden insect on my face, constantly moving in circles. Since there are many venomous insects here, he instinctively wanted to protect me, so he slapped me. As Chil-san speaks, he extends the dead insect in his hand. It's as big as a longan fruit. But when I see this scene, I'm greatly shocked. How could this type of insect appear here? At this moment, I suddenly remember what Chil-san said during the day and can't help making a connection. Although the patients have different illnesses, they all show symptoms of irregular pulse, right? If that's the case, then it's easy to understand why this strange disease occurred in the village. I point up and say, "It's because of this guy." Upon hearing this, Chil-san is greatly shocked. It turns out this insect is called a kissing bug, a type of assassin bug from the Reduviidae family. It feeds on blood around people's eyes or lips while they sleep. That's how the kissing bug got its name. Because it's elusive and quieter than mosquitoes when feeding, people also call it the vampire bug or assassin bug. Although the bug itself isn't poisonous, its stomach is full of harmful parasites. So once bitten, you get infected by its excrement, causing trypanosomiasis, a disease called Chagas disease. My explanation leaves Chil-san and the others stunned. So this insect is actually ranked in the top 7 of deadly animals? That's terrifying. I then look at the village chief. Do the dogs in this village also have the same problem? Indeed, as you said, the dogs in the village have the same symptoms as people. If that's the case, then my granddaughter can still be saved. I think carefully. If there's medicine, of course she can be saved. But there's a problem. We can't find the medicinal ingredients in a short time. Chil-san chuckles. It seems I really didn't choose wrong this time. Shubei beside him is also overjoyed. Chil-san has keen insight and has already understood Soryong's true value. The words of these 2 men confuse me. He emphasizes to me again that they are Tang clan people. He says it 2 or 3 times in a row, but so what if they're Tang clan people? Actually, there's something called leeches in this world, also known as Jew worms, or insects raised by evil people from Central Plains. Those bad guys make people swallow these insects, then periodically torture or control them. This surprises me greatly. They can actually control people? These Jew worms are too powerful. Chil-san's expression becomes serious. Indeed, very powerful. Many martial artists have lost their lives after being infected by goo. Hearing Chil-san's words, the village chief behind us is extremely distressed. If Jew worms are so powerful, then isn't my granddaughter beyond saving? Chil-san tells the village chief not to worry. Martial artists have long been dedicated to researching antidotes for GU, so your granddaughter can be saved. I instantly understand his words. There's no one else here except Tang clan, so Tang clan must be able to save this girl. The next moment, Chil-san's words confirm my guess. Guess where martial artists would make such medicine? Without waiting for others to answer, he answers himself. Of course it's our Tang clan. We can even dissolve fist-sized goo inside the body. These small, visible things are definitely no problem. This amazes me. Sorcery worm dissolution pill. What a cool name for this bug-killing medicine. Old man, don't worry. We'll save your granddaughter's life. 2.5 hours later, the little girl's body gradually recovers, and the villager's poison is gradually removed. Perhaps to show their gratitude, they prepare a large table of good food to entertain us. Chil-san looks at me and chuckles. You should thank not me, but this young hero. If Soryong hadn't figured out the cause, this matter definitely wouldn't have been so simple. For a moment, I'm actually thanked by all the villagers, which makes me somewhat embarrassed. I turn to look at Chil-san. Although Tang clan medicine was used for treatment, he seems to attribute all the credit to me. It seems he also likes seeing everyone thank me. This guy is really good to me. This moves me somewhat, and I can't help but feel more inclined to join Tang clan. After a while, the village chief hesitates to speak. He quietly tells Chil-san, actually, what you asked at the village entrance does have some clues. I specifically sent people to inquire outside today, and there really were some discoveries. But this isn't good news. There's a girl in our village who married here from another village. She says her home village. Several years ago, a series of strange disappearances occurred. This greatly shocks Chil-san. It seems I came to the right place. As long as we find that village's location, we can destroy Bloodhand's lair. He eagerly asks where that place is. That evening, we arrive at the village the chief mentioned and find a cave. As soon as we approach, we smell the stench of corpses. When we go in to look, we're even more shocked. The ground is covered with skull-shaped venomous insects, all corpse poison. Corpse poison refers to toxic substances produced by decomposing bodies. Soon, someone discovers a mysterious animal ahead. We see a purple bird feeding on venomous snakes on the ground. Some fool actually throws a stone directly at it, because he doesn't want to see these corpses being desecrated by a bird. Obviously, the bird is startled by the stone. It immediately looks fiercely at us, its entire aura suddenly erupting. Someone actually dares to disturb my feeding? They must be tired of living. Chil-san immediately steps forward to stop any rash actions, sensing something's wrong. The next moment, this large bird flies directly into the sky, constantly flapping its wings. However, the next scene leaves me too shocked to speak. I see the white bones in front of me slowly melting. This terrifying sight fills me with horror. Just as I'm about to scream, Chil-san behind me covers my mouth. Chil-san shouts, "Everyone get away from here! That bird is a death turtle dove. There's a legend in the martial world where the death turtle dove love goes, nothing grows, and everywhere it passes becomes white bones. This is the presence of the deadliest among the 10 greatest venomous creatures of Central Plains. After returning, Chilsan explains the existence of the death turtle dove to us. The death turtle dove has a wingspan of 5 feet, sharp bronze-colored beak, and body covered in purple-red feathers. When it senses anger, it spreads its wings and burns all surrounding objects to death, turning them into poison. With a golden crown on its head, it truly has the bearing of a king. This is the death turtle dove. The more I listen, the more excited I become. Could this be one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures? Chilsan nods. That's right, and it's the deadliest of the 10 greatest venomous creatures. Its power far exceeds the other 9. This makes me ecstatic. So it's actually the emperor among the 10 venomous creatures? This is absolutely incredible. The venomous insects and snakes I encountered on Earth are merely at a cute level compared to the death turtle dove. There are also rumors that the death turtle dove only eats snakeheads. It seems those snakes with corpse poison lured it here. That bird is extremely rare. Ordinary people might never see one in their lifetime. I ask if this bird can be captured. However, this scares the Tang clan disciples behind us. They've never heard of anyone wanting to capture one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures. Chil-san chuckles, having already seen through the young man's thoughts. It seems you're very interested in the 10 greatest venomous creatures. There's actually a way to capture this bird. Actually, as long as you master Tang clan's supreme arts and reach the realm of immunity to myriad poisons, even the death turtle dove poison can be resisted. Only our Tang clan's martial arts in this world can withstand such intense toxicity. Chil-san then makes a troubled gesture. This is really troublesome. This is our Tang clan's secret technique. It can't be taught to outsiders, although I really want to help you. As the clan leader, I can't violate our clan rules. I silently curse this old fox for waiting for me here. You just want me to become a Tang clan member, right? Fine, I'll fulfill your wish. Everyone is deeply impressed by Chilsan's move. It seems Tang clan will have a peerless genius in the future. Chilsan tells me to think carefully. If you can join Tang clan today, you can even get some gifts. But if you consider too long, I'm afraid this old man will have to reconsider too. His words make me tremble with anger. I hate being threatened most. I'm supposed to be evaluating the company. How did the company end up evaluating me? But to capture the 10 greatest venomous creatures, I'm still willing to join Tang clan. Upon hearing my agreement, Chilsan grins from ear to ear. He pats my shoulder and says solemnly, "From now on, we're family. If you don't understand anything in the future, just ask me. I'll personally guide you." 2.5 days later, we arrive at Bloodhand Rakshasa Jo Unyang's residence. We also discover a martial arts manual in the cave. Chilsan opens it and sees the characters are written in blood. Bloodhand single palm manual. Isn't this too cruel? Actually writing with blood? Chilsan puts away the martial arts manual, tucking it into his chest. Now we've obtained the azure-spotted centipede's inner core and found this manual. It's time to go back. At this time, I suggest returning to the Taoist temple to release all those little creatures I raised before. Just as we're preparing to leave, I vaguely notice something strange behind us. I immediately tell everyone to stop and look in the direction I'm pointing. The glowing object turns out to be a feather, belonging to the death turtle dove. Chilsan carefully examines it and finds nothing special about the feather, and it's not highly toxic either. He then puts the feather in a box, preparing to give it to me since he feels I'm quite interested. Let this be a gift for joining Tang clan. Meanwhile, the Tang clan elders rush frantically and finally arrive at Tangwu City. Upon arrival, he calls to the servants to quickly let him see his granddaughter. Finally, several servants support the old patriarch as he limps inside. If they're any slower, his granddaughter might not hold on. Soon the old patriarch arrives at his granddaughter's room. He excitedly tells his daughter-in-law, "We finally brought the medicine back." Tang mother looks incredulous. "I can't believe they actually got the azure-spotted centipede's inner core." Looking at his granddaughter, his pale complexion, the elder patriarch feels very distressed. Fortunately, I rushed here, otherwise it would have been too late. He quickly puts the medicine into his granddaughter's mouth. In just a moment, a medicinal fragrance emanates from his granddaughter's body, filling the entire room with the aroma. The elder patriarch quickly checks his granddaughter's pulse. He was once a person of superb medical skills. After sensing his granddaughter's internal organs and confirming everything's fine, he finally feels relieved. The inner core's medicinal power has now stabilized his granddaughter's condition. The poison has been suppressed and will soon be expelled from her body. Tang mother looks worriedly at her daughter, hoping she'll open her eyes and wake up soon. Meanwhile, I'm extremely exhausted. I heard long ago that Central Plains territory is vast, but didn't expect it to reach this extent. We first took a ship from Hainan to Qingzhou, then passed through Nanning. After a month-and-a-half journey, we finally arrive at Tongclan's location. Soon we arrive at Tongclan. When I see Tongclan's magnificent gate, I'm incredibly amazed. Truly worthy of being one of the top sects in the martial world. Really impressive. Mainly because the territory here is extremely vast. Everywhere we can see is under Tang clan's jurisdiction. This makes me swallow nervously. Tang clan seems very wealthy. The next moment, I'm startled by the Tang clan disciples rushing out, mainly because their aura is quite intimidating. Among the crowd, I notice someone in a different uniform wearing red clothes. Could this person also be from Tang clan? The woman's steps are incredibly light. When Chil-san sees the woman's figure, he's extremely shocked. "Haven't seen you for 3 months. I've missed you dearly." The girl at this moment has tears in her eyes, with an expression that makes anyone feel incredibly sympathetic. I'm stunned by her beauty. There's actually such a beautiful woman in this world. In my previous life, although I live streamed with talent broadcasters, but they're just caked in cheap makeup. But the girl before me is completely incomparable. This is the first time I've seen such a dazzling person. Chil-san slowly says, "Soryong, let me introduce someone to you. This is my daughter Hua Un Tong, that is, what flower you mentioned before." His way of speaking leaves me stunned. Who introduces their daughter like this? And please don't mention that embarrassing incident. The Tang clan young lady is completely confused. confused. What flowers and plants? I have no idea what my father is talking about. At this moment, Cheol-san seems to finally remember something. Right, he said flowers and plants. Soryong said before that my daughter is just flowers and plants. Couldn't arouse any interest at all. Looking at the Tang clan young lady, I feel somewhat shy. I did say that before, but at the time I was attracted by the 10 greatest venomous creatures. How could I know the Tang clan young lady would be so beautiful? Looking back at my actions then, I was indeed too hasty. I should have agreed to the marriage proposal first. Now I don't know how to handle this situation. I can only smile awkwardly. If the young lady doesn't mind, I'm willing to marry into Tang clan. Hua Yun Tang is the only legitimate daughter of Tang clan's main line. With her appearance alone, she earned the title of one of the 3 flowers of the martial world. She's also a heaven-sent genius rarely seen in Tang clan for 100 years. Her mastery of venomous creatures can be called supreme, the poison arts that ordinary people can barely glimpse in their entire lifetime. She had already achieved 1,000 poison body at age 15. However, the clan elders used her female identity to exploit her rights. Even if the young lady achieves 1,000 poison body, she's still a woman. She cannot become Tang clan's future leader. To prove herself, she risked her life to attempt the supreme myriad poison body. But she didn't know that haste makes waste, that impatience brought her inner demons. Ultimately, poison attacked her heart and her life hung by a thread. When she woke up again, 3 months had passed. The elder patriarch told her that a young hero saved her life, so she became somewhat curious about me. But what does flowers and plants mean? This confuses her. Everyone falls silent, just looking at us and chuckling. I feel like I'm doomed. It's all because I was attracted to the 10 greatest venomous creatures before. I actually called the big entrepreneur's daughter flowers and plants. It seems I need to seriously reflect on this. I respectfully cut my fists. Nice to meet you. I'm Soryong. I expressed some concern for her. After all, her health wasn't good before. It's normal to care about the boss's daughter. The Tang clan young lady also cups her fists toward me. Her laughter, like silver bells, reaches my ears. I am poisonous flower Hua Yun Tang. Thank you for saving my life. I will never forget this kindness. This completely stuns me. This is absolutely incredible. This appearance would be invincible across the entire continent. At this moment, Chul-san's voice echoes in my mind. How about it? Chul-san smiles at me. These flowers and plants should be quite beautiful, right? I wonder if they meet your aesthetic standards? Chul-san's words make me feel very shy. So this world really can communicate through telepathy. In the evening, I bring the 3 little ones to take a bath, but they seem very tired and keep sleeping after arriving. I feel like I'm dying. This month and a half of rushing around is simply inhuman suffering. At this time, I glance at the 3 centipedes in the basin. Usually they're very clingy to me, but when I say hot water is bad for the body, they return to the bucket. It feels like they really understand what I'm saying. I find them somewhat magical. They actually understand my words and actively crawl into the basin. Also, Chul-san once said they seem to react to killing intent. I remember Shubei seeing these azure-spotted centipedes and saying they're spiritual creatures. Next time, I should ask him what spiritual creatures are. Just then, some words appear in my mind. Chul-san's words keep echoing in my head. This makes me unable to calm down now. I need to get out quickly. Meanwhile, in the attic, all the Tang family members gather here to discuss how to view me. Chul-san suggests giving me the east side chamber as a temporary residence. The elder patriarch beside him sighs. I didn't expect such a young hero to have such abilities. Without his help, my granddaughter probably wouldn't have survived until now. Chul-san feels the same way. Moreover, that young man not only has extraordinary understanding of venomous creatures, but also eliminated Zhou and Yang, saw the legendary death turtle dove, and even personally hatched azure-spotted centipede eggs. Each piece of news strikes the mother and daughter like thunder. Is that young man really so amazing? But he looks quite ordinary. The elder patriarch chuckles. I actually didn't recognize he was such a remarkable person. At this moment, Chul-san suddenly calls out to Hua Yun. Chul-san slowly says, I want that young hero to be my son-in-law. What do you think? Hua Yun hesitates because she doesn't want to get married yet. But just as she's about to refuse, she hesitates again. She clearly knows how much her father values that young man. If she refuses this time, would the young man angrily leave directly? Wouldn't that be bad for the family? Hua Yun's heart is very conflicted. She still wants to break through to become Thousand Poison Realm, to show everyone she's very useful to the family. But if she marries now, everything would be in vain. She slams her palm heavily on the table. Hua Yun says tearfully, I want to personally confirm whether that young hero truly has the qualifications to marry me. After saying this, she leaves without looking back. Everyone falls silent. If this girl gets serious, it could really be troublesome. Even Chul-san breaks into a sweat. Soryong, you'd better be careful. Roses may be beautiful, but they're covered in thorns. This daughter of mine has been very stubborn since childhood. At this moment, Hua Yun's heart is very frustrated. She finally cultivated the 1,000 poison body. If she gives up now, she won't be able to gain the clan elder's recognition anymore. So she must figure out what kind of person I am. From aptitude to character, she won't let anything slide. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in the courtyard spacing out. I didn't expect that on my first day working at this big company, I'd already be disliked by the boss's daughter. I wonder if she'll make things difficult for me in the future. I ask the 3 little centipedes if they have any solutions, but all they do is make buzzing sounds. Just then, Hua Yun's voice startles me. Soryong, why are you sitting here alone? I turn around and see the Tang clan young lady covered in sweat. Her graceful figure leaves me stunned. The young lady is breathing heavily. Soryong, please forgive my rudeness. I'm a bit rushed this time, so could you extend your hand for me to see? This confuses me. What does the young lady mean by this? It sounds a bit intimate. I obediently extend my hand, not knowing what she wants to do, but I comply anyway. But halfway through extending it, I suddenly stop. Although I don't know why you're so rushed, it's better to wait until we're more private for such things. After all, we just met today. Everything needs a process, because I'm not a casual person, and I believe the young lady is the same. After hearing my words, the young lady suddenly freezes. After 3 seconds, she reacts. It seems you've misunderstood me. The Tang young lady's face turns completely red as she stammers, you. Let me explain. It's not what you think. A breeze blows, messing up my hair. It seems I misunderstood. What a fool. How could the young lady fancy a poor guy like me? The young lady spends 10 minutes explaining the whole situation. Soryong, here's how it is. I just want to check your pulse to see what your aptitude is like. But this is my fault too, because I didn't explain clearly before asking you to extend your hand. No wonder you misunderstood. It's perfectly natural. Then the young lady sits beside me. Her action makes me feel somewhat uneasy. The young lady continues, although you're eagerly striving in youth, you seem to have quite some thoughts. So let me tell you the truth directly. After that, I'm held captive by the young lady for 10 minutes as she finally explains the whole story to me. Anyway, the general plot is just the common storyline I saw on TV in my previous life. Since the young lady is the only direct descendant, she's constantly been made difficult by the side branches. Therefore, she wants to find a son-in-law with exceptional aptitude to continue the family line. So she's considering my position after bringing me into the family. Since this happened suddenly, the young lady is also somewhat at a loss. Although she's being quite direct, she still wants to confirm my aptitude. The young lady tells me not to worry. Even if the results aren't too good, she won't think of neglecting me. After all, I'm her benefactor and should be treated like family. As soon as she finishes speaking, I extend my hand. I chuckle and tell her not to take it to heart. Anyway, I'm the one reaching above my station by joining Tang Clan. I understand what you mean. If things don't work out, I'll leave Tang Clan. So please check my aptitude first. My words surprised the young lady somewhat. She didn't expect me to be so reasonable, but even if the results aren't good, she'll still let me stay in Tang Clan and we can address each other as siblings. Hua-eun extends her 2 fingers and places them on my pulse. Now she's going to test my aptitude. Soon, blue glowing internal energy bursts from within Hua-eun's body. Hua-eun must observe carefully. After all, not everyone can learn Tang Clan's martial arts. Some people can absorb poison into their bodies to cultivate poison arts, while others cannot. Since Tang Clan's martial arts have several levels, the deeper one's internal cultivation, the more poison one can absorb, ultimately reaching perfection. The highest level of martial arts is the myriad poison body. Soon Hua-eun finishes testing my aptitude. To her relief, I can cultivate Tang Clan's poison arts. Unfortunately, I only have a 10 poison body, meaning I can only absorb 10 types of poison. But this is already quite remarkable. Her words stun me. So my aptitude isn't very strong, according to general standards. This is first-class level, but this is only the highest realm that ordinary people without talent can reach. After testing my aptitude, Hua-eun bows to me. I was quite rude just now. I'll take my leave first. No one knows that the moment Hua-eun turns around, a dejected expression appears on her face. I remain immersed in her earlier words. I remember the young lady saying, I have a 10 poison body. Suddenly, it's like lightning flashes through my mind. Doesn't this mean I can't capture the death turtle dove? This is earth-shattering news for me. In the evening, after bathing, the young lady feels something strange, though she doesn't know what's wrong. Ever since taking the azure-spotted centipede's inner core, her body occasionally emits a strange odor. Even after bathing several times a day, she can't cover this smell. She vaguely suspects that perhaps she said something inappropriate to her life-saving benefactor and is being punished for it. Indeed, her guess is close to the truth. Meanwhile, I'm fast asleep. I have to say, their beds are very comfortable, much more so than the stone bed in that broken-down Taoist temple. I'm sleeping soundly when I feel a strange power entering my mind. The next moment, I'm completely stunned because I seem to have arrived at a paradise. Before me is the young lady, kneeling on the ground and constantly thanking me. This confuses me completely. Am I dreaming now? But why is my consciousness so clear? The young lady across from me tells me not to be afraid. You could say this is a dream, but also not a dream. Actually, I'm not the young lady. I'm that azure-spotted centipede. I was afraid of scaring you, so I borrowed the young lady's appearance. And I'm the mother of those little centipedes. This confuses me even more. Why would the azure-spotted centipede find me? Isn't it already dead? Can it still appear in this world through other means after death? Meanwhile, beside my legs, 3 little girls are chattering. There are exactly 3 little girls, and I adopted exactly 3 azure-spotted centipedes. Could they be those centipedes? I crouch down to carefully observe the centipedes and find them so adorable. But why do you all appear in my dreams? It turns out that after the azure-spotted centipede was forced to abandon her children, she died tragically. That resentment shot straight to the heavens, and her soul remained in the inner core. The azure-spotted centipede cursed the young lady to emit a foul odor every day. Then she encountered me and discovered I could eliminate her resentment. So the centipede pulled me into this dream at night to tell me the solution through this dream. But its appearance makes me very uncomfortable. Although I didn't mean to do it, the azure-spotted centipede's death is connected to me. After all, I revealed the location. At this moment, the centipede reads my thoughts and tells me not to worry. These things are all in the past, but if you feel bad about it, I have a solution. However, you need to agree to one request from me. My expression is incredibly resolute. Since I made this mistake myself, I must solve it myself. No matter what the request is, I will definitely fulfill it. It turns out the azure spotted centipede's request is very simple. She wants me to raise her children until they grow up. This is something I can manage. After centipedes are born, they only need to molt twice before becoming independent. Ordinary centipedes are indeed like that, but the azure spotted centipede clan is different. After the children molt twice, they need to absorb the essence flowing from their mother's inner core. After that, they can grow by absorbing the chi of all things. But now there's a problem. The inner core has already been eaten by Tanghua-un. The centipede naturally knows my situation and has thought of a solution. Suddenly she opens her eyes wide, filled with endless resentment. It's precisely because she understands my situation that she cursed that girl. Removing this foul odor is very simple. Just let the 3 little centipede dragons crawl on Tanghua-un's body to absorb the inner core's essence, and the odor will disappear. The azure spotted centipede becomes angrier as she speaks. She won't let Tanghua-un off so easily. To ensure her children can absorb the inner core's essence, she placed a terrible odor on Tanghua-un that prevents any male from approaching her. This creates a perfect opportunity for us to be alone together. And this is the centipede's request as the condition for lifting the curse. Let the children absorb enough of the inner core's essence. This shouldn't be an unreasonable request. By the way, you can also capture that girl's heart. I think carefully for a moment. It seems I don't need to go through all this trouble. I already have a strategy. I chuckle. I think this approach is unnecessary. There's no need to threaten people like this. If I did that, my conscience would be troubled. I don't want to use her predicament to coerce her. Just as the azure spotted centipede expected, you are truly too righteous. But this creates a problem. This girl says she wants to find a powerful man, and you don't seem very powerful. I cannot help you obtain the inner cores of the 10 greatest venomous creatures. The azure spotted centipede's words give me a sudden realization. The 10 greatest venomous creatures you mentioned should be the most powerful poisons in the Central Plains. Since my body can only absorb 10 types of poison, couldn't I just directly absorb the 10 greatest venomous creatures? Thinking of this, I make my decision. Leave everything else to me. I guarantee your satisfaction. Also, even after these 3 little centipede dragons grow up, I can continue to take care of them, treating them like family. This can be considered my compensation to you. The next day, I invite Tanghua-un to the pavilion and tell her about what happened last night. Tanghua-un finally understands that the foul odor on her body is caused by the centipede dragon's inner core. I quickly continue. You just need to let these centipede dragons crawl on your body every few days to absorb the essence, and the strange odor on you will naturally disappear. Although Tanghua-un doesn't object, she feels this is somewhat strange. Tanghua-un thinks I could have used this situation to threaten her, but I surprisingly didn't make any demands. I chuckle. You misunderstand me, Tanghua-un. I'm not that kind of person. How could I use a woman's predicament to satisfy myself? After hearing my words, Tanghua-un's heart trembles. There actually exists such a person with a clear mind and pure nature in this world. Truly extremely rare. My words make her feel that some of her previous actions were narrow-minded. It seems she needs to carefully consider what her father said. She absolutely cannot continue blindly accepting my kindness. Today's detailed conversation with me makes Tanghua-un feel she's gained a lot. Perhaps some things are more valuable than talent and martial arts achievements. I scratch my head sheepishly. I've also considered what you mentioned earlier. Tanghua-un is somewhat surprised that I've thought about such deep matters. Previously, Tanghua-un mentioned that I have the 10 poison body, so I can only absorb 10 types, so I've thought carefully about it. If my body can only absorb 10 types of poison, then I'll only absorb the poisons of the 10 greatest venomous creatures of the Central Plains. I don't know how difficult this process will be, but this is my current thinking. I hope you won't mock me for overestimating my abilities. As soon as I finish speaking, Tanghua-un's heart trembles wildly. You actually want to absorb the poisons of the 10 greatest venomous creatures? In all of Jianghu, no one has ever dared to say such words. So Tanghua-un concludes in her heart that I want to become the #1 in Jianghu for her sake. The more Tanghua-un thinks about it, the more moved she becomes. Never has a man been able to do this much for her. This is also the first time Tanghua-un, one of the 3 flowers of the martial world, has received such a powerful confession from a man. After a long while, Tanghua-un's emotions still haven't calmed down. My words are simply too shocking. Tanghua-un looks at me with disbelief. Do you know what you're saying? I chuckle. I don't really know what I'm saying, but I just want to do this. Isn't that allowed? Tanghua-un takes a deep breath. This path will surely be filled with hardships. It might take 10 years, 20 years, or even a lifetime to complete. Tanghua-un blushes directly. She didn't expect the young hero her father brought back to be so direct. Young hero, there's something I don't know whether I should say or not. Please speak. I know you're about 13 or 14 years old now. It's still 3 years until you're old enough for marriage. But in these 3 years, if you can successfully capture even one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures, then I'll believe in you. So she decides that as long as I successfully fulfill this condition, we can hold our wedding ceremony. At this moment, I'm also stunned in place. I was just talking about catching 10 venomous creatures. How did this get connected to a wedding ceremony? Before I can react, Tanghua-un mysteriously says, "In any case, I'll wait for you." Then she leaves without looking back, and she's actually running. But I feel like she's forgotten something, so I call out to her. Tanghua-un looks puzzled. "Young hero, is there something else you want to tell me?" My next words make her freeze on the spot. I pat the stone slab beside me and say, "Come back quickly. Don't you need treatment? Even if it's just for an hour. Even if you have urgent matters, you should wait until the treatment is finished before leaving." So Tanghua-un awkwardly returns. That scene just now embarrassed her so much, she almost wanted to find a crack in the ground to hide in. I take out the 3 centipedes and say to her, "My children absolutely won't bite people. You can rest assured about that. All right, children, go quickly to mommy's side and absorb energy." Now Tanghua-un completely misunderstands. She thinks that when I said go to mommy, me, I already consider her my fiancé. Meanwhile, the patriarch, elder patriarch, and Tang mother are discussing matters between Tang Hua-un and me. Even though the young hero is so extraordinary, it seems he still can't win our daughter's favor. However, the elder patriarch feels something is different. This morning he saw that there seemed to be something unusual between the two, but Tang mother feels that no matter how you look at it, Hua-un appears to have rejected the young hero's affections. For a moment, everyone feels somewhat troubled. Matters of the heart between men and women cannot be forced. Even the Tang clan's elder patriarch wouldn't force it. Marriage absolutely cannot be forced. It would be best if they could naturally come to like each other. Tang mother thinks of a good idea. Have Hua-un be responsible for the young hero's martial arts training. The more they meet, the more naturally feelings will develop. Besides this, the elder patriarch also needs to ask the medical immortal elder for help to see if he can use magic to completely transform the young hero. If his aptitude is too poor, then help improve it. But everything else is negotiable. The main thing still depends on what Hua-un herself thinks. If she doesn't like the young hero, then there's nothing we can do. Little do they know, Tang Hua-un outside the door has heard every word of their conversation. Tang Hua-un knocks on the door, signaling that she wants to come in. Tang Hua-un bashfully approaches everyone. I came today because I have something to say to all the elders. The words reach her lips, but she stops abruptly, seeming too shy to speak. But she still gathers her courage and speaks her mind, deciding to follow her father's wishes. Tang Chil-san is stunned with his mouth agape. Could it be that our daughter has figured it out herself? Has she sensed the young hero's extraordinariness? This statement makes Tang Chil-san very happy. He pulls Hua-un to his side. Could it be that you've fallen for the young hero? Hua-un nods shyly. After interacting with the young hero today, I feel he's very good, especially his character. Tang mother excitedly claps her hands. How did you suddenly fall for him? There must be some reason. Tell us quickly. So Hua-un tells them about today's events, embellishing the details. The young hero said today that he would become the #1 in the world for me. He promised me. Tang Chil-san is overjoyed. He loves hearing this kind of gossip. Daughter, quickly tell your father about this matter in detail. However, the next words leave both the patriarch and elder patriarch stunned in place, because Hua-un says I'm preparing to absorb the 10 greatest venomous creatures to propose to her. Hearing this, both men burst into laughter. The young hero truly has ambition, but if it's him, he should be able to do it. But Hua-un tells her parents not to be happy too soon. Although I'm attracted to the young hero, I still made a 3-year pact with him. Only if he successfully obtains the poison of one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures will I marry him. Although I spoke somewhat implicitly, I don't know if the young hero can understand. What if he's thick-headed? Tang mother is now grinning from ear to ear. We need to consider this possibility too. What if the young hero really doesn't understand? Of course, Tang mother thinks there's no need to discuss this further with him. If he doesn't know he's already gained your approval, won't he work even harder? If you tell him you already like him, he might not have as much motivation. Today's events make the elder patriarch very happy, so he immediately makes a decision to treat the young hero as a son-in-law for now. But it's best to pretend we don't know about this. Let everything between them develop naturally. Thus, this marriage arrangement is unknowingly settled, with the premise that I don't know about it. But they have no idea that there's an azure-spotted centipede inside Hua-un's body. She visits me in dreams at night again, saying I've already captured that girl's heart. I laugh heartily. This is all thanks to my courage and perseverance. The azure-spotted centipede is also very happy about this. Her children now have someone to entrust them to, and the young hero's future mother-in-law and father-in-law both like him very much. There's no need to worry about him suffering hardships in the Tang clan in the future, so she tells me she won't appear again in a few days. Because her resentment has been eliminated, her soul will soon be able to ascend to heaven. This makes me somewhat reluctant to let go, and ultimately, I still feel somewhat guilty. Before parting, the azure-spotted centipede asks me if there's anything I need help with. If it's something she can do, she'll do her best. Thinking of this, I ponder carefully. There seems to be only one thing the azure-spotted centipede can help me with, so I speak frankly, can you let me see your true form? However, these words startle the azure-spotted centipede greatly. Although your character is good, you are still a man after all. Besides, this isn't a difficult matter for me. So she agrees. It seems you also cannot resist temptation. The next second, I'm stunned. Could it be that to see the azure-spotted centipede, she needs to undress first? The 3 little ones behind me can't help but cover their eyes. The next moment, the azure-spotted centipede finally understands that she misunderstood. Young hero. With a bang, a cloud of smoke appears before my eyes. This excites me tremendously. I can finally see the true appearance I've been anticipating for so long. In the smoke, a centipede's head appears. Then follows a massive centipede as tall as a 3-story building. It majestically appears before me. This agile body is simply as beautiful as a celestial fairy. So what the patriarch told me was all true. The centipede dragon really is as big as 3 stories tall and can swallow 100 people in one bite. I also went during the last expedition against the centipede dragon, but unfortunately didn't get to see its true form. I quickly stepped forward and touched one of its claws. I never expected just one claw to be so sharp. No wonder it can support such a massive body. At this moment, the centipede dragon doesn't know what to say. So this is what the young hero likes most. The 3 little ones still cover their eyes after seeing this, unable to bear watching. I say excitedly, can you lower your head a bit? I want to touch your fangs. Didn't you just say you could agree to anything? This should be no problem, right? At this moment, the azure-spotted centipede can't help thinking, can I really entrust my 3 daughters to him? Why does it feel like this benefactor is somewhat unreliable? You can't blame the centipede, dragon, for thinking this way, because my current behavior is really too strange, but I really want to study all of the azure-spotted centipede's joints. The elder simply takes out a brush from his robes, but this shocks me greatly on the spot. I see the elder gently separate the brush tip from the brush handle. The next moment, he throws the brush hairs into the air, and those hairs actually stand straight in the air like sharp swords. Then, those brush hairs pierce into the the ground like silver needles. This amazes me greatly. Could this be the rainstorm pear blossom needles? I never expected the Tang clan to have such formidable hidden weapons. It turns out that 3 days ago, after making the 3-year pact with Tang Hua-un, the next day I was brought to the main hall by the patriarch for a talk. Soryang, from now on you are my son-in-law. Tang Hua-un looks delighted, but I'm thunderstruck by these words. I hastily explain, we agreed to wait 3 years, but my words are cut short when Tang mother interrupts. Soryang, welcome to becoming my son-in-law. I'm your mother-in-law now? I look at Tang Hua-un beside me and notice a slight smile at the corner of her mouth. This confuses me greatly. I clearly need to fulfill her conditions before we can marry. Did her family agree to this? If that's the case, then I can only go along with their wishes for now. Please take good care of me, elders. At this moment, the elder patriarch sneakily says to the patriarch, let's begin now. I can't wait any longer. It turns out they plan to take me somewhere before I start learning the Tang clan's poison techniques. But these 2 old men are acting sneaky, and I don't know what they're plotting. After laughing for a moment, the patriarch holds up one finger and says, we're planning to take you to the Myriad Poison Hall. I guarantee you'll love it there. Everyone is anticipating this moment. According to Tang clan tradition, when someone enters the Myriad Poison Hall for the first time as a Tang family member, the family gathers together like this. I'm incredibly excited about that place. Since it's called the Myriad Poison Hall, it must be a place that has collected 10,000 types of poisons. A gentle breeze blows, lifting Tang Hua-un's hair. The next moment, I'm mesmerized. I see her lift her head slightly, brushing her hair aside. Her eyebrows are like distant mountains touched with ink, her skin like congealed fat reflecting sunset glow. One smile moves the city's heart, another glance leaves eternal beauty. Truly an unmatched beauty between heaven and earth. No wonder people from my previous life said beauties are gorgeous even in profile. She's like a poster. Coincidentally, this scene is witnessed by my future father-in-law and mother-in-law ahead. I've gotten used to their mischievous expressions. You guy, if you keep staring, you'll bore a hole through our daughter's face. She's already yours now, so why are you still so mesmerized? This embarrasses me greatly. I didn't expect to be caught stealing glances. After a while, we arrive at the foot of a large mountain. 3 people are guarding the entrance here. The 2 guards are strong as oxen, and clearly not to be trifled with. The leader cups his hands slightly in salute, respectfully welcoming the patriarch's arrival. I look around. This place is very strictly guarded, with over 50 people just in the patrol teams. With the captain's command, the men below immediately pull open the gate. 2 strong men roar loudly, channeling all their strength into their palms to pull the door open. This startles me greatly. It's just opening a door. Does it need to be this strenuous? After a long while, the 2 men finally manage to pull the door open. Father-in-law, let's go in. Don't just stand here dumbfounded. It turns out this is an iron door forged from southern barbarian Kunwu steel. Even opening this door is considered a very honorable task. Soon we reach the interior. This is the treasury where all of the Tang family's poisons are stored. I see many cabinets in front of me, each containing a different type of poison. And inside each jar are new poisons made from combining several different toxins. My future in-laws have Tang Hua-un introduce me to everything, which can help develop our relationship. Although Tang Hua-un blushes a bit, she still agrees. Then Tang Hua-un takes my hand and leads me to the innermost area, saying she wants to introduce me to the Tang family's most powerful poison. Watching these 2 young people so full of energy, Tang mother and Tang Shilsan smile knowingly. After a while, Tang Hua-un introduces me to over 100 types of poison, but these still can't be called the Tang family's most powerful poisons. Tang Hua-un gives me a small hard lump. This is actually a seed that looks like a kidney bean. In this world, apart from the 10 greatest venomous creatures, this kidney bean-sized thing in my hand is the most powerful. This is the plant that symbolizes the Tang family, the castor bean. Castor bean poison, why does this sound familiar? After a moment, I finally remember. This is a type of toxic protein. Just 2 milligrams can kill an adult. It became famous during the Cold War for umbrella assassinations used to eliminate dissidents. This shocks me tremendously. Isn't this 100,000 times more toxic than potassium cyanide? Tang Hua-un chuckles. This is the closest to the Tang family's pursuit of colorless, odorless, tasteless, and formless poison. So we call this most precious poison golden poison. Using this poison to kill is called golden kill. Tang Hua-un tells me to remember one thing. The most powerful poison is neither the most painful nor the most tragic, but the most secretive one that can ensure the target's elimination. The Tang clan's poison techniques pursue this very goal, secretive and foolproof. This is why we're known as the Golden Kill Clan. At this moment, the elder behind us speaks up as a reminder. Introducing Soryang to this point is enough. Too much information and he won't be able to digest it all. The elder then wants me to manage this place, wondering if I'm willing. This sudden surprise makes my heart pound with excitement, because the elder says he'll unconditionally support all my research. Just then, a guard's voice comes from outside. Patriarch, you probably need to come out for a moment. I see Kyubei running over in great haste. He says frantically, please, have the elder patriarch go to Xuanwu Pavilion immediately, because something big has happened there. There are mainly 2 matters there. First, because the medicine we gave to the city lord hasn't been effective. He sent a letter expressing his dissatisfaction. Then Kyubei can't help but look at me. The second matter is about the young master coming to the Myriad Poison Hall. I let out a long sigh. It seems great families aren't so simple after all. Troubles come this quickly. What surprises me is that the patriarch and elder patriarch show no panic at all. It seems they're already prepared. Since they brought me to the Myriad Poison Hall today, it proves they're not afraid of them at all. The elder patriarch turns to look at me. We're planning to go take a look first. Grandson-in-law, you come with us too. Meanwhile, at Xuanwu Pavilion, a group of people are discussing matters. When they hear the patriarch has arrived, they immediately put on stern old faces. Our group arrives here, and before we can speak, we hear cursing from the opposite side. You old fool, how can you make such a decision on your own? How can you let an orphan of unknown origin become our precious Huayun's husband? What are you thinking? Hearing this, the patriarch's face shows displeasure. displeasure. Where do you get the nerve to call my son-in-law an orphan of unknown origin? The next moment, the patriarch's aura suddenly turns heavy. A sinister force suddenly emanates. If I hear anyone insult my son-in-law again, don't blame me for showing no mercy. The elder patriarch steps forward. That's right. Whoever dares say another bad word about my grandson-in-law, I won't be polite with them. I look coldly at the few people who just spoke. They seem to only know how to make noise and have no real ability themselves. If that's the case, then I have nothing to fear. Tang Hua-un beside me apologizes. I'm sorry you had to encounter this kind of thing. I let out a long sigh. Actually, you don't need to apologize to me. Today's events have worried you too, and I feel somewhat bad about it. Then my voice interrupts their argument. Elders, please listen to a few words from this junior. Although I don't have any powerful aura at this moment, my presence is strong. This matter, no matter how you look at it, seems to be caused by my insufficient ability. I pat my chest and say confidently, if I can prove my ability, would the elders be willing to accept me? This shocks everyone tremendously. You impudent brat, how dare you boast so boldly? Tell us then, how do you plan to prove yourself? I chuckle. For example, I'll solve the city lord's problem. As soon as these words come out, everyone is extremely surprised. Even Tang Hua-un feels I can't handle the situation. Actually, I'm not someone who likes to show off, but if someone wants to prevent me from enjoying a comfortable pet life, then sorry, I'll mercilessly send them to hell and absolutely won't let them interfere with me. Everyone stares at me, not believing I can accomplish what I just said. Those old men from the branch families are practically steaming with anger. Even they can't cure the city lord's illness, yet this kid says he can treat it. Truly shameless boasting. My action completely arouses several elders' dissatisfaction with me. The family elders are still talking. What business does a wet behind the ears brat have interrupting? Besides, you don't even know what the city lord wrote in his letter, yet you dare boast so boldly. Tang Hua-un and my future mother-in-law behind me both worry about me. Soryang's words just now were indeed somewhat arrogant. I turn a deaf ear to their words. These few old guys want to engage in verbal sparring with me. A promising young man of the 21st century? That's really asking for trouble. You should know I'm a famous streamer. In the past, I live streamed daily with over 1 million subscribers and an average viewership of over 3,000 people per stream. With so many fans, the comments naturally included many meaningless attacks and slanders. I step forward and approach the two elders. According to your meaning, I'm currently not qualified to be the Tang family's son-in-law. In that case, I'm a guest of the Tang clan. Since I'm a guest of your Tang clan, and I saved your Tang clan's young miss, and I also dealt with blood-hand Rakshasa Zhao Yunyang, thus saving the patriarch's life, then I'm also the patriarch's benefactor. I respectfully cup my hands to the two elders, but my words are very sharp. You insulting me, a guest and benefactor, to my face like this, is this the Tang clan's etiquette and rules? The two elders are immediately speechless. Of course, that's not what we meant. We spoke rashly in a moment of impulse. Young hero, we apologize. I reveal a triumphant smile. Just you few old guys want to compete with me? I can leave you in the dust in no time and argue you into complete confusion. The elder patriarch behind me gives me an appreciative look, but they still have one doubt. The matter of defeating Bloodhand Rakshasa. They can't figure it out no matter how they think. Could it be that you're even more powerful than the patriarch? At this moment, the patriarch takes out a book. What Soryang said just now wasn't false. You'll know once you look at this, when they see the book's contents, they're greatly shocked. This is actually the Bloodhand single palm manual. This is actually a manual written in blood. It seems it really did come from Zhao Yunyang. This isn't over yet. The patriarch has me show them the centipede dragons, letting them see exactly how I defeated Bloodhand Rakshasa. I lightly tap my sleeve, signaling that the three little ones can come out. With a swoosh, the three little ones instantly appear on my hand. This startles the elders beside me greatly. The patriarch slowly says to the two men, "These are the azure-spotted centipede's offspring. My son-in-law is raising them. If I told you these little guys bit Zhao Yunyang to death, would you believe it?" My father-in-law and I both show sly grins. "Oh, my children, you mustn't bite people. After all, that guy Zhao Yunyang died quite miserably. It wouldn't be good if you accidentally bit the elderly people around here." The two elders are so shocked their mouths hang open. It seems they really underestimated this young man. The two begin to defend themselves. "When did we ever say we didn't approve? We only reported to you because you didn't consult us beforehand. How could we know that this grandson-in-law before us would be so capable?" The elder patriarch feels it's about time and doesn't want to waste time on such trivial matters. "Quickly tell us about the Myriad Poison Hall matter. Why won't it work?" It turns out they oppose my entering the Myriad Poison Hall because I haven't yet reached the level of officially becoming their family member, and the grandson-in-law hasn't even reached adulthood yet. How can they rest assured leaving the Myriad Poison Hall's affairs to him? Then the elder patriarch tells them to shut up. If that's the case, then things are much simpler. The elder patriarch quickly comes before me. "Grandson-in-law, let them see your abilities and open their eyes." I show an extremely confident smile. "To prove I'm suitable for the Tang family, I'll solve this using the Tang family's method, with poison." These words startle the two elders greatly. My statement is truly shocking. If we use poison on the city lord, wouldn't that be committing a great crime? Even the patriarch and elder patriarch cast strange looks at me. "What exactly are you planning? This is no joking matter. This embarrasses me somewhat. Isn't the Tang clan famous for using poison? So what's wrong with me using poison to cure poison?" The next day, the elder patriarch brings me to the training ground. The elder patriarch is going to arrange a test for me today. But test aside, from today on, I'll begin learning the basics of the Tang family martial arts, 5 poisons return to origin technique. When I master this martial art later, my body will undergo tremendous changes. Then he takes out a scroll from his robes. Since the Tang family focuses on practical benefits, you'll learn things that can be immediately used in actual combat. You must pay attention. Grandson-in-law. Opening it, I see many weapons stored inside, all hidden weapons. Could it be that the Tang clan also specializes in hidden weapons? These are all throwable hidden weapons: needles, coins, darts, sand, and swords and blades. weapons. Although there are other differently shaped hidden weapons, they generally fall into these 5 major categories. The Elder Patriarch asks me which hidden weapon among these is easiest to master. I guess it should be short swords or throwing knives. And the most difficult should be sand, because you have to throw grains of sand. Unfortunately, I'm wrong. The most difficult is needles, because needles are very thin, so the throwing position must be extremely precise. The Elder Patriarch searches for something in his robes. He's preparing to demonstrate personally for me. Then I see him take out a brush from his robes. This puzzles me. What use could this brush have? I hear a snap as the Elder Patriarch separates the brush tip from the brush handle. The next moment, he throws the brush hairs into the air. Instantly, those brush hairs scatter and fall in all directions. However, the next moment, those brush hairs actually stand straight like sharp swords. Then those brush hairs pierce into the ground like silver needles. This terrifies me greatly. So the Tang clan actually has such formidable hidden weapons. What amazes me is why these soft things can become extremely hard, like needles stuck in the ground. All the needles are stuck in the ground, but they haven't harmed me in the slightest, because the Elder Patriarch deliberately avoided my position just now. The Elder Patriarch slowly says, the Tang family secrets include a hidden weapon technique called sky-filling flower rain, using hundreds or thousands of needles to cover the surrounding area. I can't help but admire in my heart. If you use these needles to cover the surroundings and then fight enemies, if flying needles are everywhere, wouldn't there be no place to even step? The Elder Patriarch specifically reminds me, you must remember this to avoid being defeated by your own technique. This can be very dangerous. I raise my hand and point to the dense flying needles behind me. Could it be that you even remember the positions of needles that bounce off opponents or fall out? If it's the 5 poison stage, you need to prepare at least around 100 needles. When Shua Yun was at the 10 poison stage, she'd prepared around 1,000 needles. This amazes me greatly. So my wife is this formidable. After being dragged through a day of training by the Elder Patriarch, I'm exhausted and collapsed on the floor. At this moment, my wife comes before me, wearing what looks like protective gear. I see my wife holding 2 fishing nets in her hands, saying she wants to catch some drones, so she prepared accordingly. But when she sees my expression, she feels her prepared equipment is somewhat excessive. I hastily indicate it's fine. I was originally planning to wait, but with this equipment, we should be able to catch them ourselves. My wife is somewhat puzzled. Why do you want to wait? Can't we go catch them now? I don't say much more about this. Anyway, come with me and you'll know. Besides, it's not far from here. We can walk there quickly. At this moment, my wife's face shows a hint of blush. You've read the content of the letter the city lord sent, right? Of course I've read the letter's content, but is there a problem? My wife says shyly, Soryong, you're still young, so there are some things you don't understand. I'm worried you might not be able to accurately comprehend the letter's content. I understand, of course I understand. That's a common male condition. My wife tells me to stop talking. As long as you know, that's enough. Actually, the problem the city lord is experiencing is somewhat hard to speak of. My wife stares at me with a knowing look. Why do you understand so much at such a young age? Then without waiting for my explanation, she quickly runs ahead. Soon we arrive in a forest. In this forest, I discover many pets I've never seen before. I really want to take them back to raise. Soon my wife says with delight, we've arrived. I see a cave in front of us that looks like a beehive cave. We put on our hats and prepare to begin catching, but before this, my wife has a question. Why did I ask her to find some beehives earlier? I chuckle. Although we came to find drones, our purpose isn't to catch them. Actually, very few people know that inside this type of nest, there's a kind of small insect living inside. And what I mentioned earlier about treating the city lord, what I need is inside there. It's a type of venomous insect. My wife is also quite skilled with poisons and has some understanding of venomous creatures, but she's rarely heard of 2 different species living together. Wouldn't this cause conflicts? I indicate that some venomous creatures do indeed fight, but some venomous creatures actually assist each other. Just at this moment, it seems we've found the venomous insect we're looking for. I swing forcefully and directly use the chopsticks in my hand to pinch out that venomous insect. I didn't expect this to go so smoothly. I wipe the sweat from my forehead. This time our target wasn't to catch drones at all. I came specifically to catch this insect. My eyes shine with excitement as I stare at this venomous insect. I really can't put it down, because this venomous insect is the key to solving the city lord's illness. The golden maned bee king, known among martial artists as the formidable golden flashing killer bee, possesses extremely strong territorial awareness and exceptional unity. Any creature that steps into their territory has only one fate, to be stung to death by them. But I'm incredibly excited. Such an interesting venomous creature must be contracted. Before this, to treat the city lord's illness, I came to the poison forest, and here, I discovered a venomous insect with excellent medicinal properties. This little insect is called earth gall in the Central Plains, but in our country it's known as the blister beetle. This little fellow has a rather unique way of survival. The reproductive method of the blister beetle family is quite unique. Other insects usually guard their eggs after laying them, or create a safe hatching environment, but this guy is different. It just randomly finds places to lay eggs, so the egg-laying locations aren't fixed and could be anywhere. They never consider the larvae, at most just laying all eggs in one place. Anyway, when those larvae miraculously hatch, they start climbing to the highest nearby location. After reaching the top, they perform a strange behavior. They gather together, pretending to be a flower, and stay motionless in place. Then, the large hornets think they're actually a flower and come to collect nectar. When the hornets approach, these larvae attach themselves to the bees' bodies. Game over. Then the hornet's nest is doomed. Though I don't know why they specifically target male bees, that's the most favorable place for blister beetle larvae to grow. Hua-un suddenly feels the male bees are a bit pitiful, but there's nothing to be done about it. However, Hua-un still has a concern. Blister beetles can burn the skin, and I heard eating too many can be fatal. If we give this to the city lord, won't it cause trouble? Actually not. The orange liquid that flows from the blister beetle contains a toxic substance called cantharidin. When this substance contacts skin, it causes blister-like burns. However, this toxic substance isn't lethal and won't cause much harm to the body. It will be excreted from the body in time. Then the city lord's condition will naturally improve. At this point, Hua-Un stops listening and tells me to hurry back to the Myriad Poison Hall. After that, we return to the Myriad Poison Hall and teach the warriors how to make the medicine. First, dry the blister beetles and grind them into powder. But note that one layer contains toxic substances. If someone consumes 3 milligrams of this poison, it will definitely be life-threatening. At a dosage of 1.25 milligrams per 3.75 kilograms of body weight, half the people would die from it. So you need to make about 1/10 of a milligram. That's 0.375 milligrams of this toxin. Understand? However, my explanation leaves all the medical experts stunned in place. They seem confused and feel their heads are about to explode. They admire me immensely. Your explanation is so detailed. Who would have thought you're so proficient in mathematics? This humble one will definitely do everything possible to complete this task. I laugh heartily. Then I'll leave it to everyone from now on. The city is exceptionally quiet at night. Hua-En tells the elder patriarch about today's events. He never expected the blister beetle to have such effects. What surprises the elder patriarch even more is that his granddaughter's husband is actually proficient in mathematics. This quite surprises him. In the entire martial world, there probably aren't many who can reach his granddaughter's husband's level. Originally, he thought I only had comprehensive knowledge of venomous creatures, but it's far more than that. The more he understands, the more he feels I'm like an uncut jade. So he looks at his granddaughter with a mischievous smile. Do you like him more than you did at the beginning? Hua-Un coughs dryly and explains. At first, I just felt things were too hasty, so I felt somewhat apologetic. The elder patriarch has another question. Once the medicine is made, how do I plan to confirm its effectiveness? This question stumps his granddaughter. Then she says shyly, Soryong mentioned earlier that the collateral elders are too presumptuous, so he plans to restore the family's discipline. Hearing this, the elder patriarch laughs heartily. This is really interesting. The next day, the Tang clan elders gather together, preparing to test my medicine. The collateral elders don't believe I can concoct medicine to treat the city lord, and they're all waiting to see my embarrassment. Soon, the servants bring up the finished medicine according to my requirements. This time, they strictly followed my requirements to prepare the medicine, so there's absolutely no possibility of errors. I open it and look. Indeed, it's about what I expected. The medicine is perfect. They scoff at this. It's just a little black pill. What's all the fuss about? The patriarch tells him to quiet down and not waste words here. He turns to ask me, now that the medicine is made, how do we verify its effectiveness? At this moment, an elder slams the table and stands up. This matter is of great importance, so we can't be careless. We must confirm the medicine's effectiveness before sending it to the city lord. After that, the servants place the medicine in front of 2 elders as I instructed. My intention is simple. Let these 2 elders test this medicine. I say slowly, I've made the medicine. Whether you dare to try it depends on the elders' courage. To get them to smoothly try my medicine, I deliberately provoke them. I heard that people proficient in Tang clan martial arts aren't afraid of poison. Do you dare to eat it? The elder patriarch also chimes in, looking at you. You're not scared, are you? You're Tang clan elders. How could you possibly fear this little bit of poison? The collateral elder's face darkens with anger. You two are really too despicable. However, this suits him perfectly. After all, he has a body immune to hundreds of poisons and fears no such low-grade medicine. Let this old man taste how potent your medicine is. As soon as he finishes speaking, 2 elders swallow the medicine pills one after another, and they shout, if this pill has no effect, then prepare yourself for a scolding. Everyone waits on the scene for 2.5 minutes, waiting for the medicine's effect to manifest. One elder shows a triumphant cold smile. I knew this medicine has no potency. Now let's see what you have to say. He stands up with a whoosh. You'd better leave the Myriad Poison Hall immediately. Such important matters in your hands will surely be ruined. But his words stop abruptly. Something changes in his dantian. A raging fire surges outward from his dantian. All who swallowed the medicine fall silent, because they now clearly understand this medicine's properties. That night, the Tang clan family's discipline is restored. All elders have no objections and prepare to send the medicine to the city lord. Seeing this scene, the elder patriarch chuckles. It seems your medicine has passed their examination. The elder patriarch tells me not to blame them. They also have the family's best interests at heart, which is why they seem so stern. Actually, their hearts are quite kind, though they're very strict. With juniors, it's all for the juniors' own good. Just then, Hua-Un hurriedly runs over. She says urgently, Soryong, something terrible has happened. Our children seem to have some problems. Her question makes me feel awkward. Can you change the way you speak? This way easily causes misunderstandings. Before I can finish speaking, the elder patriarch grabs me with one hand. The elder patriarch says fiercely, Soryong, you'd better explain what's going on with this child. How could you two have children? This scares me into breaking out in cold sweat. Listen to my explanation first. The elder patriarch continues, you can't possibly have children because you haven't held a wedding yet. Hua-Un says shyly, the children I'm talking about are the azure-spotted centipedes. What are you thinking, grandfather? Hearing this, I'm shocked. Don't tell me something happened to the 3 little centipedes. I question rapidly. Tell me quickly. What exactly happened to the 3 little centipedes? Previously, I was training my body daily, so I entrusted the centipedes to Hua-Un's care. After a while, Hua-Un leads me to where the centipedes are. Since this morning, it's been very strange. The 3 centipedes are lying there listlessly, and they have cracks on their bodies. Hua-Un carefully observed the 3 centipedes but couldn't see anything unusual, only feeling that their color became transparent and their skin became strange. Seeing this scene, I finally relax. It turns out Hua-Un was overthinking. The 3 centipedes are fine. In fact, this is a good thing for them. The 3 centipedes are in the molting stage. Like centipedes and other creatures with hard exoskeletons, once their bodies grow, the outer skin sheds accordingly, so they're currently experiencing their molting period. If nothing unexpected happens, they should complete molting soon. Sure enough, after I finish speaking, one of the little centipedes trembles violently. Then an orange centipede larva emerges from inside. This is the first stage of completed molting. Everyone watching the scene is amazed, and the other two centipedes are also molting. With two cracking sounds, two more young centipedes crawl out from the box. Now all three centipedes have successfully completed molting. This fills us with joy. They seem to be twice as large as before. At this time, Hua-un asks if I've given them names. Constantly calling them centipedes isn't very good. This stumps me. I've never thought about this problem, so I name them 1 day, 2 days, and 3 days. But this meets with Hua-un's opposition. They say centipedes that live 1,000 years will transform into dragons, so we should give them more majestic names befitting dragons. I laugh heartily. That's just a legend. Even if centipedes live 1,000 years, how could they possibly become dragons? The grandfather behind me is extremely embarrassed and says earnestly, son-in-law, you're wrong. Centipedes that live 1,000 years naturally become dragons. Otherwise, why would their name contain dragon? It turns out Hua-un was deceived by grandfather, but the names indeed should be more resounding. Soon I think of 3 names. How about calling them Cho, Hyang, and Bin? Cho represents first. The second one is Hyang for fragrance. And the third one has a shiny, glossy skin, so it's called Bin. Although Hua-un feels the names aren't that impressive, they're acceptable. So the 3 little ones' names are happily decided. Time passes quickly, and the 3 little ones return to my body. Although their bodies haven't completely dried yet, they should be able to move normally for now. I also discover that their strength and weight have changed significantly. I wonder if they'll still be able to lie on my body after the next transformation. They just lightly touch my face and I collapse to the ground. Their strength is terrifyingly powerful. I notice that after naming the 3 little ones, they're becoming more and more attached to me. Just then, I hear voices nearby reaching my ears. 2 martial artists are saying, the Tang family is really generous. We might as well visit those pleasure districts today. This money is really easy to earn. This confuses me. What are they talking about? Could the Tang family have some new activities? In the afternoon, I'm brought to the main hall by the patriarch. This time the patriarch calls me over to tell me good news. The medicine I sent to the city lord recently had excellent effects, so to express gratitude, the city lord sent reward money. The patriarch laughs heartily. Who would have thought that just after becoming our family's son-in-law, you'd help us so much? Your contribution is truly indispensable. So the patriarch immediately decides to reward me with a spirit medicine as a prize. After all, if he gave me ordinary rewards, I would certainly modestly decline them. I previously heard grandfather say that spirit medicine can help people improve their power, and its value is worth 1,000 gold pieces. Hua-un asks excitedly, Father, which spirit medicine are you talking about? Hurry and bring it out to see. The spirit medicine my father-in-law mentions is the honey of the golden-maned bee king. He's talking about bee honey. I didn't expect this could be called spirit medicine. Since internal energy is especially important for becoming a master, I'll accept it. However, this makes Hua-un very dissatisfied. How can you reward Soryong with honey? What kind of reward is that? Hua-un grew more and more excited as she spoke. Soryong deserves a lot of credit this time. The golden-haired queen bee is an intermediate-level poisonous creature, but its honey is the lowest grade among elixirs. How could you be so stingy? It should be at least an elixir equivalent to nearly a year's worth of internal cultivation. My father-in-law is somewhat dejected. This is still spirit medicine, so the intelligence fee wasn't cheap. Hua-un stares at her father speechlessly. It's just some money. How can that compare to what Soryong has done? Hurry and get the finest spirit medicine for Soryong. I don't really mind this, by the way. What exactly is this golden-maned bee king that you treasure so much? It turns out the golden-maned bee king is a giant bee, classified as a mid-level venomous creature that occasionally appears in dense forests. It's probably as large as a small dog. Legend has it that drinking its honey grants power equivalent to 2 months of cultivation. This amazes me immensely. A bee as large as a small dog? That's incredible! However, Hua-un covers my mouth and tells me to stop talking. Compared to the bee's size, she thinks the spirit medicine's grade is more important. She absolutely won't let me be wronged. Actually, the reason my father-in-law decided this way is because he thinks I definitely want to see the golden-maned bee king with my own eyes. This fills me with joy, father-in-law. You don't mean we're going to see the golden-maned bee king in person, do you? My father-in-law gives a thumbs up, exactly what you're thinking. This reminds me of my previous life. When I was on Earth, I also personally collected honey, but those were quite ordinary. I immediately can't wait to pull my father-in-law outside, wanting to hurry and see the bee king's nest. Hua-un sighs deeply. Husband acting like this really makes me helpless. It makes my efforts seem unnecessary, so we embark on the honey collecting journey. Because this is expensive, high-grade intelligence my father-in-law purchased, there shouldn't be other competitors. But when we arrive, we discover that the intelligence broker actually sold this information to several groups. One person says aggrievedly, we paid a great price for this intelligence. That bearded man said this information was sold only to us. Exclusive. Hearing this, I immediately think of the 2 people I saw during the day. So it was them who sold the intelligence to several organizations. This makes the Tang clan disciples behind us extremely angry. This practice is infuriating. How dare they play the Tang clan for fools? When other organizations hear it's Tang clan people, this is a truly major power. How can their small organizations compare? They immediately panic. This morning, I prepare to go to the bee king's nest with Hua-un. This trip to the bee king's nest has certain dangers, so the patriarch makes full preparations. The patriarch equips me with 30 martial arts experts. You're now the Tang clan's young master. You should gradually learn how to manage people. The patriarch stares at me with a mischievous smile. Now Hua-un is your person, and you're Hua-un's spouse, so naturally your status rises with the tide. This makes me blush, while Hua-un behind me doesn't seem to have any particular reaction. But this current situation leaves me momentarily unsure how to handle it. The Tang clan Venom Blood team captain says, this time we Tang clan came out to bring back honey. We absolutely cannot share it with these small organizations. organizations. However, we can't blame these people. We can only blame the intelligence merchant. These organizations are also victims. Hua-on is very angry. That person actually sold intelligence the Tang family already acquired to other places. It's truly despicable. These small organization bosses are all shocked to see Hua-on. This is actually poisonous flower. A Tang family direct descendant came personally. Helplessly, these organization bosses can only bow respectfully. We Peng One School never intended to make a move on Tang family property. We take our leave. Other organizations make the same gesture and claim that when they catch that guy, they'll definitely skin him alive. Then a group of people who came in great force leave dejectedly. There is no choice. Their strength simply can't compare to the Tang clan. Just when I think the matter is resolved, the captain tells me it's far from over, because he feels those evil sects definitely won't leave easily. They'll certainly cause trouble in secret. So we need to find a place to camp nearby first, then take turns standing guard. Hua-on comforts me, don't worry. These people can't stir up any big trouble. Soon we discover some bees gathering honey into a cave. These little bees are exactly the Bee King clan the patriarch mentioned. They go out early and return late every day, adding food for the entire clan. When I see these bees, I'm incredibly delighted. This is also my first time seeing such large bees. They're called golden-maned bee kings because their fur is very fluffy. I feel this bee swarm is a bit small, probably just a few hundred, but since these bees are quite large, having fewer is normal. Just then, someone suddenly appears behind us. Shu Bei reports on the traces of those evil sect guys. Those people, just as the captain predicted, didn't leave but camped nearby. Though they seem to have no unusual activities, they might strike at any time. So the captain decides that after sunset, they'll use their unique method to collect honey. This method involves burning mugwort smoke to fumigate the bees. During this time, we'll go in to collect honey. But there's a problem Shu Bei doesn't know whether to mention. The wind now seems to be blowing toward us. If we really set smoke, we might fumigate ourselves. Suddenly, a brilliant idea comes to mind. Since the wind is blowing toward us, doesn't that mask our scent? Then we can take this opportunity to quickly steal honey. As soon as I finish speaking, I can't wait to take action. But Hua-on pulls me back. Unexpectedly, our movement causes a pebble to fall from the rocks. That pebble lands right at the nest entrance, neither left nor right. This startles us greatly. If this swarm attacks us, won't we be doomed? Sure enough, as I predicted, this swarm really emerges from the cave. Each bee shows fierce eyes. Whoever dares destroy their home, they'll fight to the death. Hua-on pulls me to flee quickly, though I still get severely scolded. So I sit alone on a rock, starting to think of solutions. I definitely won't give up easily. If we go to the opposite direction to light fires, we'll be caught between the evil sect guys and the hive. Golden-maned bee kings are still different from bees I know. I didn't expect bees could sense ground vibrations from 30 meters away. Even ground bees don't seem to have this ability. Then Hua-on comes over saying her 3 children have eaten their fill and now want to return to my side. She sits beside me and asks gently, "Any gains today?" Seeing my difficulty in speaking, she changes her tone. "Sorry, Soryong, I seem to always be rushing you. Don't feel pressured, think slowly." But I feel she hasn't been rushing me or pressuring me at all. At this moment, ahead of us, a group of monkeys are fighting. One monkey looks fierce, as if saying, "This is my territory. Get lost." I'm stunned by this scene. Don't monkeys have strong group consciousness? How could fighting occur? However, at this moment I smell a delicate fragrance. This fragrance is emanating from inside a tree hollow. This makes my hair stand on end. Could this be pheromones? If so, we're in big trouble. I immediately point at the tree hollow ahead and shout to Hua-on, "We need to escape from here quickly." The next moment, Hua-on's form flashes and she carries me away with her. With just one leap, she takes me dozens of meters away from the original spot. The next second, Hua-on seems to see a terrifying scene and can't help but widen her eyes. Many golden-maned bee kings emerge from the tree hollow, and their target is the monkeys below. Once anyone approaches them, they'll attack. Soon, 2 monkeys are stung to death by them. With the toxins in their bodies, just a few stings can leave these monkeys with nowhere to be buried. Hua-on looks at me curiously. "How did you know they would attack?" I relied on the scent. They emit a fragrance before launching attacks. Suddenly, Hua-on remembers something. I seem to smell Michelia flower fragrance just now. This gives me quite a shock. I didn't expect Hua-on could actually distinguish pheromone scents. I grab her shoulders joyfully and say happily, "You've really helped me tremendously, because I've thought of a perfect method to get the Bee King honey, and also thought of a way to eliminate those evil sect people eyeing my honey." The man was only kissed once by the queen bee, yet the next day he became more than 10 years younger. His facial skin became incredibly elastic, just like a woman's skin. It turns out the queen bee kissed me to feed me the royal jelly stored in her body. The effects of this royal jelly go far beyond that. It actually increased my internal energy by 10 years. Before this, our group came to the killer bee forest. Several evil sect warriors also came along. I worry about them causing trouble, so I devise an excellent method to deal with them. At this time, that group of evil sect members doesn't know I'm going to deal with them. They're actually having a barbecue here, eating quite happily. One of them asks the boss, "When will the Tang family roughly go collect honey?" The boss doesn't know either. 3 days ago they were still wandering around, but now there's no movement. They'll probably make their move soon. The reason they're staying here is for the hive. They speculate that the Tang family people will go back after collecting honey. Then that hive can be left for them to sell for money. But the best outcome would be if all the Tang family people died here. Then they could appropriately step in to rescue the Tang family daughter. Then they could use this as leverage against the Tang family. Thinking of this, these few people can't help but rub their hands together eagerly. Some among them are already fantasizing. Maybe someone could become the Tang family's son-in-law. After all, life-saving grace must be repaid like a gushing spring. Suddenly a bald guy smells a fragrance. However, they don't take it seriously, thinking the Tang family has already made their move, and this fragrance might be emanating from the Tang family daughter. Soon, buzzing sounds are mixed within this fragrance. This makes these evil sect members look over. This sounds like bee buzzing. Then the next moment, they're shocked by the scene before them. The sky above is densely packed with killer bees. Everyone scatters in terror. If stung by killer bees, it could be fatal. fatal. However, it's all too late. The killer bees have already reached them. These few people's fate is extremely tragic. Encountering killer bees has only one outcome. In the end, they become pools of muddy water. This scene is clearly seen by us hiding behind trees. The captain never expected these bees would fly in one direction. Even Hwa-eun is very surprised what's going on. I didn't expect flower fragrance would make these killer bees so furious. Actually, when I learned that Hwa-eun could identify flower scents, I had her collect many flowers and fruits, then grind them into powder and scatter it. The scent emitted by the flower fragrance can make the bees launch a total attack. This is pheromones, the general term for chemical signals used between animals of the same species for communication. Especially social insects like ants and hornets actively use pheromones. The pheromones I used are exactly the fragrance killer bees emit during total attacks. Acetate inhibitor. In other words, the scent emitted by Michelia flowers is the same as when bees attack. Isn't this amazing? Regarding this, I think Hwa-eun's ability to distinguish scents is even more amazing. I turn to look at the tree hollow. It feels like it's about time to make our move. I need to take advantage of those killer bees being out to quickly get the things inside. I light the mugwort, using the plan the squad leader mentioned earlier. Soon we go inside and are amazed by the scene within. This is too beautiful. In this moment, I want to move all these things back home. Above us in the honeycomb, everything is golden honey. The captain discovers all the killer bees have gone out. This tree hollow should be safe for now. Just then, I notice a strange phenomenon nearby. There's a honeycomb to my upper left that has no honey at all. This makes us feel very strange. This gives me a suspicion. The honeycombs in the entire cave don't have a single egg. It's as if this group is preparing to migrate so they won't lay eggs. Because there's no time to care for children, I casually come below this honeycomb and start poking around. The next second leaves me stunned. Right in front of me, there's actually still one bee that hasn't gone out, and this one is particularly large. This makes me show a mischievous smile, Captain. If you don't stop and keep using lightness skills, how long can you last? He says, running while resting. Probably half a day. At the same time, Shubei suddenly shouts from outside, Lord Soryong, that golden-maned bee king swarm has returned. We need to leave quickly. Sure enough, in another 10 seconds or so, these bee king swarms will probably return. Seeing this scene, Shubei tells me to flee immediately, while I quickly crouch down and stuff that bee into my chest. As soon as I grab the bee, Hwa-eun pulls me outside. One step later, and I wouldn't have gotten it. Then the four of us rush out of the tree hollow in panic. In my chest, there's now an additional small bee with a crown on its head. After a moment, we finally escape. While Hwa-eun is speaking, that bee king suddenly pops its head up for air. Hwa-eun is startled and quickly asks what I brought back. It turns out what I brought back is the golden-maned bee king's queen bee. Since there was no honey, I brought back the bee king that can produce honey. Hwa-eun carefully leans forward to examine. The queen bee you mentioned, it's not the boss of that killer bee swarm, is it? Little does she know the captain is already sweating behind us. Soon they realize the seriousness of the problem. No wonder Soryong asked earlier how long my lightness skills could last. His courage is so great, he actually dared to take the bee king away. My voice slowly reaches their ears. After discovering the queen bee is missing, the swarm will definitely come chase us. Stop talking! I chuckle. Take a look behind me. Those countless killer bees have already caught up. Aren't we going to flee for our lives? And so we begin our escape journey. At this time, the bee king's tears flow continuously. I never thought this bee king would be kidnapped. I tell her not to cry. I'll take you to a place where no one will disturb us. Our death race with the bees has lasted several days. During this time, our group reduced sleep and used lightness skills with all our might. We've now become like this. So at this time, I have a thought. After I return, I must have someone teach me lightness skills. At this time, one person collapses from exhaustion, but the rest have no time to care for him. That person who just fell immediately falls asleep. This is caused by being too tired and sleepy. The only solution now is to run quickly, getting as far away from the fallen guy as possible. This way, he won't be attacked. Shubei asks me groggily, Lord Soryong, they should be able to escape from here, right? After 3 more days, another person collapses and falls asleep on the ground. He says, I'm sorry, I can only help you this far, then falls asleep. Hwa-eun and I look at the captain in disbelief. He's also been eliminated. Hwa-eun says slowly, Soryong, let me carry you, but how can I accept this? With a slapping sound, Hwa-eun heavily slaps her face with both hands. Then she says confidently, don't worry, Soryong, I will definitely carry you back to the Tang clan, because Tang clan people never give up. At this very moment at the Tang family's main gate, 2 guards notice movement ahead and look over. The figures of a man and woman ahead look familiar. Looking carefully, it's actually the young miss. But why do they look so disheveled? After so many days of near-death escape, I finally see hope of survival. Seeing our miserable state, the gate guards are immediately shocked. An arrow shoots straight into the sky, requesting the patriarch to come help. Seeing the arrow, the patriarch panics greatly. It looks like Hwa-eun has returned and encountered considerable trouble. When they see our appearance, they're completely stunned. How did you two become so miserable? Where are the 30 people we prepared for you? I tell my father-in-law to calm down. Hwa-eun is exhausted from using lightness skills for 10 days straight, but that's not the most important thing now. We need to hurry to the training ground. The elder patriarch is puzzled. What are we going to the training ground for? At this time, I'm searching for something in my chest, immediately arousing the elder patriarch's curiosity. The next moment, I take out the golden-maned bee king and say that other bees will come looking soon, so we need to hurry to the training ground and put the bee king in the ancient tomb. Hearing this, the patriarch laughs heartily. You really are someone who accomplishes great things. You actually caught the queen bee and brought her back. Then the old master places his hand on my shoulder and tells me, hold on tight. The next moment, the old master's figure shoots up from the ground and instantly disappears from the spot. When he appears again, he's already in the sky above. The old master's speed is extremely fast. Each aerial step covers hundreds of meters. Just then, the old master roars, what are you yelling about, little guy? But this can't be blamed on me. I see a large swarm of bees ahead rapidly approaching us. If If they catch up, we're doomed. Now the old master finally understands. So you really were chased back by bees all the way. How hard that must have been. Bang, bang, bang. The old master steps continuously in the air, his speed increasing another level. Then with a diving break, he reaches the destination. This pose is incredibly cool. As soon as we arrive, I quickly place the bee into the tree hollow. From now on, this will be the golden-maned bee king's future home. I slowly release my hands, letting the golden-maned bee king examine her new home. The golden-maned bee king pokes her head inside. Then she tells me happily that she really likes living inside. The old master reminds us, the bee swarm is heading this way. Let's leave first. When everyone sees this bee swarm, they all tremble in their hearts and are too scared to move. At this time, the bee king, seeing her children have arrived, immediately makes buzzing sounds to attract them all over. So these bee swarms follow the bee king into the tree hollow without harming me. Even the old master is seeing this shocking scene for the first time. Soon the place settles down, and I successfully capture the golden-maned bee king. Now every time I go out, I can see this group of adorable bees. We prepared sugar water for the golden-maned bee kings who were exhausted from following us all the way. As they say, bonds form through food, hearts connect through meals. This is exactly the principle. Fortunately, we have white sugar here. The sight of bees drinking water attracts many people in the manor to come watch. After all, their eating and drinking is quite adorable. Given enough time, I believe this bee king will let down her guard against us and consider me their master. Just then, my expression changes drastically. I suddenly remember that Hua Yun seems to still be unconscious. My father-in-law's face darkens. You're only thinking of her now? It turns out after Hua Yun returned, she was sent to her mother. There's nothing wrong now, we just need to wait for her to wake up. What actually surprises the patriarch is that we started using lightness skills to run from the forest and kept running for over 10 days. This is simply incredible. The old master suddenly realizes a problem. Why did only 2 people return? Where are the other Venom Blood team members? His words remind me that the Venom Blood team members all seem to be lying on the road asleep, but their lives are safe. They had been using lightness skills without rest and were already exhausted. Later, the patriarch brought them all back safely. After settling the golden-maned bee king, I come to Hua Yun's room to chat with her. I tell her about those interesting events. The bee kings are now collecting honey among the poisonous flowers in the Tang family mountains. Just as we're chatting enthusiastically, panic shouting interrupts our conversation. Shu Bei says frantically, "I'm afraid you need to come out. Those golden-maned bee kings seem off, like they're looking for something." This surprises me. This is the Tang clan. What could there be for them to search for? I slowly walk out the door and see 2 golden-maned bee kings above me. Unexpectedly, as soon as I come out, all the bees' gazes focus on me. The bee leader sighs in her heart, searched all morning and finally found him. Then she lies directly on my head and signals me not to resist. Then a large group of bees pull at my clothes corners and collar. Don't tell me they want to make me fly. Sure enough, my feet begin to slowly float in the air. The next moment, I'm flying upright. Even I don't know where they're taking me. Hua Un is shocked. Is my husband being kidnapped by this swarm of bees? Soon this swarm of bees puts me down. But what I don't know is why they brought me to their dwelling place. This makes me suspect their actions. It's very likely the bee king inside gave them instructions. The little bee behind keeps urging me to hurry inside, as if saying there are benefits waiting for me inside. Taking a closer look, I discover there are quite a few honeycombs inside. Above this tree hollow, many honeycombs are already taking shape. It seems they've really been working hard collecting honey every day. Upon seeing my arrival, the bee king immediately flies down and buzzes greetings to me. Seeing her constantly buzzing, I open my hand. She indeed comes to my palm, but I don't know what her purpose is in seeking me out this time. Not only that, several bees keep clinging to me, making it impossible for me to move. They use their appendages to pry open my mouth. At this moment, the bee king's watery big eyes stare at me, signaling me not to resist. The next moment, she comes right in front of me. This makes me break out in cold sweat. Why are you suddenly so close to me? Suddenly I freeze. I'm actually being kissed by a bee. This is my first kiss. Now my eyes are spinning, completely unable to figure out what's happening. Why would a bee kiss me out of nowhere? However, the next moment my body jolts. It seems she fed me something, and it's not just one thing, but several. I swallow them gulp by gulp. The bee king is also quite exhausted. After all, transferring so much from her body to my mouth at once. Only then do I react and ask the bee king, "What's going on? What did you feed me?" Most importantly, I was saving my first kiss for Hua Yun, but you took it. Suddenly my words stop abruptly, and I find my body somewhat weak and powerless, dizzy and disoriented. With a thud, I fall heavily to the ground, feeling quite miserable. This reaction must be from what the bee king fed me. My heart is pounding wildly. However, at this moment, the bee king's expression isn't as gentle as before. I question her, "What exactly did you make me eat?" The man was just kissed once by the queen bee, and the next day he actually transformed into a handsome young man. His facial skin became incredibly smooth, even more tender than a woman's skin. It turns out the queen bee kissed me because she wanted to give me the royal jelly stored in her body, and the effect of royal jelly also increased my martial power by 60 years. Right after I consumed the royal jelly, I felt intense pain. This pain was very special, with an unbearable itching sensation crawling all over my body, followed immediately by scorching hot waves sweeping through my entire body. I glared fiercely at the queen bee, asking what exactly she had fed me. However, the queen bee just buzzed in front of me, as if saying I didn't appreciate good things. When I opened my eyes again, I saw grandfather and my wife come into view. Seeing me wake up, Hua Un's worried expression relaxed considerably. I immediately sat up and looked around. This seemed to be the Tang clan's medical hall. It turns out, after seeing me being dragged away by the golden-maned bee king, Hua Un and grandfather chased after us, and when they arrived, I was already lying unconscious on the ground. I felt my head still ached a bit, and gradually began to recall what happened yesterday. The next moment, I couldn't help but bashfully cover my face. My first kiss, meant for Hua Un, seemed to have been stolen by the queen bee. Hua Un didn't know what had happened, and thought I was feeling unwell. well. I let out a long sigh. What's done is done, there was no other way. I explained to Hua-un what happened yesterday. The queen bee fed me the food she usually eats, which might be why I fainted, although I don't know what it was. If I had to give it a name, it should be called royal jelly. Those bees collect honey because they feed on it, but only the worker bees who labor their entire lives eat this honey. The queen bee is different. From birth to death, she eats royal jelly made by the worker bees. In other words, what the queen bee force-fed me was indeed royal jelly, the food she has always enjoyed. Then I mentioned that royal jelly has a special effect that I bet you don't know about. I became excited. Ordinary worker bees only live for about 1.5 months, but queen bees who eat royal jelly can live 60 times longer than them. Hua-un coughed twice, and after hearing my explanation, she understood. The internal cultivation method I'm currently practicing is the 5 poisons return to origin technique, and since this is just a beginner's method, I couldn't fully absorb the spirit medicine's essence, which caused the physical discomfort. Hua-un smiled slightly. We previously said the golden mane bee king's honey could only improve 2 months of internal energy, but now I've gained 10 years of internal energy. This stunned me. Did I really gain 10 years of martial power in just one day? Before I could be amazed at my own power, Hua-un said shyly that there was actually one more thing. Then Hua-un glanced away and said, when you have time, go look in a mirror. The royal jelly seems to have other effects. This shocked me. I never expected this royal jelly to have bonus surprises. But what puzzled me was why Hua-un told me to look in a mirror. Was there something different about me now compared to before? But when I actually looked in the mirror, I was completely shocked. I had evolved from a little kid directly into a handsome young man. Moreover, I now had no trace of being a country bumpkin. Could royal jelly really have such effects? I poked my face and found it bouncy and elastic. Not only had my facial features become more attractive, but my skin had also become more tender. And when I applied just a little pressure, I could actually squeeze water from my face. This startled me. Could there be other changes? So I looked down, and my heart immediately settled. It seemed I was overthinking. Eating royal jelly only caused my body to grow, but didn't change anything else. I suddenly remembered Hua-un telling me that grandfather saved me and transferred a lot of true energy to me. I should go thank him. So I put on my shoes and walked outside, only to find many people staring at me. I felt everyone was looking at me with particularly strange expressions today. Could it be because my internal energy had strengthened? I felt their gazes were particularly creepy, so I decided to run away first. At this moment in the Tang family dining hall, I quietly came to grandfather's place and pushed open the door to enter, only to discover all the Tang clan members were here and delicious dishes had been served. When my mother-in-law saw me, she was overjoyed. Soryang, you've become even more handsome recently. Are you feeling better? I respectfully cupped my fists. Much better. I apologize for worrying you, mother-in-law. Then my mother-in-law teased my wife. Seeing this face, do you like Soryang even more now? These words made me incredibly embarrassed, so I quickly sat down. After sitting down, our family happily ate together here. My father-in-law never expected that my trip to the forest would bring such great fortune, but this was thanks to grandfather giving me precious true energy. Otherwise, even with such fortune, I wouldn't have survived until now. At this time, the whole family was very curious about how exactly this fortune was obtained, so they asked me to tell them about the royal jelly incident. This made me somewhat embarrassed, hesitating whether to reveal the kissing incident with the queen bee. If Hua-un found out about this, she would definitely be jealous. I'd better not mention it. So I explained to everyone that the queen bee was very satisfied with the new home I gave her, and wanting to repay me, she brought me to the hive and fed me royal jelly. Hearing this, my mother-in-law was extremely surprised. I never thought poisonous creatures would know gratitude. This is truly amazing. Grandfather wanted me to go get some more royal jelly from the queen bee since it would be of great help to the Tang family if we could obtain it. My mother-in-law was the most excited one. Could you give me some royal jelly? I'd also like to be 10 years younger. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire room fell silent. Hua-un broke the silence, asking if I could obtain some more royal jelly. I thought carefully. If they were ordinary bees, one might be able to trick the worker bees to get royal jelly, but using such tricks on the intelligent golden-maned bee king would probably result in getting stung all over. Royal jelly is originally food that worker bees give to the queen bee, and I was personally fed by the queen bee. What if it's a completely different substance? Speaking of this, I felt I should tell the truth. After all, if there were any misunderstandings, it wouldn't be good. When she heard me say it was somewhat difficult, my mother-in-law immediately became anxious. Seeing my mother-in-law's expression, I could only reveal everything. Actually, even if one could eat it, they might not be able to consume royal jelly. The fundamental reason is that royal jelly comes from the queen bee's mouth, so it probably needs to be transferred personally by the queen bee. Lips to lips, through kissing, is the only way to transfer the royal jelly from within the queen bee's body. Hearing this, everyone was greatly shocked. What kind of situation was this, requiring kissing to transfer it? Hearing this, my father-in-law immediately sensed trouble and instinctively glanced toward Hua-un. Sure enough, after hearing my explanation, Hua-un's chopsticks immediately dropped onto the table. What she noticed wasn't the royal jelly, but the word kissing. Hua-un looked at me with complete disbelief. Don't tell me you kissed the queen bee? Meanwhile, in a secluded deep mountain, there was a pavilion built there. A man sat by a small stream contemplating something. He was the Martial Alliance leader, Fist Emperor Zhu Chang'e. At this moment, there was a knock at the door. A woman had come to bring tea to the Alliance leader. Soon this woman carried the tea and came before the Alliance leader. She had specially brewed Zishan white dew tea today. The Alliance leader's heart skipped a beat. He hadn't expected it to be tea from his hometown. He was very grateful for this. Zishan's famous tea was incredibly fragrant and mellow, and he would definitely savor it properly. So the Alliance leader slowly brought the teacup to his lips, while the woman beside him stared intently at the cup, eagerly anticipating him drinking it. Just as the teacup was about to touch his lips, there was suddenly a knock at the door. This startled the Alliance leader, and he immediately put down the teacup. Outside was military strategist Zhu Yu, and the Alliance leader was somewhat surprised that he would come so late. Something must have happened. Zhu Ho respectfully cupped his fists. "I sincerely apologize, Alliance Leader, for disturbing your rest so late. Actually, he had come to report something. News about the Tang family," the Alliance Leader told Zhu Cho to report. Then the strategist reached into his sleeve and placed a scroll on the table. "This matter is related to Blood Hand Rakshasa Zhao Yunyang. The Tang family claims they took Zhao Yunyang's life and found the Blood Hand single palm manual." With a crash, the cup in the Alliance Leader's hand shattered, his face filled with rage. Upon hearing Zhao Yunyang's name, he could no longer contain his angry emotions. Blood Hand Poison Palm. Such a sinister, evil technique. How exactly did they recover it? Zhuge Ho began to narrate. It said that after Zhao Yunyang was struck by the myriad poisoned Divine Lord's palm, he disappeared without a trace, later hiding on Hainan Island. However, some very interesting things seem to have happened during this time. I heard it was a young hero and poisonous creatures who eliminated the great demon Zhao Yunyang. The Alliance Leader was shocked. What's going on? How could Zhao Yunyang possibly be killed by such a child? At this point, Zhuge Ho sat down directly and opened his fan. There are quite a few interesting things. You'll definitely be interested. Just as he was about to tell the Alliance Leader the whole story, he suddenly felt what seemed like killing intent behind him. The next day at the Tang Clan Chief's Hall, a group of people sat discussing matters. This time, someone had sold intelligence meant for the Tang family to others as well. This was simply humiliating for the Tang family. I quietly asked Chua Yun, "These branch family members actually aren't criticizing father-in-law. This is really unusual." Chua Yun chuckled. "This concerns the family's reputation. How could they possibly blame father? After all, we're all one family." At this time, father-in-law told everyone not to worry because he had already sent the beggar clan to confirm, and they would probably contact us soon, and he planned to personally go to Yongchuan Prefecture. The elders immediately asked how to deal with them once found, and father-in-law was also ruthless. First used soul annihilation poison, blood circulation poison, and heartbreak poison on them. When they experienced the agony of blood and chi surging, internal organs melting, and souls scattering, then finished them off with 7 steps crimson severance poison. This startled me. Wasn't this just like cocktail therapy? Then the patriarch ordered his subordinates to immediately call the Venom Purge team. They would depart at once. Before long, all members of the Venom Purge team were in position. Before leaving, father-in-law told me he would be back soon, and if anything happened, to find grandfather. I respectfully cupped my fists. "Father-in-law, please be extremely careful out there." Father-in-law seemed very confident. "What do I have to worry about? Those guys should be the ones worrying." And with that, he left. I pointed at the Venom Purge team ahead. "I think this is the first time I'm seeing them. Their names sound somewhat terrifying." However, Hua Un said with a smile, "They're mainly responsible for killing and silencing witnesses, so they're called the Venom Purge team." Just then, I heard 2 dry coughs behind me. Turning around, I saw they were Tang family branch elders, so I respectfully cupped my fist to them, though I expressed respect verbally. I suspected in my heart that they must have come for the royal jelly. Unfortunately, besides me, no one else could obtain this royal jelly. Sure enough, just as I suspected, after just a moment, they said they had a favor to ask, to avoid misunderstanding. They explained that they hadn't come for royal jelly. They wouldn't dare covet such things. Their words actually made me somewhat puzzled. Then what was it for? The sleazy fat elder looked around, then told me to bring my ear closer. Then he whispered, "Do you still have precious things like blister beetle pills? Could you spare this old man some?" Hearing the words blister beetle pills, I immediately understood. "So you came to me for this little matter." Then I laughed heartily and directly pulled out 3 blister beetle pills from my chest. I've encountered quite a few difficulties in the Tang family. If the elders can help me, I can certainly give you blister beetle pills. And they laughed heartily, expressing their definite support. At this time, grandfather suddenly walked over from behind, puzzled about why we were so happy. The several elders' expressions froze. Their hands still paused in the motion of preparing to take the pills. Then they immediately put away the pills and laughed awkwardly with grandfather. We were just chatting with Soryang. Hua Un beside us just chuckled without speaking. She had nothing to say about their little schemes. Just then, someone outside brought news saying something terrible had happened. The city lord is dying and about to enter critical condition. As soon as these words were spoken, all of us were greatly startled. How could something go wrong when everything was fine? I anxiously asked him if the city lord hadn't strictly followed the dosage, and my question left him speechless. His expression said it all, which made me extremely panicked. The city lord must have taken more than the prescribed dose after experiencing the effects, and this could be fatal. Grandfather felt a headache coming on. This city lord really didn't let him rest easy, and he had to go check on him now. Finally, he told me I must protect the women at home, because I was the only man left in the house. With that, grandfather flew away directly. I felt grandfather's parting instructions were completely unnecessary. After all, what could happen at home? That evening, Hua Yun asked me how I felt about learning the 10 poisons dual origin technique this time. If the 5 poisons return to origin technique felt like a huge circle rotating inside my body, then the 10 poisons dual origin technique was like having dual cylinders installed inside. Hua Yun thought I should now be able to shoot energy directly out or inject it into objects. This surprised me. Was I already this powerful? It seemed necessary to test it out. Then I found a straw dummy and placed it in front. With a flick of my wrist, a dart appeared in my palm. The next moment, vigorous power appeared in my body. I channeled internal energy from left to right, with 2 other circles rotating in the same direction. When this energy filled my entire body, I could throw the blade in my hand. After completing all this, I instantly threw the throwing knife in my hand. This strike was infused with all my power. The flying knife was very fast, even faintly creating a sonic boom in the air. With a thunderous sound, within 0.25 seconds of throwing the dart, I heard the sound of the straw dummy being blown to pieces. This made me incredibly excited. However, the group of black-clad figures behind the straw dummy were not so calm. A flying knife suddenly appeared, which certainly startled them. So they turned to look. Had they been exposed? They originally wanted to eliminate Shua Un and me first, but to avoid trouble, they decided to take the blood hand hand single palm manuscript back first. At this moment, they looked down upon this place with extreme contempt. The Tang clan was just a bunch of foolish people, and the training ground guards were so lax that leaving would be as easy as turning their palms. Just then, they seemed to smell a strange fragrance. They didn't know where this sweet scent was coming from. They just felt it was particularly pleasant. However, what they didn't know was that a golden-maned bee king was behind them, quietly targeting them. The golden-maned bee king slowly opened its mouth. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Then a scream echoed throughout the entire Tang clan. Hua-un and I were both startled. It seemed someone had broken in. Not far in front of us, those black-clad figures immediately appeared. They were also curious why there was a legendary poisonous bee here. In this instant, Hua-un immediately realized they were intruders and burst forth directly, telling me to shoot arrows. The captain sensed trouble and immediately prepared to flee, but his companion was tightly bitten by the golden-maned bee king, so he didn't care about anything else and directly abandoned his companion to flee, while at the same time, Hua-un arrived in front of them. With a light movement of her hands, a long whip appeared in her grasp. The power of that whip was incredibly fierce. One lash created a large crater in the ground, though it didn't hit the black-clad figure. This surprised Hua-un. It seemed all the intruders were masters, actually able to avoid her whip, and such masters were rare. Meanwhile, with the golden-maned bee king's help, that intruder was held back, but he wasn't afraid and charged directly toward Hua-un. My expression instantly changed. Hua-un! The assassin raised his blade and struck down toward my wife. However, how could the Tang clan's female warrior be taken down by such a strike? She directly crossed both arms, transforming the whip into a long staff and blocking the attack. Immediately after, the whip's tail end directly lashed across the assassin's face. With just one strike, this assassin was directly defeated. Watching Hua-un's fighting stance, so incredibly elegant, how could there be such a beautiful and formidable woman in this world? But I was still somewhat worried, so I asked if she was injured from the battle just now. However, when I looked closely, it wasn't Hua-un who had problems, but this assassin. This person's body had already started to rot. Hua-un just glanced and understood completely. This guy was probably trying to commit suicide. He's definitely hiding something. So she immediately made a decision to form a pursuit team to chase the other two, and had me go along with Vice Captain Kyubei. Soon our group frantically pursued the traces of those two people. It would be best to capture them alive. At this time, I was shouting in my heart to keep going my dual-cylinder engine. Run faster for me. With a thud, my foot heavily stepped on the ground. What I didn't expect was that I didn't control the force of this step properly and sank directly into the ground. Then, two people struggled to dig me out from the ground. We really almost had a big problem. Just then, I keenly caught the sound of hissing behind me. Turning around to look, I saw that below me, many poisonous snakes were coiled together. If I had fallen down there, wouldn't I have been bitten to death? Kyubei said in panic. This is a snake den. It's said that snakes occasionally gather in places with heavy yin energy, and they're particularly ferocious at these times, so we must be careful. Just one look made me feel chills down my spine. The snake below with its bloody maw wide open was called a tiger-striped water snake, naturally brutal and extremely ferocious, capable of swallowing a grown person whole. After pulling me out of the snake den, they immediately continued on their way. Before long, we caught up with their tracks. Kyubei shouted, "They're over there! Quick, go catch them!" Soon the three people opposite us faced off against us. On this stormy night, they were cornered at the foot of Boulder Mountain. We clearly outnumbered them and had the natural advantage. Kyubei ordered the Tang clan disciples to immediately surround them. Now it was like catching turtles in a jar. They absolutely couldn't escape. Accompanied by a thunderous roar, both sides drew their weapons. The next moment, all Tang clan members charged at the three people. Those who trespass into the Tang clan must die. With a whoosh, Tang clan disciples quickly threw two flying knives, but they were easily blocked by the opponents. In this blink of an eye, both sides had nearly closed the distance. The assassin's side was also extremely fierce. "You insects want to fight us?" With a casual strike, then immediately kicked a Tang clan disciple in the face. However, just then, an assassin sensed killing intent and immediately looked to the side. His speed was very fast. While sensing the killing intent, he had already prepared to dodge, crouching down to avoid the Tang clan's attack. The assassin's figure kept retreating. This was the Tang clan's most troublesome killing move, called triple exchange kill. The strangeness of this technique was extraordinary, so the assassin could only withdraw and retreat, soon being forced to the foot of the mountain. However, the Tang clan disciple still pursued him relentlessly, with upper and lower strikes directly blocking his path. Then the third blade pierced through his chest. This shocked him. He might not escape today. The leading Tang clan disciple slowly said, "You should be grateful. The poison on the flying knives has been diluted by the rainwater." Soon the Tang clan people pressed forward step by step, but they also had casualties on their side. This was unavoidable. Only one assassin remained on their side. His combat ability was already limited, and being injured, he simply couldn't escape. Just when all the Tang clan disciples thought they had defeated their opponent, a loud laugh suddenly came from the foot of the mountain. "Where did these insects come from?" "Get lost!" the Tang clan captain shouted loudly. "Who dares to play tricks in front of the Tang clan?" With a thunderous roar, a figure jumped down directly from the mountain. The aura on him was like towering waves, making the Tang clan disciples unable to stand steady. That person kept sneering coldly, his eyes full of killing intent and playful expression. Kyubei thought to himself that this was bad. This was a master. Everyone retreat quickly. That person slowly stood up, making people's hearts tremble with fear. He kept making eerie kekeke laughter. He asked if they had obtained the manual, and the person responded, "We got it, but it's not the original. This is just a manuscript recorded by the Tang family." At this time, I had just tied an assassin to a rock. Turning to look, I saw the manual in his hands. This greatly shocked me. This seemed to be something grandfather had shown me before, claiming that only bad people would look at such things. I immediately shouted to Kyubei, "That's the manuscript of the Bloodhand single palm manual." Hearing my words, words, Kyubei's heart skipped a beat. He never expected such a major incident to happen on the first day after grandfather left. May I ask what you intend to do by taking this manual? This is a cursed evil technique. However, the person opposite couldn't be bothered to respond and continued looking at the manual in his hands. The person opposite was extremely excited. This manuscript is indeed the manual, though it only has information about the technique and no incantations, but this is already enough. With a snap, the old man closed the manual. Though it's somewhat early, there's nothing more suitable than this as a sacrifice to announce their return. Now, Blood Glory beside him at Plum Ridge will use the martial arts he taught. Blood Glory respectfully cupped his fists, indicating he understood and would certainly live up to expectations by eliminating them all. Immediately after, he spread his large hand toward his previously deceased companion. The next moment, red light emanated from his palm, drawing out the blood from that companion's body. I was greatly shocked from behind. Wasn't this evil cult martial arts? We're doomed. I might be finished now. Blood Glory laughed heartily. Soon it would be his turn to show his skills. Before long, Blood Glory had completely absorbed his companion's blood and came behind the old man. The old man also announced his identity. He was an elder of the evil cult, named Crimson Hawk Daggerclaw Chunak Gu. Then he fixed his gaze on me. It's been a long time since I've tasted young blood. This made him anticipate. This blood would surely have a special flavor. The Tang clan side was as if facing a great enemy and didn't dare be careless. Chunak Gu was very happy today. He had both obtained the manual and could drink young blood, and in his eyes, nothing was more beneficial for recovery than young heart blood. The two people charged toward us at extremely fast speed. The Tang clan side immediately prepared to form the 5 poison soul annihilation formation. They absolutely couldn't let them get close to Master Soryong. Chunak Gu laughed heartily. If you have the ability, try to stop me. Then with a sweep of his sleeve, the ground below him was directly blasted apart. His attacks were not only sinister, but also extremely powerful. That strike just now made it hard for me to keep my eyes open, with fierce winds constantly sweeping by. But just as I was stunned, my neck was suddenly strangled by that assassin, and I couldn't move at all. I immediately grabbed his arms with both hands to prevent him from tightening his grip, but his strength kept increasing. Gradually, I started rolling my eyes back. My consciousness was slipping away, and just as I was about to faint, I said to the 3 larvae in my chest, "Little guys, bite him for me." The next moment, 3 centipede larvae immediately burst from my chest and bit the assassin's arms and chest. The assassin looked closely and was shocked to see these insects were actually azure-spotted centipedes, which scared him into a cold sweat. It was his good luck that before the azure-spotted centipede's poison could take effect, a dagger pierced through his head. Immediately after, a great fire burned his body to ashes. Turning to look, I was overjoyed. It was Hua-Un who had come to support us. Miss Hua-Un, dressed in red robes, quickly arrived with 2 branch family elders. But when Hua-Un got closer, she froze. Everything happening before her was somewhat unbelievable. The 5 poison soul annihilation formation ahead had been beaten so badly by others, and one person said, "An evil cult elder has attacked the Tang clan." Upon hearing the words evil cult, Hua-Un's face immediately showed shock. She knew they were in big trouble now, and evil cult techniques were particularly sinister and hard to defend against. Immediately, Hua-Un gave the order for everyone to help Vice Captain Kyubei, changing from the 5 poison soul annihilation formation to the 9 poison soul annihilation formation. In this instant, 9 great masters of the Tang clan formed a formation around the evil cult elder. However, the evil cult elder opposite didn't seem to take them seriously at all, instead looking in my direction. "So you're the kid who defeated Zhao Yunyang." He felt the blood hand single palm was nothing but an empty reputation, actually being killed by a mere azure-spotted centipede. The Tang clan disciples roared angrily, "You evil cult elder will definitely die here today." These words instead made the evil cult elder show a mocking smile, a bunch of fools who don't know when they're about to die. The next moment his aura suddenly erupted, that sinister energy climbing higher and higher. Thunderous sounds continued as explosions occurred everywhere in this forest. My combat ability was limited, and I couldn't join the battle, so I could only help bandage the wounded in the rear. I felt we seemed to be at a disadvantage. If this continued, everyone might die here. The evil cult elder ahead was slaughtering in all directions. No one had the strength to fight him because the evil cult elder only needed to absorb blood to restore his vitality. With a loud bang, I immediately felt something was wrong. Hua-Un was directly struck hard against a tree by the evil cult elder. I immediately turned to look and found that Hua-Un was now unable to continue fighting. What shocked me even more was that she spat out a large mouthful of fresh blood. She had obviously suffered severe internal injuries. At this moment, Hua-Un tightly gripped my hand. She told me to quickly return to the Tang clan to get reinforcements. If that manual returned to the evil cult's hands, it would definitely cause a storm in the Central Plains. On the other side, the evil cult elder was enjoying the killing more and more. His aura hadn't weakened, but had become even stronger than before. The 2 branch family elders who had asked me for pills said the same thing, telling me to quickly go back. They would resist the evil cult elder here no matter what. Watching the Tang clan people retreating step by step, my heart felt like it was being cut by knives. So I agreed. I will definitely return to the Tang clan as quickly as possible to get reinforcements. Please hold on until I return. However, before I can finish speaking, a cascade of jet black hair flows freely through the air. In this battle, Chua Yun actually embraces me directly. This is the first time she has ever been in such close contact with me. She believes I can definitely do it. After all, I have been training seriously during this time, and they will wait here for my return. After saying this, she tells me to hurry back. She then turns around to continue fighting, while my mission is to return to the Tang clan for reinforcements. Although I am not very confident myself, I will definitely try my best, so I frantically use my lightness skill to rush back, and in this heavy rain, my footsteps sound extremely harsh. I pant heavily, not daring to stop for even a moment. Just then, in a moment of carelessness, I actually trip over a stone. With a thud, my body crashes heavily to the ground. This fall sends me face first into the dirt, and intense pain shoots through my body. In this heavy rain, I do not get up and run immediately, but instead sense something is wrong. I begin to think about what they said earlier. Even if I use lightness skill at full speed, it would take half a day, and the clan's masters are not present. I slowly look up at the sky, letting the heavy rain strike my body, and at this moment, I finally understand something. That is, those Tang clan members, including the branch elders and Hua-un, are all prepared to sacrifice themselves to let me alone survive. This confuses me greatly. Why is this? I am clearly not as strong as them, and the Tang clan's daughter is among them, so why choose to let me live? At this moment, my unease has reached its peak. Could it be because I am young and weak that they want to protect me? Is this behavior also part of the chivalry in martial arts? Suddenly, I remember something. What my father-in-law said to me before, from now on, we are family. Thinking of this scene, yes, we are family. This thought keeps circling in my mind. During this time, I have never seriously thought about the word family. I have not yet considered myself a member of the Tang clan. But looking back, everyone in the Tang clan seems to treat me as family. Whether it is good food, drinks, or interesting poisons, they always tell me first. There is also Hua-un and the old master. Even those branch elders treat me very well. So these people must consider me family, and they have been doing so since the very first day I entered the Tang clan. I cursed myself for being so foolish. Everyone treats me as family except myself. Back then, I was still wondering why they treated me so well. It turns out they already considered me family. Thinking of this, I chuckle softly. These guys are really quite endearing. Despite being known as an assassination clan, their behavior is far too warm. The family I never experienced in my previous life, I experience in this one. Then I slowly stand up, having found my answer. I now decide not to return to the Tang clan, but to go back and save Hua-un and my Tang clan family. With a whoosh, I quickly run back, pushing my lightness skill to its limit. If I want to save them, I must quickly think of a solution. Otherwise, even if I go back, I will just be throwing away another life. That evil cult elder's advantage is that he can recover strength as long as he has blood. In my mind, I quickly begin searching for all nearby venomous creatures and poisonous plants to see if there is something that can solve the current predicament. Just then, my figure suddenly stops. My footsteps gradually come to a halt. I see a snake den not far ahead, the very same snake den I almost fell into before. Looking down, many snakes are coiled together below, flicking their tongues. This makes one of the centipedes on my shoulder shiver with fright. Centipedes and snakes are natural enemies, always incompatible like fire and water. I reach out to pat the centipede on my shoulder, signaling it not to be afraid. With me here, you will be fine. Then I gather the three little ones together. Next, I will brave the snake den alone. With a whoosh, I quickly run forward and jump into the snake den. Below me, countless venomous snakes bare their fangs at me. However, I feel no fear at all. Instead, showing excitement on my face, tiger keelback snakes. These snakes are commonly called tiger-striped water snakes, and they are undoubtedly venomous. After jumping into the snake den, I let them bite my body. Unlike venomous snakes with hook-shaped fangs at the front of their mouths, these have small venomous teeth in their molar area, making it difficult to inject venom. But in terms of toxicity, they are the strongest terrestrial venomous snakes in East Asia. I offer no resistance to their bites. Go ahead and bite to your heart's content. They are more venomous than black mamba snakes, but the Tang clan's internal energy techniques can help resist toxicity, so I should be able to withstand it. The two centipedes above look worried, but I tell them to stay up there. I will come up shortly. Then I glance at the back of my hand and my arm. I see countless bite wounds from the venomous snakes. I estimate this amount of toxin should be enough, so I prepare to leave. I must immediately rush back and kill that evil cult elder, but just at this moment, my heart suddenly skips a beat. Looking down, I am nearly scared out of my wits. Why are these venomous snakes so heavy? I see many snakes coiled around my legs, making me unable to move. I curse silently. This was not part of my plan at all. The next moment, three little centipedes suddenly jump down from above and climb onto my body. The centipede perched on my shoulder shouts at the snake group below, signaling them to get lost. Seeing someone scolding them, this group of venomous snakes naturally becomes very angry. The little centipede sees that the other party seems not to have heard what it said and does not take them seriously at all. This makes the little centipede on my head extremely angry, and it jumps down to bite a venomous snake. Then, with an over-the-shoulder throw, it fiercely slams the venomous snake to the ground, smashing a large crater in the earth. This makes me break out in cold sweat. I did not expect this little centipede's combat power to be so fierce. After it deals with those snakes, it immediately looks in my direction, as if seeking praise. I pat its head, expressing my gratitude. After we return this time, I will definitely give you all something delicious. Then I glance in Hua-un's direction. Next, it is time to deal with that evil cult elder. Meanwhile, on Hua-un's side, they have reached a moment of life and death. However, her heart is already at peace. Her beloved has left this place, so she has nothing to worry about. But this does not mean she has given up fighting. As long as everyone can hold back the evil cult elder, once the rain stops, they can send signals to nearby warriors again and might survive. But the evil cult elder has now killed until his eyes are red. Several Tang clan members have had their blood drained by him. Moreover, each Tang clan member dies in an extremely miserable state, with all their blood completely drained. The evil cult elder is extremely excited. He has not gone on such a killing spree for a long time. Just then, a branch elder stands in front of Hua-un, telling her to retreat first like I did. If the young miss dies here, he would have no face to meet the clan leader. Chunaku only feels the scene is very disgusting. What he hates most is how these righteous sects act with false courtesy. Then he roars angrily at the elder and Hua-un, "None of you will escape." However, even if they wanted to flee at this moment, Chunaku would not let them escape. In his eyes, these are all lambs to be slaughtered. But he feels killing killing just these few people is not enough. He must visit the Tang clan's territory and burn it to ruins. The branch elder curses silently. This damned evil cult elder wants to exterminate us completely. Hua On swings the whip in her hand. Even if she dies, she must at least take off one of his arms. Then she glares fiercely at the evil cult elder. At worst, they will perish together. Suddenly, a figure stands behind the evil cult elder. Just as Miss Hua On said, Tang clan members will not abandon Tang clan members and flee. Seeing my arrival, Hua On is shocked. You clearly escaped already. Why did you come back? At this moment, I am extremely confident. If I cannot even save my own family, what meaning is there in living? My words directly shock several people, leaving them speechless for a moment. While taking the centipedes from my hands, I say to them, Tang clan members cannot abandon family and flee, so I have returned. The next moment, I sweep my sleeves and tear off my clothes. At this moment, I believe I look very handsome in their eyes. The reason I came back is because I am also a Tang clan member. The next moment, I shake both hands, and two short blades immediately appear on my wrists. The evil cult elder sneers coldly in his heart. You, a powerless young brat. What use is it even if you come back? However, I charge forward regardless. Today is your death day, evil cult elder. Hua Un breaks out in cold sweat. Do not go there. That person is not someone you can handle. The evil cult elder laughs loudly. They went through so much trouble to save you, yet you come back to die yourself. I have never seen such a stupid fellow. At this moment, I pay no attention to what he says, and just charge forward with my twin blades. With a clang, my two blades instantly drop to the ground. At this moment, Hua Un is greatly alarmed. From my attacking movements just now, I am full of openings with no offense or defense to speak of. As soon as I charge up, the evil cult elder grabs my throat and lifts me up with one hand. The evil cult elder cackles strangely. Since you are so eager to come forward and die, then I will not be polite. His palm has already gathered evil energy. As soon as he finishes speaking, he launches his attack. I immediately use my arms to block, and the evil cult elder mocks. You are truly a fool. Do you think you can stop me from sucking your blood? With that, the evil cult elder hesitates no more and directly digs his hand into the blood vessels of my arm. This heart-wrenching pain makes me cry out involuntarily. At this moment, Hua Un is very worried. She must find a way to save me. Just as the two of them charge forward, the evil cult elder laughs heartily. He has never tasted such delicious blood. This feeling is almost driving him crazy. Indeed, only young blood excites him so much. After absorbing my blood, he stomps his foot hard, directly creating a large crater in the ground. Then he waves both hands up and down, unleashing Blood Dragon full wave. Instantly, everyone is sent flying by the shockwave. At the same time, my figure is also thrown away by him, caught in midair by Hua On. The evil cult elder sneers, what a bunch of trash. It seems the Tang clan is nothing special. Just now, these Tang clan people kept throwing hidden weapons, annoying him greatly. Thanks to absorbing my blood, he could finish us all with one strike. Hua Un's face shows terror. One look at my condition tells her my life is in danger. Then she holds me tightly in her arms, crying out heart-rendingly, thinking that this time her beloved will actually die here. But just then, I slowly open my eyes again. It seems my plan has succeeded. Looking up, I see saliva flowing from the evil cult elder's mouth, and his internal energy has become very chaotic. In just a few seconds, his hair is blown away by the wind, and even his figure has become much thinner. He staggers to my side, asking what I have done. Clearly, power-dispersing poison should not work on their internal cultivation methods. Thinking of his own miserable fate, he becomes extremely panicked. What exactly are you, you little brat? I chuckle softly and slowly get up. You ask what I am? Then today I will be merciful and tell you. I point with my hand. I am your natural enemy. Today you will die here. The evil cult elder sways his body in extreme fear. He never expected to fall at the hands of an unknown brat, but even now he still has not figured out what poison he has been hit with. After absorbing my blood, he circulated my blood throughout his body. Then he used Blood Dragon full wave, and after that, his blood seemed to no longer obey his commands. At this moment, the evil cult elder is filled with unwillingness. Clearly, the evil cult's dominion over the world is within reach, yet he must die here. The next moment, he pounces toward Hua Un like a hungry tiger. Even if he dies today, he will drag a group of people down with him. With a swish, a loud whip crack cuts through the air. The evil cult elder, caught off guard, actually gets his neck caught by the whip, like a dog collar around his head. This surprises Hua Un. What is wrong with this guy? How was he hit so easily? Soon she reacts, immediately pulling her whip taut, entering a standoff with the evil cult elder. In fact, no one present knows that he is now at the end of his rope. If we all attack together, we can kill him directly. However, the evil cult elder's unwillingness gives him additional strength. He has already made up his mind to smash my skull, otherwise he cannot vent his hatred, since I ruined his blood cultivation. Then he grabs the whip and his body rushes over frantically, determined to annihilate all of us here. Seeing this scene, Hua Un exerts force with the whip in her hand. She says to the evil cult elder not far away, obediently shut your mouth and come here to die. Then she suddenly exerts force with her hand, actually flinging the evil cult elder's head clean off. Poor evil cult elder. Even in death, he does not understand what poison he was hit with. With a thud, that head lands squarely in front of the deputy captain. This makes him overjoyed. It looks like we won. Young Miss has successfully taken the evil cult elder's head. At this moment, all the Tang clan members are excited, but only the young Miss stands there stunned, as if she has not yet realized she won. So she turns to ask me what exactly happened. Why did that evil cult elder suddenly become poisoned? However, at this moment, I do not answer her question, but instead call her Hua Un. This makes Hua Un look shy. Why are you suddenly calling me that? But when she sees my expression, she cannot help but be frightened and her face changes. I tell her to quickly save me. I was bitten by tiger keelback snakes. At this moment, I am dizzy and can no longer hear clearly what they are saying. The scene changes, and when I wake up again, I am already back at the Tang clan. Grandfather looks concerned and tells me not to move now because he is currently treating me. I am stunned. What exactly is the situation? When did we return? However, grandfather's next words shock me. He says I was unconscious for 10 days before waking up. It turns out that 10 days ago, after dealing with the evil cult elder, they immediately brought me back. Everything happening now reminds me of a scene from my previous life. I was killed by a black mamba snake in my previous life. This frightens me into a cold sweat. I almost died twice from snakes. Could this be my predetermined fate? After a while, the old master finally finishes the treatment. Now that I have awakened, there should be no major problems. However, there is one thing that greatly puzzles the old master, our tiger-striped water snake's Venomous. But what concerns him most is how that evil cult elder was defeated. While saying this, he shakes my body. Finally, I cannot stand his shaking anymore, so I tell him the truth. First, tiger-striped water snakes are indeed venomous, and they have two types of venom. One type is in their mouth, the other is secreted from their neck, because they are very timid, running away when they see people. And their fangs are also very small. They are difficult to detect. The old master exclaims in admiration that his grandson-in-law is truly learned. He did not expect him to know such obscure information. The reason I was able to defeat the evil cult elder was by utilizing the tiger keelback snake's venom. This tiger keelback snake's venom, its main component is hemotoxin, which is a hemorrhagic toxin. It can destroy the cell walls of red blood cells and tissue cells, then break down various internal body structures. If the evil cult elder absorbed hemotoxin, what would happen? Actually, I was somewhat curious at the time, so I used my body to carry the poison and let him absorb the toxin from my body. However, being able to kill the evil cult elder also involved quite a bit of luck. It might be because the hemotoxin restrained their cultivation method, which is why it happened that way. As for the tiger keelback snake's venom, it just has not been discovered by people yet. In fact, its toxicity is 5 times stronger than that of vipers. After hearing my words, the old master feels his brain seems somewhat inadequate. Although they only understood half of what I just explained, this does not affect my becoming a hero of the Tang clan. Just then, the old master coughs and seems to remember something. This was something he heard from his granddaughter before. Then he shows a curious expression. Did you claim to the evil cult elder that you were his natural enemy? I shyly cover my face with a blanket. How could such cringeworthy words come from my mouth? However, the old master still sincerely thanks me for protecting the family. Then he becomes indignant. They dared to harm his family while he was away. This time they must be completely eradicated. I am also furious. They almost killed Hua Yun. They must receive proper punishment. Now that we have grasped their weakness, we must eliminate them all. These people are truly detestable. Killing and arson, committing every evil. Most terrifying is that they even drink human blood. Most importantly, they actually dared to harm Tang clan members. I must make them taste unbearable pain. Ever since the evil cult guys appeared, the Tang family has entered an emergency state. Other righteous martial arts sects are also rushing to help the Tang family. The old master has also been sending messages by carrier pigeon to gather people. This incident has already been a small sacrifice, but thinking that the evil cult will again stir up bloodshed in the martial world, he worries endlessly. Those damned guys not only capture people en masse and take their blood, but that is not enough. They actually massacred multiple villages and cities 30 years ago, directly becoming enemies of the martial world and being called a false religion. This situation is indeed serious. Speaking of this, the old master directly pats my shoulder. The old master says proudly, "Now we are not afraid because our Tang clan has produced their natural enemy." These words make me so embarrassed I want to find a hole to crawl into. This old rascal is definitely saying this on purpose. Then the old man smiles slightly, showing 8 bright teeth. That was just a joke, but now I do have something to ask of you. I reply that as long as I can do it, I will definitely give my all. According to the old master's speculation, people from the Martial Alliance should arrive here soon, and the Martial Alliance's strategists will definitely come too. I want to tell them about this poison. Having finally found the evil cult's weakness, he wants to share it with all righteous people. I respectfully clasp my fists. For the greater good, I should indeed do this. Finally, the old master has one more joyful matter he wants to tell me. That is, the renovation of the Myriad Poison Hall is complete, and from now on, the Myriad Poison Hall will be officially handed over to me to manage. This makes me extremely excited. This way, I can finally comfortably play with venomous creatures. This has been my lifelong dream. Moreover, the old master has prepared a well-lit pavilion as I suggested. If you want to raise tiger keelback snakes, you must lay a good foundation, which shows the old master is definitely someone who gets things done. From this moment on, I consider myself a member of the martial world, no longer the little kid who only played with venomous creatures. When I arrive at the Myriad Poison Hall the next day, I am directly stunned. This is simply too awesome. I see a very exquisite pavilion built not far ahead, with excellent lighting. This is so much better than my previous rundown temple. Moreover, above the door it says Poison Garden. This name was my own idea, similar to Zoo's from my previous life. Hua Yun is somewhat confused, so I explained to her. It means gathering all venomous creatures from the central plains together in one place. So that's how it is. You want to collect all the poisons. I show a slight smile. Someday, I will also collect the 10 greatest venomous creatures of central plains. After all, you and I have already made that agreement. Hearing this, Hua Yun suddenly turns around. Does this not mean that by then we will have to marry? Then she shyly flees the scene directly. Her running appearance is simply too funny. However, ahead, a figure blocks her path. The person blocking her is Captain Shubei, who now has another occupation, captain of the poison creature team. This confuses me. What is this poison creature team about? The old master did not mention it to me before. It turns out this is a team the clan leader specially established for me, also considered a newly formed unit of the Tang clan. Whether searching for or breeding feeding venomous creatures. It will all be handled by them. After hearing the captain's explanation, I drool with desire. This treatment is simply beyond words. It means they created a pet shop for me and assigned pet shop employees. At this moment, I clearly feel I am one step closer to my dream. The carrier pigeon the old master released earlier arrives before a woman. This person has an ethereal bearing and extraordinary appearance. She glances at the letter, not expecting it to appear again. It seems the martial world will again face bloodshed. From her mouth comes an Amitabha Buddha. Then she sighs deeply toward the sky. It seems the martial world will face turbulent waves. Countless people will probably die in this turmoil. Meanwhile, people from the Martial Alliance are frantically traveling toward the Tang clan's location. This time, the Martial Alliance leader did not come personally, but sent Zhu Jieho and some martial arts masters. Originally, the Alliance leader wanted to come personally, but was forcibly dissuaded by Zhu Jieho, so he hopes to bring good news to the Alliance leader from the Tang clan side, even if just finding traces of the evil cult. Time passes quickly, and they have arrived at the Tang clan. The guarding attendants immediately know their identities are extraordinary upon seeing them. They must be the Martial Alliance people the Elder Patriarch mentioned before. Zhu Hao steps forward. Greetings, I am Zhu Hao, strategist of the Martial Alliance, and wish to pay respects to the Elder Patriarch. Seeing this, they also respectfully clasp their fists in response. We will immediately go in and announce your arrival. Then he hesitates to speak. The current Tang clan is no longer what it used to be. After entering the Tang clan, many precautions have been added. Zhu Gehu is startled. Has the Tang clan also newly established a sword-releasing pool where only those who surrender their swords can enter the Tang clan? The guard does not know how to answer. Please let me finish speaking. Within the Tang clan, no matter how insignificant the creature, you absolutely cannot take its life. This makes Zhu Geho think the Tang clan has converted to Buddhism. Anyway, you will know once you enter. Please keep this firmly in mind. Zhuge chuckles. The Tang clan being so mysterious this time actually piques his interest. Soon Hua Yun and I arrive at the entrance to welcome Zhu Ho from the Martial Alliance. Zhu Ho first exchanges pleasantries. It has been exactly 1 year since I last saw Miss Hua Yun. Where is the myriad poisoned divine lord now? Hua Yun clasps her fists. Grandfather is temporarily away searching for traces of the evil cult. We apologize for any discourtesy. Please forgive us. At this time, Zhu Geho finally notices me and asks, who is this young hero beside you? Why is his face so unfamiliar? I respectfully but confidently clasp my fists toward Zhu Ho. I am called Soryong, the Tang family's future son-in-law. Hua Yun beside me blushes deeply. Please excuse us, strategist Zhuge. He is indeed my beloved. Hearing this, both are greatly shocked. This is enormous news. One of the 3 flowers of the martial world, the poisonous flower, actually has a lover. This makes the people behind them momentarily unable to accept it. How can the world be so unfair? Where exactly did this kid come from? Zhu Geho feels something is very wrong and has Hua Yun quickly lead them inside. If this continues, they might collectively request martial contests. After entering the Tang clan, they hear buzzing sounds, and everyone is stunned for a moment. However, the 2 martial artists behind are greatly shocked. Strategist, look quickly. There seems to be something incredible above. Above them, there's actually a swarm of bees. The key point is these bees are actually golden-maned bee kings. Why would the Tang clan have such dangerous venomous creatures? They immediately react, drawing their swords from their waists and surrounding us. This startles Hua Yun and me, while the Tang clan guards behind us are somewhat speechless. I want to stop him, but he pushes me away with one hand. Young hero, you do not understand. These golden-maned bee kings are extremely dangerous venomous creatures. Ordinary people can easily be killed by them. Then they push and shove like this, almost crushing me to death. Their behavior completely angers me. All of you guys stop right now. The golden-maned bee kings are venomous creatures I am raising, so please everyone calm down and do not harm any of the Tang clan's venomous creatures. As soon as I finish speaking, a golden-maned bee king lands directly on my face, which greatly frightens the Martial Alliance people behind. More and more golden-maned bee kings attach to my body, and I tell them, do not be afraid of these. They are all my children. However, my children are only friendly to Tang clan members. If you have killing intent, you might get mobbed by the golden-maned bee kings. At this moment, the Martial Alliance people are so shocked they cannot speak, thinking, such powerful golden-maned bee kings have been tamed by him. Who exactly is this person? After explaining clearly, these people finally calm down, so I continue leading them on a tour of the Tang clan. During this time, Zhuko opens his fan. I did not expect that young hero from Hainan Island to actually be the poisonous flower's lover. Just then, Zhuho's attention is attracted by the behavior of servants nearby. Now he can no longer understand what is going on with them. He sees a group of people nearby tending to venomous creatures, and the venomous creatures in their hands are all terrifying. Zhuho pats my shoulder. Young hero Soryong, why are these warriors tending to these venomous creatures? Actually, these people have all been sentenced to pet care punishment, so they are currently being punished. Zhu Geho is somewhat confused. After thinking for a moment, I say, they did indeed make a mistake. This happened a few days ago. That day I was practicing martial arts with Miss Hua Yun, when suddenly several voices called out to me. Turning around, it was actually Captain Shu and the others, with expressions of having done something wrong on their faces. This time, more than half of the baby mice used to feed the tiger keelback snakes died, which made me very sad. However, this was unavoidable. Mice are naturally very sensitive, but their next words stunned me, and I even incredulously cleaned my ears. They actually said the warriors ate them as drinking snacks. After confirming my ears were not malfunctioning, I immediately froze on the spot. Why did you eat the baby mice as drinking snacks? At this time, Shuaon explained to me, they were probably eating a dish called Three Cry Mouse, which involves dipping baby mice in sauce and eating them raw. Shoot! Shuaon turned around and began scolding them, but I was already completely confused. The baby mice caught to feed the tiger keelback snakes were actually eaten by by these people. No, the baby mice are for raising precious pets, so I gave them a punishment. Each warrior must care for one venomous creature. At this moment, after hearing my words, Zhu Hu glances at me lightly, thinking this young man is somewhat unusual. If there is a chance in the future, he will definitely communicate more with me. He feels that since I came to the Tang clan, the entire atmosphere of the Tang clan has changed. After 2.5 hours, I bring Zhu Hu before grandfather. Zhu Hu's hearty laughter echoes throughout the room as I expected. The mysterious young hero the Tang patriarch met on Hainan Island is indeed So Yang. Hearing their praise for me, I feel somewhat embarrassed and can only stand aside without speaking. However, there is something he is very worried about. He cannot find any clues related to the evil cult. Seeing the evil cult's momentum rising, he really cannot sit idly by, so this visit to the Tang clan is to discuss this matter. At this time, grandfather says proudly, So Yang, go get that thing, and I also say proudly, yes grandfather, I will go get it right away. Zhu Hu is stunned. Could they have some secret treasure that can find the evil cult? The old master slowly raises one index finger. Then a green barrier spreads throughout the room with him at the center. This circular barrier can block all sounds from outside. This is to prevent information leakage, so I place a bottle on the table. What I want to show Zhu Hu is what is inside. Zhu Hu is stunned, reaches for the bottle, picks it up and shakes it, but finds nothing strange about it. Zhu Hu wonders what this is. Why do we need to activate a barrier to bring this thing out? The old master and I look at each other and nod simultaneously. When Zhu Hu hears about its function, he is greatly shocked. This is power-dispersing poison. Unlike ordinary power-dispersing poison, the one developed by the Tang clan only poisons evil cult members. Zhu Hu excitedly slams the table, even somewhat unable to believe what we are saying. If what we say is true, this is truly a remarkable discovery. 30 years ago, the reason Martial Alliance members fought hard in the evil cult's blood chaos was precisely because those guys used power-dispersing poison. Recalling this matter, the old master also feels deep regret. Anyone who is hit with power-dispersing poison loses all their internal energy, but the evil cult guys are unaffected. Zhu Hu then asks about the toxicity of this power-dispersing poison, and the old master answers, according to Shuai Yun, bodily functions almost dropped to the level of ordinary people. After that evil cult elder was poisoned before, Hua Yun finished him off with one move. Zhuge Hao is both shocked and delighted. It truly demonstrates the same effect as power-dispersing poison. Speaking of this, Zhuge Ho respectfully clasps his fists. Thank you, myriad poison divine lord. With such a gift, the alliance leader can surely breathe easier. However, the old master looks at me. If you want to thank someone, thank this child. After all, this was his discovery. He used his body to carry poison and induce the evil cult elder to drink his blood, thus eliminating the evil cult elder. Zhu Hu places his hand on my shoulder, which makes me feel somewhat flattered. This is a renowned figure in the martial world. Zhu Hu opens his fan. Hero Soryong, whatever wish you have, feel free to tell me. As long as I can do it, I will definitely help convey it to the alliance leader. After hearing his words, I am instantly speechless. This is truly a good opportunity. I smile embarrassedly. Actually, I do have a request. Could I obtain information about venomous creatures? Zhuge Hao is instantly stunned. You do not want secret manuals or spirit medicines nor golden jewels. Could it be you have a special fondness for venomous creatures? The old master also nods at this time. Zhuge Hu chuckles. You are truly special. In the long history of the martial world, this is probably the first time such an unusual person has appeared. Since that is the case, then as you wish. Although it is not the poison I want, it is also very rare. And the venomous creature he speaks of is a mysterious lizard extremely rare in the martial world. Although not among the 10 greatest venomous creatures, it is definitely comparable to them. The ice lizard is renowned as the greatest venomous creature below the 10 greatest venomous creatures of Central Plains. Its speed is lightning fast, impossible to capture its form when in motion. When still, its entire body appears blue with a pair of striking golden black pupils. The ice lizard appears and vanishes mysteriously, and wherever it dwells, there must be treasure. Hearing this, I am shocked. Who wouldn't desire such a venomous creature? I immediately turn to ask Zhu Hu to tell me the ice lizard's location. Zhu Hu looks slightly embarrassed. The ice lizard's movements are mysterious. If there's any news, he will definitely notify me immediately. Early the next morning, my father-in-law rushes back to the main hall in panic. Upon seeing that we are all safe and sound, he freezes instantly. Having heard that I was bitten all over by venomous snakes, he immediately steps forward to check my injuries. I tell him I'm fine. Though I slept for 10 days before awakening, I've managed to survive. My father-in-law swears that the evil cult members will definitely pay the price. At this moment, his expression freezes. He was too anxious just now and almost forgot to care for his own daughter. Hua Yun smiles sweetly. This time, thanks to Soryong's great achievement, we were saved. Then they mention what I said when defeating the evil cult elder. I am your nemesis. This makes me blush. I was just using a little cleverness at the time. At this moment, Zhu Hu sees the timing is right and raises his hand to greet my father-in-law. The two are close friends who haven't seen each other for many years. Zhu Hu holds a high position, making it extremely difficult to meet. Hua Yun tells me they are childhood friends who grew up playing together. Zhu Hu chuckles and asks my father-in-law to sit down, saying they should discuss the evil cult matter first. Hua Yun and I listen from the side. After a moment, my father-in-law raises a question. How are things with the spy? This is the first time I hear the word spy, probably something like an undercover agent. My father-in-law notices my confusion and explains that the evil cult members infiltrated the Tang clan for the Blood Hand single palm manual. I nod, but these people don't seem to value the manual very highly. My father-in-law understands. Then let me ask you, how did they know the Blood Hand single palm was in our Tang clan? Hearing my father-in-law's explanation, I'm shocked. Could there be a traitor in the Tang clan? I immediately sense trouble and stand up to voice my thoughts. Could someone among the clan's warriors or elders have sold information to the evil cult? cult. Hearing this, both my father-in-law and Zhu Chao were shocked, their minds full of questions. Then Zhu Chao bursts into laughter. It seems you need to properly educate your son-in-law, since he just joined recently, and can still say such interesting things. But then Shua Yun explains for me that it's absolutely impossible for spies to appear in the Tang clan. The reason is simple. Even when selecting a maid, the Tang clan will investigate all of that maid's direct relatives and cousins thoroughly, and if they find no problems, they bring all of that person's immediate family to the Tang residence. This leaves me speechless. I didn't expect them to go this far, with entire families in the Tang clan, essentially serving as hostages. Then I'm a bit confused. If it's not someone from the Tang clan, where did the spy come from? Meanwhile, at the Martial Alliance, a teacup crashes to the ground. Not only that, a large hand grips a woman's throat tightly. The woman being gripped is the Martial Alliance leader's maid. She is the spy we were talking about. Zhuge Hao says calmly that only 3 people in the Martial Alliance knew about this. Himself, the Alliance leader, and the third was the maid. Undoubtedly it was her, and the Alliance leader has probably executed her on the spot by now. At the same time, just as these matters are about to conclude, unexpected guests arrive at the Tang residence. The Tang clan guards break into cold sweat upon seeing this person. The man pounds his chest and speaks. Go tell that old fellow, the Tang clan patriarch, that Pang clan patriarch Munwan Pang has come to visit. After receiving the message, Shua Un and I go to the entrance to receive them. Thinking that there's an important figure at the door, I feel that just the 2 of us juniors might not be enough to handle the situation. Shua Yun tells me not to worry and to be confident. After all, I'm the Tang clan's son-in-law, so receiving guests should be manageable. I think other sects should be as refined and elegant as Zhu Ho, so I'm not afraid anymore. But when I open the door, I find they're all tough, burly men who clearly aren't to be trifled with. I immediately feel intimidated. Apparently not all sects are as easygoing as Zhu Ho. Munwan Pang is stunned to see 2 young ones come out, then takes a closer look. It's Miss Hua Un! They all burst into hearty laughter, and Hua Un immediately clasps her fists in greeting. Greetings to all the uncles. Munwan Pang is delighted. It's been so long. I saw you when you were this small, and now you've grown so much. It's been 5 years. Then he looks in my direction and asks who I am. I also learn from Hua Un and respectfully clasp my fists, but I'm extremely nervous inside. Junior Soryang is the Tang clan's son-in-law. Greetings to Patriarch Pang. After hearing my introduction, Munwan Pang begins to size me up. So thin and small. How can you be the Tang clan's son-in-law? Do you have some exceptional qualities? He's somewhat skeptical, so he asks Hua Un again. Is he really your lover? He looks so weak. Then he slaps my lower abdomen with his palm. He wants to see if I'm truly a real man. Seeing this scene, Hua Un is already too embarrassed to speak. Actually, the Pang clan people hate following etiquette and don't care about formalities. Patriarch Pang probably did that to understand me. It's their style. I chuckle, thank you for Patriarch Pang's praise. After meeting for just a short while, we hit it off completely. At this moment, Shua Yun is puzzled. You've traveled such a long distance. Is it to help the Tang clan? Patriarch Pang immediately notices something unusual in her words. Not at all. Has something happened to the Tang clan? Hearing this, Hua Yun panics a bit. If it's not to help the Tang clan, then why did they come? A moment later, a roar echoes from the Tang clan's reception room. Evil cult members actually appeared. Learning that everyone is safe, he still sighs. If we had known, we would have come earlier. My father-in-law turns to look at Patriarch Pang. Brother, what brings you here? It turns out he came this time seeking the Tang clan's help. This time, Patriarch Pang has encountered a very troublesome matter. Then he shouts to the people outside. Quickly bring her in to meet the elders. Soon a half-bald burly man walks in through the door, his eyes gleaming with golden light. This leaves me stunned. Didn't you say to meet the elders? How come it feels like you're our elder? It turns out the person Patriarch Pang was talking about isn't this burly man, but the young lady on the burly man's back. At the same time, a little girl's head pops out. When I see the little girl's figure, I'm stunned for a moment. It's an extremely cute little girl with a lollipop in her mouth. Her appearance is somewhat similar to my azure-spotted centipede's human form. The Pang clan's young lady respectfully clasps her fists and says in a sweet voice, greetings to all the elders, I am Pang Young. Patriarch Pang laughs heartily. This is my daughter. Isn't she extremely cute? But no matter how I look, this girl doesn't seem like she could be his daughter. Could it be genetic mutation? In any case, this visit to the Tang clan is because of Pang Young. Pang Young has been feeling unwell recently, and it seems to be some kind of strange illness never seen before. Upon hearing this, my father-in-law immediately becomes serious and asks Patriarch Pang to explain the whole story. Meanwhile, I look thoughtfully at the little girl's face, feeling that her symptoms seem somewhat familiar, and I notice she seems to particularly love sweets. She has many sweet cookies in her arms. At night when I return to bed, I start thinking. After hearing Pang Young's symptoms, I have some ideas, but still can't identify the cause. I still remember what Patriarch Pang said at the time. He said his daughter occasionally shows symptoms of shortness of breath, develops large red patches on her body, and in severe cases, loses consciousness. But after some time, she regains consciousness, and no one knows the reason. Previously, he had consulted disciples of divine physicians, but they said the child was perfectly healthy. Patriarch Pang immediately felt this was nonsense. How could a perfectly healthy child faint? Moreover, they actually suspected people from the Pang clan, but he believes Pang clan members would absolutely never have such a situation. After hearing his account, I find it strange. Poisoning symptoms aren't usually intermittent like this. My father-in-law speculates that if it's poisoning, there might be an internal problem. However, Patriarch Pang doesn't want to pursue this topic. He doesn't want to suspect his own people, so he asks us to examine Pang Young's condition first. So my father-in-law arranges for Pang Young to stay in the courtyard and observe her condition at the Tang residence for a while. Hearing that that my father-in-law will help treat his daughter, Patriarch Pang becomes much more at ease. But no matter how I look at it, this little girl seems to have diabetes, and the amount of sweets she carries is somewhat frightening. If it really is diabetes, that would be troublesome. This disease is very tormenting and difficult to cure completely. But something doesn't feel right. If it were diabetes, there shouldn't be red patches on the body. At this moment, urgent knocking sounds from outside the door. The voice from outside sounds somewhat anxious, as if something has happened. I immediately open the door to ask what happened. To be knocking on my door in the middle of the night. But when I hear about Pang Yongyong fainting, I'm shocked and immediately ask her to quickly take me there. After getting dressed, I arrive to find the place already crowded with people. I listen as Hua-un explains what happened. Apparently, Pang Yongyong was walking here suddenly, coughed once, and then fainted. Although my father-in-law is very worried, since Pang Yongyong fainted here, this matter has nothing to do with the Pang clan people. Hearing this, Patriarch Pang angrily clenches his fists. He's angry at himself. Then without a word, he punches himself in the face, leaving everyone somewhat stunned. Patriarch Pang spits and a tooth falls from his mouth. He says sorry to the Pang clan people behind him. Although he said he didn't want to suspect people within the Pang clan, he still had such thoughts. The Pang clan people behind him are deeply moved. Since the young lady faints here too, it must be for other reasons. Then they also follow Patriarch Pang's example, continuously punching themselves in the face. They were present, but couldn't prevent the young lady from fainting. They deserve death. Watching teeth continuously falling through the air, I get chills. Why is everyone so impulsive? Helplessly, I shout from behind. Everyone calm down. I raise one finger, indicating that I have a way to find the young lady's cause of illness. Then I come before my father-in-law, wanting to examine the young lady's physical condition. And the first thing I need to do is have the young lady remove her clothes. As soon as I say this, my father-in-law and Hua-un instantly freeze on the spot. Then Patriarch Pang is stunned. Seeking death. How dare you say such things in front of me? You truly don't know life from death. Their reactions make me sense trouble. I was too anxious and said the wrong thing. The next moment, a large hand firmly grabs my collar. Patriarch Pang says angrily, "You bastard, dare to say that again." His look is as if he wants to devour me. Even more unfortunately, the azure-spotted centipede senses the killing intent and immediately emerges. I tell her to quickly go back in and not worry about my affairs. Hua-un beside me is also extremely flustered, telling Patriarch Pang to let go first and talk properly. Patriarch Pang stares at me intensely. It's truly terrifying. Then he releases his grip and tells me to explain myself. What reason do you have for such a proposal? So I hurriedly explain. The reason I proposed removing the young lady's clothes is to completely change all her clothing, because it's possible that clothing or items brought from the Pang clan caused her to faint. This suspicion cannot be ruled out. After hearing my words, Patriarch Pang shows a look of sudden realization. He apparently hadn't thought of this at all. Then he clenches his fist again. Just now I, Manhwa Pang, actually doubted the young hero's words. I deserve death. I tell him not to be impulsive. Your daughter has fainted, so it's natural to be flustered. I understand you. Patriarch Pang laughs heartily. I didn't expect the young hero to be so understanding. Thank you so much. Besides this, I also propose another point. The Pang clan's young lady will be cared for by our Tang clan, and she will be prohibited from meeting Pang clan people for a short period, including Patriarch Pang. If she shows the same symptoms while under our care, we can confirm it's not the Pang clan people. This is my proposed elimination method plus addition method. If animals could tell their owners where they feel uncomfortable, that would be great, but in reality, they can't communicate with humans at all. So people can only guess the cause of animal illness by changing objects or environments. The method I'm using on the Pang clan's young lady now is the addition method. After changing all environments, add things back one by one to find the real cause. My father-in-law thinks for a moment and says, although this method takes more time, it should be able to find the real cause. Although Patriarch Pang is reluctant to be separated from his daughter, he still agrees to my proposal. He tearfully pleads for me to take good care of his precious daughter. She's the apple of his eye. I immediately pat my chest and assure him, just leave these matters to me. I will definitely take good care of the young lady. But after one day of contact, I discover that taking care of children is not simple at all, because there's no way for me to communicate with her. She keeps crying here. This makes me look somewhat flustered. The Pang clan's young lady starts crying as soon as she wakes up, and Hua-un and my mother-in-law happen to be getting things needed for childcare. Seeing her cry like this, I'm in a panic, not knowing if she's hungry or sleepy. Then I finally think of something. She must be crying because she's scared that Patriarch Pang isn't here. So I hurriedly explain, your father will come soon. However, what I didn't expect is that she's not crying because her father isn't here, but because she has no sweets to eat. Only then do I remember that when changing her clothes earlier, I discovered many secret pockets in her clothing, and every pocket was stuffed with sweets. This little girl really loves sweet food. This makes me extremely embarrassed. You just woke up and can't eat sweets yet. After eating some main food, you can have sweets. Upon hearing this, the little girl instantly stops crying because I promised to make her some sweet food later. I bend down in front of her. As long as you're willing to be good, I can make delicious sweets for you. The little girl is immediately overjoyed and promises she will definitely listen to me. Then, she also makes an agreement with me. Whoever can't keep their promise will punch themselves in the face. I naturally won't agree to such a request. Meanwhile, outside the Tang clan building, Patriarch Pang is hiding in the bushes, secretly watching his daughter's direction. He's been constantly worried lately. After a moment, he sees his beloved daughter playing while holding the golden-maned bee king, and Patriarch Pang's appearance is caught by me. Although I said you can't see your daughter, it doesn't have to be like this. As soon as I finish speaking, he pulls me into the bushes. He asks me with a serious face, how is Yongyong doing now? I quickly tell him she's doing very well lately. Not only eating well, but also being very obedient. The Patriarch is extremely surprised. Even he can't achieve these things, so how did we manage it? At this moment, another person walks over. Hua-un immediately greets Patriarch Pang upon seeing him. And seeing Hua-un's arrival, Patriarch Pang is also very delighted. Thank you for taking care of my daughter these days. eyes. However, Hua On's next words stun Patriarch Pang. Young was just asking where Soryang went, and she seems to want to see you very much now. These words excite Patriarch Pang. He can't say a word to Yang, but now I'm very close to her. I feel like this Patriarch Pang might devour me, so I quickly escape from there. Patriarch Pang is still roaring behind me. Tell me quickly when she started calling you brother, and so affectionately too. Hua On reminds me that the young lady is at the training ground, playing with the golden-maned bee king. Hearing this, I quickly rush over. It seems the golden-maned bee king also likes Yong very much. Seeing my arrival, Pang Yong shows a happy expression. She asks me to quickly come over and play with her. Suddenly, her expression looks somewhat painful. This state seems like oxygen deprivation. This gives me a huge shock. I finally know what her illness is. It should be anaphylactic shock. Just 2.5 hours ago, Pang Yong was happily playing with the golden-maned bee king. The reason the golden-maned bee king likes Pang Yong must be because of the sugar residue around her mouth. At this moment, Pang Yong notices bees other than the golden-maned bee king. This immediately puts me on alert. Other bee species might be aggressive. As soon as I finish speaking, I discover that Pang Yong has been stung by a bee. I quickly go to her side to check the wound and find a red swelling on her arm. Fortunately, it's just a false alarm. Just being stung once shouldn't be a problem. Suddenly, her entire condition seems not quite right, similar to her previous fainting. With a thud, she falls to the ground. This makes me recall what Patriarch Pang said before, that she occasionally shows symptoms of shortness of breath, develops large red patches on her body, and severe cases lead to unconsciousness. At first, I didn't take it seriously, but just now I witnessed everything with my own eyes. It's precisely because of this fainting that I discovered Pang Yong's condition. This is anaphylactic shock that I often saw in my previous life. Under normal circumstances, when harmful substances or toxins invade the body from outside, the body executes tasks to fight external enemies, and that task is inflammation. The body secretes histamine, blood vessels expand, and using the dilated pathways, antibodies including white blood cells gather together to sweep away enemies. But the problem is that sometimes there are overly sensitive reactions to specific substances, which in severe cases could lead to death. Thinking of this, I quickly carry Pang Yong on my back and immediately rush toward the Patriarch's residence. Along the way, I keep comforting Pang Yong. She must hold on and absolutely cannot fall asleep. In just a moment, I arrive at the Patriarch's residence. I immediately shout, "Father-in-law, Miss Pang has fainted." Patriarch Pang and my father-in-law immediately rush out. Patriarch Pang already has experience with this situation and quickly channels energy into her. Soon, Pang Yong's complexion improves significantly. Seeing the scene, I breathe a long sigh of relief. Martial artist's internal energy is truly amazing. The basics of treating anaphylactic shock lie in regulating air pressure and ensuring clear airways. Normally, some medications need to be injected to maintain smooth breathing, but they can solve everything just with internal energy. The Patriarch sees that this is exactly the same as the previous symptoms. However, this time when she fainted, I was beside her, so I saw everything clearly. Therefore, I have a judgment. The young lady definitely fainted after being stung by a bee. The Patriarch is shocked. Could all this be because of bees? But my father-in-law feels something's not right. Although this situation can rarely occur after bee stings, it shouldn't cause fainting. I smile slightly. I've already found the real reason: anaphylactic shock. My father-in-law is stunned by my words. He's read medical books for so many years but has never heard of this strange condition. And this time, precisely because Pang Yong was stung by a bee, I found the real cause. Both remain silent, waiting for me to give them answers. I'm not in a hurry to explain because it's too troublesome to explain, and most importantly, we should first examine Pang Yong's body. After a moment, Hua Yun finishes examining Pang Yong. Just as I said, there are red patches on her body. And she also discovers 2 old scars and newly formed marks on her back. At this moment, my mother-in-law comes out from inside, asking us to be quiet since the child hasn't awakened yet. However, Patriarch Pang is still somewhat confused about why she fainted. I explained that she was poisoned by a rare bee venom. I made this judgment just now and have screened for it. To know why Pang Yong has anaphylactic shock, we need to first investigate which venomous creatures have the same toxins as bees. This type of venomous creature not only causes swelling and breathing difficulties, but also contains melittin or polymelitin components. The Pang clan comes from Hebei, which has a temperate continental climate, and that region has quite a few venomous creatures, such as white worms, cloth snakes, cobras, scorpions, red fire ants. These are all toxic venomous creatures, but these venomous creatures couldn't possibly cause Pang Yong to have such symptoms. But if we exclude all these venomous creatures, what other venomous creature could it be? That kind of environment is dark and humid, and she gets stung, and what Pang Yong often does is eat sweets. Suddenly, I sense something's wrong. These sweets seem to have a problem. And as Hua Un mentioned before, Pang Yong set up many secret pockets in her clothes to hide sweets. Doesn't this give those venomous creatures opportunities to exploit? I smile slightly. It seems brilliant as I am. I finally found the reason. Then I tell Hua Un and the others, I can confirm it's bee venom. You can trust me. We Tang clan people all know that poison doesn't necessarily have the same effect on everyone. Sometimes just a drop of poison from a needle tip is enough to bring down an opponent. But some people won't die even with 10 times the same dosage. My father-in-law knows this. Even with the same poison, the effects vary from person to person. Compared to others, Pang Yong is naturally weak in resistance to bee venom. We just confirmed this. Since Pang Yong has no resistance to bee venom but hasn't been stung at home, I can deduce one thing. Patriarch Pang asks me in confusion what that is. What I deduce is bees, but very special bees. So we spend the entire afternoon looking for that kind of bee, continuing until evening. I'm certain there must be that kind of bee in this courtyard. Pulling away stones, we indeed find several several ant-like creatures eating sweet cookies. Among them, 2 ants are fighting over the sweets. I immediately pick up chopsticks and catch one of the ants. I tell the 2 people behind me, this is the culprit, but they're dumbfounded. This is just an ordinary ant, not a bee at all. I put it in front of his eyes and tell him to look carefully. This type is also a collateral branch of bees. After looking, both Patriarch Pang and my father-in-law are shocked because they see a needle on the ant's rear. It indeed belongs to the bee family, and this creature is the culprit that made Pang Yong faint. It's called a needle ant. Patriarch Pang stares at the needle ant in disbelief. He never expected such a tiny thing to cause his daughter so much suffering. Needle ants belong to Hymenoptera, a type of insect in the Formicinae subfamily. Perhaps some people wonder where ants get needles, but these so-called needle ants actually evolved from the same ancestor as the Vespidae family, and they still possess many characteristics of wasps. Therefore, research papers on needle ant and wasp toxicity mention that some patients who develop anaphylactic shock from needle ants also show the same reaction when exposed to wasp venom. In any case, these needle ants live by eating other ants, so I think it's possible they stung her while hunting ants attracted by the sweets. And because the sting marks look like spots, it would be impossible to confirm what stung her at the time, and when Young wakes up days later, they would naturally be mistaken for unhealed red patches. After hearing this, Patriarch Pang is 80% convinced by my words. The symptoms his daughter showed before are exactly as I just described. He immediately turns to ask my father-in-law if he can make some antidote. This stumps my father-in-law. Although the Tang clan does have antidotes for bee venom, with Miss Young's extremely sensitive constitution to poison, the antidote might not be very effective. Although Patriarch Pang is somewhat disappointed, at least the cause has been found. With more caution in the future, her fainting can be prevented. Then he sighs helplessly and prepares to take his daughter back to Hebei Pang clan the day after tomorrow. He smiles at me, thanking me for finding the cause. It seems coming to the Tang clan this time was the right decision. I tell him not to rush away. I have a way to treat Young's illness, but the process will be quite lengthy. The method is called desensitization therapy. Patriarch Pang looks puzzled. How come I've never heard of this therapy? It's actually simple. Just have Young gradually ingest low concentrations of bee venom to reduce her sensitivity to the poison, and it can be completely cured. Of course, this process is also very time-consuming. The Patriarch thinks this method is feasible because the Tang clan has previously used gradual poison injection to achieve immunity to toxins. Hearing this, Patriarch Pang asks, after the treatment is finished, won't Young faint anymore? When he gets the answer he wants, he can't help but smile. Then let's stay at the Tang clan for treatment during this time. Then he comes to my side and keeps thanking me. He won't let me help for nothing and asks if there's anything I want. He will definitely make it happen. This leaves me somewhat speechless. Why do people in this world always want to grant wishes when they receive help? So I respectfully clasp my fists. That's not necessary. Young and I are like siblings. How could I be so shameless as to ask you to grant wishes? Patriarch Pang laughs heartily. We Pang clan people never deal with such formalities. Quickly tell me what wish you have. At this moment, I suddenly remember something that Patriarch Pang could help with. I ask him to come with me to admire Myeongsan Mountain. The next day, we arrive in the mountains. The scenery here is indeed beautiful, just as Senior Zhu described. I laugh heartily. Besides the beautiful mountain scenery, there are also very cute lizards here. Hua Yun is also very excited. This should be the waterfall and rocks that the strategist mentioned. Patriarch Pang is somewhat excited and tells us to quickly use the swallow step flying lightness technique to fly over. But I've never heard of this lightness skill name. Hearing my words, Patriarch Pang is completely stunned. He wants to explain but doesn't know where to start. Then he simply grabs my neck. Then with a here we go, he throws me flying. Immediately after, he also arrives in front of me. I thank him but hope he won't use this move on me again next time. I look up. This seems to be the entrance that Senior Zhu mentioned. This also interests Patriarch Pang. He's loved adventure since childhood. As we keep walking inside, we discover the special features of this place. Even Hua Yun finds it strange. This place doesn't look like what Senior Zhu described at all. We see an eerie atmosphere ahead of us, emitting very powerful cold air with withered flowers and plants around. The inside of the cave is quite different from what we expected. According to Senior Zhu the scene inside the cave shouldn't be like this. When Zhu came before, a beam of light shone down from the center of the cave, with unknown flowers blooming everywhere on the ground, like a mysterious and wondrous paradise. But looking carefully now, there's no trace of paradise at all. It even looks somewhat chaotic. Although there is indeed light shining down from the cave entrance, the ground isn't covered with flowers and plants. Instead, it looks rather run down. At this moment, Patriarch Pang is shocked. He feels that the stone ahead is radiating cold air in all directions. Then Patriarch Pang tells us to stay behind him and be very careful. He feels this cave is somewhat unusual. This cold air has already made Patriarch Pang sense danger. His expression has turned cold, and he senses that something definitely exists inside the cave. At this moment, we all hear a strange cry, and this sound is particularly loud. Patriarch Pang tells me to definitely stay close to them. That monster is not far ahead. Indeed, just as he said, not far ahead, there's a pair of golden glowing eyes slowly crawling out. When I see this venomous creature, I'm shocked. This should be the lizard that strategist Zhu mentioned. The next moment, the entire lizard's body is completely revealed, and I have some understanding of this creature. It's called a fat-tailed gecko. It's about 1 foot in size with big yellow eyes and a chubby big tail. It's a very cute existence. This makes me quite fond of it. I must take it back to the Tang clan to raise it well. Even Hua Yun finds it very cute. We're chatting on the side, completely not noticing that Patriarch Pang's expression has changed. His expression is extremely grave, his gaze fixed on the cave not far ahead. Then he shouts, "There's definitely another one inside." However, this doesn't frighten me. Instead, it delights me. Could we have encountered a pair? In that case, I must take them all away. It's too rare. At this moment, this lizard has assumed a defensive posture, but I ignore it and keep looking ahead. Looking carefully, there's actually another lizard crouching behind this one. When I see clearly, my expression changes. One thing can be confirmed. If this continues, the situation won't be good, because that lizard seems to have stopped breathing. It turns out that 2.5 days ago, we arrived at a waterfall cave, and here we discovered the habitat of ice lizards. These lizards are extremely rare, with deep blue bodies less than a foot in size. However, I sense something's not quite right inside the cave, because I discovered a dead lizard with no breathing in the depths of the cave. To avoid alerting them, I have Captain Shubei keep watch here. Any movement must be reported to me immediately. We retreat outside the waterfall. I don't understand those creatures well enough now, so I dare not act rashly. At this moment, Hwaon tells me to hurry over for dinner. Hwaon gives me the illusion of a virtuous wife and loving mother. I've even thought of names for 3 children. Soon Hwaon serves me a bowl of steaming hot vegetable soup. According to 2 hours of observation, they seem unable to move. This surprises Patriarch Pong. If they don't move, don't they eat anything? I think they're a bit different from ordinary lizards. Ice lizards have chubby tails that can store energy, so they're fine even without eating for a while. Right now, we can't determine the lizard's condition. We can't even confirm if they're dead or alive, so I want Patriarch Pang to help. We'll capture the lizards tomorrow. Patriarch Pang's task is simple: attract the other lizard. Patriarch Pang says his strength is great. He might kill the ice lizard with 1 punch. I quickly stop him. Those 2 lizards are my treasures. Uncle Pang must not hurt them. Patriarch Pang laughs heartily, patting my back hard. Don't worry, leave this matter to me. So we begin discussing our battle plan. First, Patriarch Pang will be responsible for luring the lively one, then Hwaon and I will take the opportunity to check on the sickly one. Meanwhile, the poison creature team will cut off the lizard's escape route, preventing it from running to me. The Patriarch must also be careful not to let that guy run to the rock wall, because it might climb along the wall to reach me. Patriarch Pang slaps his chest, indicating he understands. The current Patriarch Pang is full of fighting spirit, eager to begin the operation. Before he leaves, I repeatedly emphasize he must be gentle. Absolutely cannot use force. If that lizard is really sick, we need to act quickly, or it will surely die. Meanwhile, Patriarch Pang is ready to begin the operation. After sensing hostility, the ice lizard immediately emerges from the cave. Its eyes are extremely fierce. From its perspective, it's just protecting its companion, and everyone opposite is its enemy. The next moment, Patriarch Pang waves his hand, gripping a 100-jin-long blade. Immediately, 3 or 4 people charge toward the ice lizard ahead. The ice lizard roars, golden light blazing from its eyes. Sensing the opponents are formidable, it must go all out. The ice lizard charges, fast as lightning, but Patriarch Pang responds with a cold shout. Then raising his long blade, he blocks the ice lizard's attack. In his eyes, no matter how fast the ice lizard is, it's definitely not faster than him. Patriarch Pang laughs heartily. You little guy's speed is really something. It's already reached the level of our Pang family's first-class warriors. The ice lizard's charge brings it before Patriarch Pang in just 1/10 of a blink. However, Patriarch Pang shows no fear, instead wearing an expression of great interest. A sharp clang rings out, showing just how fast the ice lizard's speed is. This very move by the ice lizard actually plays right into our hands. Patriarch Pang quickly turns and shouts, "Now's the time! Surround the ice lizard!" Those behind respond immediately, surrounding it completely the moment the ice lizard lands. The ice lizard knows it's been tricked and roars to express its displeasure. But we have no time to deal with it now. Taking advantage of this gap, we hurry to the sickly lizard. Soon we arrive at the ice lizard's habitat. When I see the lizard in the cave, I can't help but be shocked. This creature is still alive, though it appears not to be breathing on the surface. If you sense carefully, there's still a breath of life remaining. However, its skin hasn't completely shed, and the tip of its tail is rotting. Because it can't shed properly, even its eyes are covered with pus. If we don't treat it soon, its life could be in danger. But there's no medicine or anything else here. But this won't stump me. According to my judgment, we just need to help it shed its skin completely. Hwaon looks at me with disdain. Why do you always use such crude words? I don't know where you learned them. This makes me cough awkwardly, feeling somewhat embarrassed. Though the wording is inappropriate, this is indeed the best method. At this moment, the lizard inside seems to sense our arrival and immediately becomes alert. I gently stroke its head with my hand. Don't worry, we're here to help you. If you accept treatment early, you'll be fine. The next second, I find it somewhat incredible. This lizard seems like the queen bee, able to understand my words. I grab at the skin on its body with my hand. We just need to tear these off. Wild lizards often eat their own shed skin, so it's generally hard to notice that they're actually molting animals. I find its skin is particularly hard. Tearing with hands won't work and might hurt it, so I take out my dagger, preparing to cut off its skin. So I carefully make an incision in its skin. Seeing this scene, Hwa-Yoon covers her mouth in surprise. Because Hwa-Yoon feels the ice lizard's skin is like a jewel, the color is simply too beautiful. Soon I tear its skin down to its feet. Hwa-Yoon's heart is nearly melted by the cuteness. This shed skin feels just like a glove, so adorable. This reminds me of my previous life as a blogger, when I also recorded a lizard shedding its skin. The livestream broke 2,000 viewers and reached over 3 million plays. Time passes quickly. Half of the ice lizard's body has been peeled by me. Now only the head and tail remain. I carefully hold the ice lizard in my hands. Next is the eye area, so I must concentrate. I discover the ice lizard's eyes are covered with pus, caused by eye inflammation from being unable to shed properly. With a soft pop, I successfully tear off the skin from the ice lizard's head. The ice lizard trembles in my hands, seeming about to open its eyes. This fills me with joy. There's still a chance to save it. Sure enough, the next moment the ice lizard opens its beautiful eyes, though its entire body has finished shedding. There's still one most troublesome problem. This problem is the ice lizard's tail. To stop further necrosis, we must cut off its tail, but in this situation, tail amputation might kill it. Just then, I hear Patriarch Pang shout a warning to me. I turn to look. This ice lizard has actually broken through Patriarch Pang's encirclement and come up behind us. This shocks me greatly, because the ice lizard's expression is extremely fierce. If we anger it, we're definitely in for trouble. This really startles me. I quickly explain, I mean no harm, I just want to help treat it. But then I realize I'm still holding a weapon in my hand. Now this can't be explained. The next moment, I feel extreme cold shooting straight at me. Even the temperature in the entire cave drops by 10 degrees. The ice lizard opens its massive maw as if saying, if you dare harm a single hair on it, I'll devour you. At this moment, the lizard's blue fury echoes throughout the entire cavern. This power probably has no match except Patriarch Pang present. If I fight it, I'd probably be bitten to death in one move. I never expected the ice lizard to be so furious. If this continues, we're in serious trouble. With a whooshing sound, the ice lizard's body suddenly moves. Hua-on reacts quickly and pushes me away. With a thunderous crash, even the rocks are shattered where the ice lizard lands. At this moment, the ice lizard's fury has reached its peak, and its combat power has doubled. Just as it prepares for the next round of attack, I quickly raise my hand to stop it. I really mean no harm, and we're helping you. I speak rapidly, not caring if it can understand me. Your companion will surely die if this continues because its tail has already rotted. But just at this moment, I hear cooing sounds. Looking down, it's actually the female lizard in my arms communicating with the ice lizard. After hearing the female lizard's words, the ice lizard's killing intent immediately dissipates. Then it laughs heartily. So you want to help us? I really misjudged you just now. The female lizard in my arms also laughs. Meanwhile, Patriarch Pang and his men rush over, shouting, this lizard is too fast. Even working together, we can't trap it completely. Patriarch Pang looks furious and raises his long blade. This scene completely provokes the ice lizard, which bares its teeth menacingly. I tell him to wait, don't be so impulsive. There's still room for negotiation. This female lizard seems to understand my words, so I smile and say to Patriarch Pang, you all step back. Let me have a good talk with this lizard. Patriarch Pang is completely stunned. A venomous creature that can understand human speech? That's truly rare. I chuckle and look at the ice lizard behind me. I think it won't attack me anymore. Then I ask Hua-on to collect some dry grass from nearby to build a small nest for this female lizard. So Hua-on and Little Heavenly Dragon collect dry grass nearby. In just moments, the small nest is built, and I place the female lizard on it. We never intended any harm, so it can rest assured. I've removed the unshed skin and cleaned the gunk from its eyes. During this time, the ice lizard just needs to lick its eyes. The ice lizard acts as if it can understand my words, actually following my instructions and licking the female lizard's eyes clean. But even so, the female lizard still hasn't passed the danger period. There's still a serious problem. Though other parts of the female lizard have been treated, this tail section is already half necrotic, so licking probably won't heal it. After hearing my words, the female lizard also looks thoughtfully at its own tail, but I tell it not to worry. I have a way to save your companion. Then I make a cutting gesture, meaning we just need to cut off the tail. This gesture isn't hard for the ice lizard to understand. However, this scene brings him great shock, causing him to break out in cold sweat. Naturally, he's unwilling for his companion to be amputated. It's like humans cutting off their own leg. Definitely unwilling, so he roars at me. In his anger, the ice lizard wants to drive us away, telling us to leave this cave immediately. This startles me greatly. This ice lizard has such a bad temper, ready to fight at the slightest disagreement. Seeing this lizard about to charge at me, and I seem unable to dodge. Moments later, I sit in the cave tending to my wounds. Hua-on applies ointment to my face. I was just scratched by the ice lizard. This makes me extremely frustrated. This ungrateful creature, I must teach it a good lesson later. Patriarch Pang nearby laughs heartily. Now you finally have some manliness. Scars are an essential part of being a man. Hearing this, Hua-on glares at him fiercely. She doesn't want her husband to be ruined at such a young age. Seeing this scene, Patriarch Pang wisely shuts his mouth, wondering to himself when this Tang family girl became so fierce. Though I suffered a minor injury just now, fortunately the misunderstanding with the ice lizard is resolved. Moreover, that strike just now seemed to carry no killing intent from the ice lizard, because Heavenly Dragon is extremely sensitive to killing intent, but they remained so quiet, which shows the ice lizard never intended to harm me from the beginning. Just then, the ice lizard starts cooing again, seeming to have something to say to me. I guess it's ready now. The ice lizard seems to understand my words and immediately nods at me. I slowly stand up. Before the surgery, I want to ask you a question. Can you tell me what you usually eat? Because once the tail is amputated, we need to supplement with nutritious food. The ice lizard quickly leaps away from its spot, seeming to go find what it usually eats. Soon it brings back a small plant, placing it in front of the rock. Seeing this thing, I'm stunned for a moment. I don't think I've seen this plant before. The ice lizard immediately picks up the small plant with its mouth, wanting me to examine carefully whether this thing has rich nutrition. At this moment, Hua-on comes close to me, asking me to show her the small plant. She's seen this type of plant in books before. After careful examination, Hua-on confirms this is definitely a spirit grass, because this grass emits a faint aura, which belongs to spiritual energy. Generally, venomous creatures can increase their cultivation after eating it. This shocks me greatly. Looking at it, it seems to still be in seed state. Wouldn't picking it be a waste of natural resources? If this seed isn't pulled out, in a few years it might grow into highly valuable snow ginseng. So I immediately want to replant the seed in the soil. Hua-on and the patriarch behind me advise me to give up. Once touched by humans, spirit grass will no longer grow in that place. Even if replanted, it won't grow again. Hearing this, I'm extremely saddened. I'm sorry, it's we humans who have harmed you. Previously, military strategist Zhuge Hao pulled away 1,000-year snow ginseng from here. This ultimately led to the depletion of spiritual energy here, leaving the ice lizards living day by day in uncertainty. However, the patriarch says there's a way to restore the spiritual energy here. The prerequisite is finding a rare treasure called ice jade, which like snow ginseng contains cold energy. But Patriarch Pang doesn't know where to find ice jade either, as it's very rare. At this moment, Hua Un steps forward. She knows where the ice jade is. She's learned about ice jade before, and this ice jade is with someone she knows. This makes me extremely excited. I ask her to quickly tell me who has it. With a whoosh, I appear in front of Hua Un. If we have this ice jade, the spiritual energy here can be restored. However, Hua Un starts hemming and hawing, leaving the patriarch and me looking confused. Hua Un says with interest, if I say it's other flowers and plants, you should understand what I mean. Patriarch Pang behind us definitely doesn't know what this means, but I understand immediately upon hearing this phrase. Hua Un snorts coldly. You used to say the same thing about me. I break out in cold sweat, scared. Hua Un seems angry. It's all my fault for speaking too quickly back then. Previously, father-in-law called Hua Un flowers and plants when we first met, and Hua Un just mentioned other flowers and plants. That means one of the 3 flowers besides her. Patriarch Pang still looks confused, asking Hua Un to quickly say who possesses this rare treasure of ice jade. Hua Un says, I have some connection with this person, and we've been good friends for many years. This person is the peony flower king of the martial world, ranked first among the 3 flowers. Moreover, she's the daughter of the Nengong family, Miss Nengong She. Hua Un has heard before that she possesses ice jade, but basically doesn't need it, so if we get her permission, we can borrow the ice jade. At this moment, I notice the ice lizard running to my side, cooing. Seeing its anxious appearance, I sense it saying we should quickly treat the sick lizard, so we plan to treat it first and discuss other matters later. I look down at the female lizard and find its tail is getting worse and worse. Finally, I begin observing its physical condition. After all, surgery cannot be careless in the slightest. Hua Un nearby says she's heard lizards can self-amputate their tails, so how did its condition develop to this extent? But actually, Hua Un has some misunderstanding about lizards. Lizards can indeed auto-amputate tails, but not all of them. The behavior of lizards self-amputating their tails is called autotomy. Different species of lizards have different characteristics. Some lizards can autotomize but cannot regenerate. Some can both autotomize and regenerate. Some cannot autotomize or regenerate, so we must examine carefully. I first observe the tail. After confirmation, I'll find the fracture plane and use my finger to press and guide the tail to detach. I educate Hua Un a bit. A lizard's tail seems like it can be cut anywhere, but actually the parts that can be severed are fixed. That place is called the fracture plane. Hua Un hasn't paid attention to lizards before, because lizards don't contain poison, so they're not her focus. Though I was just talking big, this lizard's tail is severely deteriorated. I don't know if the surgery will succeed. Then I pinch with my finger and begin preparing for surgery. 2.5 hours pass. The patriarch waits nearby with the ice lizard. Just then, the ice lizard on the ground starts cooing. Hua Un and I walk over with happy faces. The surgery just now was quite successful. The ice lizard on the ground also understands my expression, laughing heartily with slightly moist eyes. Then I place the female lizard from my arms on the ground, letting it play well with the ice lizard. Patriarch Pang is increasingly satisfied with me. He feels I'll definitely make a name for myself in this martial world. After the surgery, the female lizard recovers well, but we still decide to stay here for a few more days to see how its condition is. After several more days, we come to play with the 2 lizards again. I find the female lizard's sickly state is completely gone, replaced by a healthy body, and I feel these 2 are amazing. These lizards are as adorable as cats and dogs. If this were in my previous life, the view count would absolutely explode. I examine the female lizard carefully again and find it has initially recovered vitality and is temporarily safe. Then I say to it, we're preparing to leave. We'll come back after we find the ice jade. But before that, I especially emphasize, you must eat the seeds here sparingly. The 2 little lizards nod obediently, indicating they'll definitely wait here for my return. So I turn to look at Hua Un. Let's go back. Then I set a goal. First go to Tang Clan, then search for the ice jade. After 3 days of travel, we return to Tang Clan. After we return to the Tang family, father-in-law tells us several pieces of good news. His expression is extremely serious as he slowly says, the most significant news is related to the evil cult. After the spy who infiltrated the Martial Alliance was discovered, they began systematically investigating everything about her. Soon someone discovered she often communicated with an owl, which must be one of their messengers. So the Martial Alliance's experts began continuously searching for this owl and tracking it for days. The Martial Alliance scout discovered something enormous. Unexpectedly, the place he tracked to was actually the evil cult's headquarters and the dwelling place of all cult members. Previously, when military strategist Zhu Hu of the Martial Alliance returned, he gave them the tiger keelback snake's poison, so they immediately decided to act, eliminating all the cult members here. In the end, that bottle of poison achieved great merit in the surprise attack on the headquarters. Then father-in-law takes out a letter from his chest. This is a personal letter. The Martial Alliance leader wrote specifically to you to express gratitude. Then father-in-law asks me if I caught that mysterious lizard, as he'd like to see it too. I say somewhat embarrassedly, well, I didn't bring it back, but it was half successful. Then Hua Un takes over the conversation, explaining everything that happened to father-in-law. After a moment, father-in-law slowly puts down his teacup. Then father-in-law ponders for a long time. This ice jade is rare in the world. Even if Miss Nengong doesn't need it, she probably wouldn't easily give it to others. Hearing this, Hua Un immediately stands up, hoping father can think of a solution. Father-in-law chuckles. Actually, we can try. I happen to have something I want you to give them, which can serve as a a visiting gift. Then he remembers something. Speaking of the Nangong family, there seems to be a recent rumor that has everyone on edge. Hua-un and I exchange glances, feeling strange. Could it be a supernatural event? Father-in-law begins narrating about the Nangong family. Near their area, there's a mountain called Yellow Mountain. One late night, two men were walking in this mountain. But before long, ahead of them, there was actually a man lying there. So the two quickly ran up, wanting to check the condition of the person on the ground. They immediately turned over the person on the ground and checked his breathing. Finding he still had breath, they felt much relieved. The person was fine. But strangely, the next scene left them stunned in place. The person suddenly opened his eyes with a foolish grin, his face somewhat flushed, with nosebleed and drool all over the ground, making laughing sounds. The two looked at each other, completely puzzled, so they decided to take him back to the village first. But what they didn't know was that beside these three people, a woman was watching them, and that person emitted a strange aura, appearing to be a woman based on her appearance. Then the woman slowly emerged, emitting a strange laugh. On the other side, a woman in white robes was practicing swordplay in the forest. Suddenly her pupils dilated sharply. Then her body moved with the wind, smoothly swinging her sword to cut down all the falling leaves. An extremely pleasant sword chime echoed through the forest. Under this moonlight, the silhouette cast was extremely beautiful. But strangely, after swinging the sword, her wrist trembled uncontrollably. Then she wheezed and panted, seeming somewhat oxygen deprived. She looked at the leaves on the ground. They weren't all cut through. It seems her cultivation is still insufficient. Just then, a girl with buns behind her called out, "Sister." This was Nangong En of the Nangong family. She came so late to call her sister back quickly. If father discovers this again, even she will be scolded. Though sword practice is good, as the eldest daughter of the Nangong family, cherishing her own body is more important. After hearing Nangong En's words, that person remained silent for a moment. Then she slowly removed her bamboo hat. When she removed the hat, her face was slightly flushed, but her peerless beauty actually surpassed even Tanghua-un of Tang clan. She was the eldest daughter of the Nangong family, Nangong Zhu, known as the Peony Flower King. But the next moment, Nangong Zhu suddenly began coughing violently. She endured the discomfort, forcibly suppressing the cough. She's been diagnosed with meridian severance syndrome. At first, everyone thought this was a blessing from heaven. Because all her meridians were fully open, she could rapidly accumulate internal energy, neither hindering qi circulation nor restricting qi control. But her body's acupoints opened too much, rapidly depleting her innate qi. The Nangong patriarch anxiously asked if there was any solution, regardless of the cost. The elder slowly said there was one way to treat her: yin energy, and it must be pure, high-grade yin energy superior to innate qi, or she would likely face an early death. The reason she practiced swords so desperately was to perfect her swordsmanship, fearing that nothing would remain in the world after her departure. Then she called for her sister to return quickly, as it was getting late. Just then she glanced at the lantern her sister was carrying. She felt like the oil lamp in this lantern. When the oil burns out completely, it will disappear. So no matter how much hardship she endures, she's not afraid. She must perfect her swordsmanship early. She must do it before her body burns out completely. The next day, a sailing ship advances on the Yangtze River. On board are Hua-un and I, along with two people assigned by Tang clan. At this moment, Captain Shubei behind us says, "A white dolphin appeared behind us." This puzzles me. Is the white dolphin he mentioned referring to the Yangtze River dolphin? Turning around, I see a river dolphin surface. It really is a Yangtze River dolphin. I never expected to see one with my own eyes here. No matter how much I love insects and reptiles, I can't resist the charm of river dolphins. They're simply too adorable. At this moment, Hua-un comes to my side, telling me that continuing along the river will take us to Wuhan, where the Martial Alliance is located. This reminds me of what father-in-law instructed us: to visit the Martial Alliance and deliver the snake poison, then disembark at Anqing. Judging by the current ship speed, we should reach the Martial Alliance soon. Then we both sit on the deck. I ask Hua-un with a heavy heart, "Actually, there's something I'm quite worried about. The ice jade is so precious. Will the Nangong family really give it to us, as you said? I've thought about it over and over and feel uneasy, but Hua-un tells me to put my mind at ease. She had good conversations with Miss Nangong Shui before, and I've heard her say the ice jade has no use for her. What Nangong Shu needs is something edible, but ice jade simply cannot be swallowed." Then Hua-un points to my chest. "The thing we brought this time, if we exchange it for ice jade, she'll definitely give it to us." I touch the round object on my chest. Though I don't know what this thing does, I still feel it's uncertain. I also don't know if this ice jade will work, because lizards are cold-blooded animals, so they usually hate cold objects. I turn and ask Hua-un to explain ice jade to me. I don't understand this thing at all. This ice jade contains cold yin energy. This leaves me completely confused. This thing helps with martial arts practice. You must remember this well. Though it involves yang and yin energy, it should still be understandable. Then she begins explaining yin energy to me. Yin energy is actually the qi that causes yin transformation, referring to qi that settles and accumulates in nature. Generally, this energy suppresses biological activity, such as dark, fearful emotions and dim, cold things all belong to yin energy. That is, yin energy containing cold qi. I've heard others talk about yin energy. Isn't that a bad thing? Hua-un chuckles. Not necessarily. Opposite to yin energy, qi that causes yang transformation is called yang energy. Too much yang energy actually accelerates life activities, making people age faster. So the two lizards in the cave need cold qi because they inherently contain cold qi, so they rely on absorbing yin energy to grow, similar to charging in my previous life. After hearing Hua-un's explanation, I smile awkwardly. I thought it was like men and women needing to achieve yin-yang harmony. If the little ones only have yin energy, how do they achieve yin-yang harmony? This question completely stumps Hua-un, and her face instantly turns red. At this moment, Hua-un is extremely flustered. Though she understands, she doesn't know how to explain it to me. During our chat, we've already arrived at Wuhan Dock. Mountain mist swirls here, giving the place a hazy feeling. Hua-un bows respectfully. The Tang family's Tang Hua-un has brought what the Martial Alliance needs, then that person leads us to Zhuje Houyu. The military strategist has been waiting for us in the pavilion courtyard. I unconsciously look around. So this is the Martial Alliance. It's truly magnificent. Just then I hear people arguing behind us. Looking back, I see 3 young people. The leading woman grabs a man's ear and scolds angrily, "You guy, you actually want to spar with our own warriors? What exactly do you want to do?" Even the handsome young man beside them can't help complaining, "Your temper is still too hasty. What if you hurt someone?" That person was about to retort but then saw us in the distance. All 3 are shocked. They never expected Tang Clan's poisonous flower to appear here. These 3 young people are the promising Blade Dragon, the Sword Phoenix from a prestigious sword family, and the hot-tempered Spear Dragon, who has long admired Miss Hua-un. Then he excitedly steps forward. What a coincidence to meet again. Thinking about it, it's probably been 2 years since we last met. Looking at the imposing aura they emanate, they're truly worthy of being great families in the martial world. Only those with powerful abilities can be called dragon or phoenix. At this moment, Sword Phoenix shows displeasure. "I recently heard a rumor that you already have a lover. I think it's complete nonsense." Hearing this, Miss Hua-un is stunned. She doesn't react immediately and blushes deeply. Seeing the scene, the man behind speaks incoherently. "I'll definitely find those gossiping guys and challenge them to combat to defend your reputation." Hearing this, I'm instantly shocked. This guy couldn't have fallen for my wife, could he? Hua-un smiles awkwardly, indicating she indeed has a lover. Then she pulls me to her side and formally introduces me to everyone. She slowly says, "Not only do I have a lover, I'm already engaged to him." I shyly greet everyone. "Hello, I'm Hua-un's fiancé." The next moment, all 3 are shocked on the spot, 6 eyes looking at me in disbelief. Sword Phoenix steps forward. "I didn't expect you to get engaged so quickly, but you look very young." I respectfully bow to the 3, but the Spear Dragon on the far right seems not to have reacted yet, still in shock. This guy couldn't be devastated, could he? But when I look up, I see this guy glaring at me with killing intent. This makes me shiver involuntarily. He comes before me and says, "You're young hero Wei, right?" Then he fiercely kneels on the ground, an action he only makes when challenging someone to combat. Then he begins introducing himself. "I am Spear King Yang Chenghu of the Divine Spear Yang family. I challenge you to mortal combat. I want to see just how strong the man worthy of Miss Hua-un really is." Hua-un and I are naturally stunned seeing this scene, as we never expected this situation. But the 2 people behind him are used to it, having seen this many times before. Yang Chenghu's eyes flash. "Let us settle this in a man's way, a fight to the death." But as soon as he finishes speaking, he's grabbed by a hand. Immediately, Sword Phoenix gives him a thorough scolding. "You're absolutely too much. How can you start fighting right after meeting guests?" This makes me smile awkwardly. Suddenly remembering Patriarch Peng, I realize all the people I've met recently are quite eccentric. Just then, a voice interrupts our conversation. Looking carefully, that person is actually military strategist Zhu Jiehao, and his expression shows some anger. I bow respectfully to Zhu Jiehao. Tang family's Wei Soryang greets the military strategist. However, I receive no response, only hearing a slapping sound. It turns out Zhu Jiao's fan has struck Spear Dragon's face. Zhu Jiehao angrily scolds, "Yang Chenghu, you have such audacity. How can you be so rude to guests?" These words make Yang Chenghu tremble with fear. Then he ignores Yang Chenghu. "You've finally arrived. The Alliance leader and I have been waiting. I'll take you to Tianwu Pavilion." After we leave, Yang Chenghu feels somewhat displeased. He secretly swears in his heart that he absolutely won't let me go and must have a real man-to-man combat with me. Moments later, we arrive at Tianwu Pavilion. The Martial Alliance leader stands inside the room. Hua-un knows it's inconvenient to enter, so she plans to wait for me in the guest reception hall. At this moment, I notice a stammering maid nervously saying to me, "Please come this way. I'll first report to the Alliance leader." Zhu Jiehao laughs heartily, seeming to see my confusion. After the spy incident was handled recently, the new ones aren't very skilled yet, so they look a bit clumsy. The maid shouts at the door, "Alliance leader! The military strategist and the Tang family young hero have arrived." After entering, I find a man with flowing long hair standing there, with a somewhat robust build. This must be the Martial Alliance leader, so I bow respectfully to him. "I am Wei Soryong of Tang Clan." I greet the Martial Alliance leader. The Alliance leader turns and smiles. "So you're young hero Soryong." The long journey must have been hard, but his words stop abruptly, his eyes filled with shock. Then he points, "Those creatures on your arms and waist shouldn't bite people randomly, right?" This secretly shocks me, truly worthy of being a martial world expert. With just one glance, he discovered the heavenly dragons on my body. Moments later, we sit in the main hall chatting. This time, I've brought 3 bottles of snake poison on the Patriarch's orders. This should be enough for a while. Zhu Jiehao beside me is somewhat surprised. I didn't expect such complex snake poison to produce 3 bottles. I'm truly grateful. Then the Alliance leader asks me if I'm now a son-in-law who married into the Tang family. I confirm yes. The moment I stepped into the Tang family, I became a Tang family member. The Alliance leader also asks if I've arranged for my parents to come, but I'm alone now with no living relatives. At this moment, Zhu Jiehao takes over the conversation and tells the Alliance leader about my experiences. Hearing these words, the Alliance leader feels a trace of sorrow in his heart. "It seems you've had a hard life before." I chuckle and indicate that I wasn't that lonely, because in the ruined temple before, many adorable venomous creatures kept me company. This time the Alliance leader summoned me to reward me, because I made great contributions in the recent evil cult incident, so he wants to give me a reward. This shocks me, as Zhu Jiehao already gave me a reward last time. Zhu Jiehao gives a calm smile. "You made a major discovery that will prevent those evil cult scum from ever setting foot in the Central Plains again. Your contribution potion is invaluable. I quickly raised my hand to refuse. This absolutely cannot be. I was just saving my family from the evil cult. It was an accidental discovery. I'm already very satisfied with that gift. As soon as I finished speaking, I noticed both of them showing shocked expressions as they stare at me. With a scraping sound, the Alliance leader slowly pushes his chair back. Then the Alliance leader walks to the window with a look of sudden realization. So, that's how it is. I wondered why you felt so familiar to me. It's because we're very similar. His words leave me confused. We don't really look that similar. Obviously, the Alliance leader isn't talking about appearance but behavior. Actually, over 20 years ago, he lost his subordinates to the evil cult, and even his beloved ones all perished at the hands of the evil cult. When he desperately tried to save one more person, he unknowingly achieved enlightenment, thus reaching great martial arts achievements. The Alliance leader had heard about these things before, how I risked my poisoned body to attack the evil cult elder to save the Tang clan members. This mutual destruction approach is too similar to his own. Recalling himself 30 years ago, around my current age, also a reckless youth. Time has passed and he no longer dwells on regrets. He can guess the situation back then. Though my power was meager, I bet everything I had. Then the Alliance leader pats my shoulder, which makes me feel honored and surprised. The Alliance leader chuckles and prepares to teach me his unique martial art, the Iron Cabinet technique. Both Zhu and I are greatly shocked. This technique has extraordinary significance. It was personally created by the Alliance leader and is his highest achievement. The Alliance leader tells me not to worry. He has never taken disciples, so once he dies, this martial art will disappear. I'm so shocked I can't speak, completely frozen in place. After a moment, I finally react and spring to my feet with a whoosh. Thank you, Alliance leader. I will never do anything that damages your reputation. The Alliance leader simply gives a slight smile, showing he completely trusts me. 2.5 hours later, I walk out of the hall carrying thick manuals. What surprises me is how heavy these manuals are. The Alliance leader must have put considerable effort into writing them. Still, this is somewhat hard to believe, since this is the Alliance leader's unique martial art. Before I leave, Zhu Hao quietly instructs me, don't tell anyone except family elders for now. If word gets out, you might become a target of those evil cult people. Just as I'm about to return, a figure appears behind me. Turning around, I discover it's Spear Dragon, who wanted to spar with me during the day. But the more I look, the more something feels wrong. Why does this guy look so menacing? Don't tell me he wants to spar again. So I quickly indicate that I have matters to attend to and can't spend more time with him. Spear Dragon speaks rapidly. He heard I went to Tianmu Pavilion this afternoon, so he came to find me, still wanting me to agree to spar with him. He doesn't deny that he likes my wife, but since she's already taken, he knows when to advance and retreat. He just wants to see if I really have the strength to be worthy of Poisonous Flower, one of the 3 flowers. I look at him with a speechless expression. Although I don't mind sparring with you, it's too dangerous. Hearing this, Spear Dragon immediately says he'll hold back and even remove his spear tip. Absolutely won't harm me. I look at him like he's an idiot. Actually, you misunderstood my meaning. I'm saying if you spar with me, I'm worried you might lose your life. The scene becomes very awkward. Spear Dragon is momentarily speechless. Then he becomes angry. He, the great Spear Dragon, has some reputation in the martial world, but now he's being looked down upon by a kid 6 years younger than him. He becomes completely enraged and appears before me in an instant step. You little brat, aren't you being extremely arrogant? But soon he notices something wrong, because he feels like something is wriggling inside my body. The next moment, I'm greatly shocked. Unexpectedly, the 3 little heavenly dragons in my body actually come out. It seems they sensed the killing intent and became angry. With quick reflexes, I rapidly gather the 3 centipedes in my arms, telling them not to bite anyone. That guy hasn't actually harmed me. This scene makes Spear Dragon break out in cold sweat on his forehead. He knows how terrifying heavenly dragons are, but never expected I'd have 3 of them. After calming the centipedes, I turn to look at him. Your behavior just now was very dangerous. If I hadn't acted quickly, you would have lost your life. That's why I said before that if you spar with me, it would be very dangerous. The next moment I crouch down. I advise you never to provoke me again, and don't mention sparring with me anymore, or my little centipedes will really get angry. Spear Dragon nods repeatedly. The notorious centipedes have a reputation that echoes throughout the entire martial world. Then he looks up at the centipede on my shoulder and finds its bright red eyes particularly terrifying. I chuckle, but this smile looks particularly eerie to Spear Dragon. Only now does he realize how vast the gap between him and me is. I pat his shoulder to reassure him. You won't be attacked as long as you don't release killing intent. Spear Dragon is incredibly shocked inside, so he really wasn't joking just now. If he hadn't stopped the 3 centipedes earlier, I might have lost my life. Looking at me again, he finds me seemingly unfathomable. At this moment, I've become a kind of monster in his eyes. Just then, Hua-Un suddenly appears behind me. When she sees me standing with Spear Dragon, she emanates a kind of killing intent, and I sense this killing intent too. Hua-Un stares with wide eyes. What exactly is the situation here? Spear Dragon, you're not trying to attack my husband, are you? I quickly run over to explain. You've misunderstood. I got lost after coming out of Tianmu Pavilion, and fortunately Spear Dragon was showing me the way. Hua-Un obviously doesn't believe it. If it was just showing the way, why do the 3 centipedes look so excited? I place 1 centipede on Spear Dragon's head. I was just chatting with him about heavenly dragons, so I let them out. Then Spear Dragon quickly stands up to explain. It's exactly as Wee Soryong said. I was about to show him the way. Hua-Un looks at us with suspicious eyes, reluctantly believing what we said. She thanks Spear Dragon, then prepares to take me back. I immediately follow Hua-Un, leaving Spear Dragon alone and disheveled in the wind. After seeing us leave, he lets out a long breath. That really almost turned into a disaster. But just then, as if remembering something, I turn back to say to him, actually, in just those few minutes, I saved you twice. Time flashes by to the next morning. We carry our luggage, preparing to leave this place. Hua-Un nods and bows. Thank you everyone everyone for taking care of us these 2 days, until we meet again in the martial world. However, as we prepare to leave, Sword Phoenix suddenly calls out to me. Then she pulls Spear Dragon over, looking very displeased. It turns out she heard from Spear Dragon yesterday that he came specifically to thank me. Spear Dragon scratches his head, somewhat embarrassed. Young hero, thank you so much yesterday. After talking with Sword Phoenix last night, I realized I was really too immature. Then he becomes more excited as he speaks. Wee Soryong is completely qualified to be engaged to Poisonous Flower. Then he bows deeply to me. From now on, Poisonous Flower, one of the 3 flowers, is entrusted to W.I. Soryong. I smile slightly to show I understand. I heard there will be a Dragon Phoenix conference before long. We'll meet again then. Soon we leave the Martial Alliance. At this time, in an inn in a village at the foot of Yellow Mountain. After leaving Wuhan, we arrived in Anqing. The captain says it's getting late and tells us to rest here for the night before continuing. After all, Yellow Mountain is treacherous, and it takes half a day to reach the Nangong family. During our rest, I tell Hua-Un that I received the Alliance leader's manual. This news greatly shocks her. That's the Fist Emperor's unique martial art. According to Hua-Un's understanding, though the process of studying the Iron Cabinet technique is arduous, once mastered, it can block both blades and powerful energy attacks. Some even say the Fist Emperor's unique martial art rivals Shaolin's Vajra indestructible body divine technique. Moreover, since external techniques aren't affected by internal cultivation methods, there will definitely be no problems in practice. In other words, if I master this martial art, I'll have bulletproof capabilities. It looks like I've obtained a truly remarkable martial art. At this time, Hua-Un looks proud. The Fist Emperor whips his body every morning. I can help you complete this step. Then, through whipping, your body can become even stronger. When she says this, an image involuntarily appears in my mind. Hua-Un wearing a red dress, holding a whip and continuously striking me. But if it's under these circumstances, it's not bad either. After all, it's all for cultivation. Suddenly, my fantasy is broken by an approaching old man who asks if we want to go up Yellow Mountain. Hua-Un immediately becomes alert. How do you know we're going up the mountain? The old man's hoarse voice speaks again. I see you two look like you're going to the Nangong family, right? A thought flashes through Hua-Un's mind, remembering what her father had told her before. Could this innkeeper be so panicked because of that previous rumor? Actually, 2 months ago, there were continuous incidents of mountain climbers disappearing. Although they were all eventually found safely, their yang energy had all been absorbed. This greatly shocks me. This matter is truly bizarre, but what does this have to do with the Nangong family? The innkeeper coughs dryly, somewhat embarrassed. It said that those who regained consciousness all said the same thing, that the person who spent the night with them was Miss Nangong Shu from the Nangong family. Hearing this, both of us are greatly shocked. How could Miss Nangong Shu possibly do such a thing? So Hua-Un's first reaction is disbelief. This must be slander. I must defend Nangong Shu. Hearing this, the innkeeper quickly tries to dissuade her. At first, everyone reacted just like you. They didn't believe it either. But later, more and more people confirmed it was indeed Miss Nangong Shu, just a few days ago at the Nangong family estate. Nangong Shu was embroidering when urgent footsteps came from outside the door. A maid quickly opened the door and said in panic, "Miss, something terrible has happened. The family patriarch requests that you come to the patriarch's hall immediately." At that time, Nangong Shu didn't know what she was wanted for, thinking perhaps her secret nightly sword practice had been discovered by the patriarch, so she hurriedly rushed to the patriarch's hall. Upon arriving, she found 4 or 5 people kneeling there. Nangong Shui still didn't know what had happened. After Nangong Shu came over, Patriarch Nangong looked at her with a grave expression. Then he scolded the kneeling people. "Raise your heads and see if what you encountered was really my daughter." As soon as he finished speaking, the people kneeling on the ground tremblingly raised their heads. At this moment, Nangong Shu looked at her furious father, having no idea what was happening. Patriarch Nangong angrily questioned Nangong Shu, "Have you been secretly going to Yellow Mountain every night recently?" Then he flew into a rage, even raising his voice by a decibel. "These people kneeling on the ground now say you took away their yang energy." The statement directly shocks Nangong Shu on the spot. How could she possibly absorb men's yang energy? Obviously, with so many witnesses, even her father is starting to doubt her. Helplessly, Nangong Shu can only confess truthfully, "I did indeed go to Yellow Mountain Valley to practice sword work these past few days, but I swear that besides practicing swordsmanship, I did nothing else." The patriarch looks at those people again. "My daughter says she is innocent. Do you have any concrete evidence?" A fat man says pitifully, "We absolutely don't mean to insult the young miss. We indeed saw the young miss. Could it be that we all encountered something supernatural?" Suddenly, the fat man seems to think of something and shouts anxiously, "When I was intimate with Nangong Shu before, I discovered she had a mole on her body." And the fat man describes it vividly, pulling open his left chest and pointing, "The mole is right here on the chest." Patriarch Nangong turns back in disbelief, wanting to see his daughter's expression. Nangong Shu looks shocked, which means this matter is true. Patriarch Nangong becomes extremely angry and immediately confines Nangong Shu. After we hear this news, Chua-Yun looks dejected. She absolutely doesn't believe that Miss Nangong Shu is the type of person who would do such things. While I keep following behind, coaxing Chua-Yun not to be angry anymore. Actually, there's a reason why Chua-Yun doesn't believe Nangong Shu would do such things. It's because of Nangong Shu's constitution, which fundamentally cannot come into contact with men. This greatly shocks me. How could such a constitution exist in this world? It turns out Nangong Shu suffers from a strange disease. If she loses yin energy, her lifespan will be shortened. Based on her constitution, yang energy is like poison to Nangong Shui. So even when men walk past her, she has to be carefully on guard. How could she possibly do such things? This reminds me of novel heroines from my previous life. This is completely a fantasy novel female protagonist setting. Soon we arrive at the Nangong family estate, with 2 guards standing watch at the entrance. One of the guards says coldly, "Everyone, what brings you to the Nangong family. Hua-un feels the atmosphere at the Nangong family seems unfavorable. If we directly say we want to see Miss Nangong Shu, we might be turned away. Better to be somewhat evasive, so I clear my throat twice and prepare to speak. We've come to trade this time. My words leave Hua-un looking shocked. Did I say something wrong? Just then, a woman slowly opens the main gate of the Nangong family. When she sees who it is, Hua-un freezes, because this person is her friend Nangong-en. They were once close friends, though they haven't seen each other for a long time. After a moment, Nangong-en and Hua-un joyfully gesture with excitement. After the 7 families gathering, they haven't seen each other for over 2 years. Then Nangong-en asks somewhat puzzled, "What is this trade you mentioned?" Hua-un begins to explain. This time the Tang clan suddenly needs ice jade. I heard last time that Miss Nangong Shu has some, so we came. Hua-un speaks in an almost pleading tone. We especially need ice jade this time, so we came to ask if you're willing to part with it. Nangong-en doesn't value ice jade much. She tells us to go to the main hall to meet Patriarch Nangong. Then Hua-un gently pushes me forward. This time we brought something that can be exchanged for ice jade. It might be of even greater help to you. Though Nangong-en is puzzled, she says, "Let's go to the main hall first." Before long, we arrive at the Nangong family patriarch's hall. After our explanation, Patriarch Nangong is also greatly shocked. Then he questions us again. "Do you really have spirit medicine containing cold energy? This is too important. With this thing, it might greatly help my daughter's condition." Then I say no more and begin searching in my chest pocket. In a moment, I place the medicinal material containing cold energy on the table. When Patriarch Nangong sees it, his face shows complete disbelief, because this medicinal material indeed contains extremely powerful cold energy, as if being in the northern frozen lands. Most precious of all is that this is actually a medicinal material that can be consumed. Looking at the Patriarch's expression, he seems very satisfied with this medicinal material. I feel somewhat nervous inside. This is the spirit medicine I carefully carried in my chest pocket. It would be great if we could successfully exchange it. Patriarch Nangong carefully examines it. The degree of cold energy is very high. With this thing, Miss Nangong Shu can probably hold on for 10 years, so he decides to agree to our exchange, which delights both me and Hua-un. However, the Patriarch is still somewhat surprised. There seems to be something shriveled inside this crystal. Patriarch Nangong is right. There is indeed something shriveled inside, but it's inconvenient for me to say. Patriarch Nangong says in a low voice, "If we knew what this was, we could probably deduce where it was discovered. This is indeed not appropriate to ask about. Actually, the reason I don't say isn't this, but there are other reasons. That shriveled thing is actually an ice lizard's tail. After grandfather saw this thing, he thought it was quite good and had me make it into medicinal material. It was then that I learned that ice lizards store nutrients in their tails, and it's cold energy, so we immediately made a decision to craft this tail into medicinal material. That's why I really can't bring myself to say it's just a shriveled tail." Patriarch Nangong tells Nangong-en to inform her sister to exchange ice jade for this spirit medicine. Then Patriarch Nangong arranges lodging for us, telling us to rest well for a few days before leaving. Moreover, Hua-un and our Shui have a friendship, so they must have a good chat. Patriarch Nangong also entrusts us with something. Recently, Nangong Shu's mood has been very poor, and he wants Hua-un to comfort her well. Then we stand up, and Nangong-en leads us to the courtyard. 10 minutes later, we arrive under a magnificent building. Nangong-en thanks us. "Thanks to your appearance, father's mood has improved somewhat." Hua-un asks how Nangong Shui has been recently. We heard some rumors elsewhere. Nangong-en is somewhat surprised. The spread of this matter is surprisingly fast. I didn't expect even you already know. Regarding this matter, Nangong-en is also puzzled. She doesn't think Nangong Shu is the type to do such things either, but can't figure it out. Now Nangong Shu is confined in the detention room and was forced by the Nangong family to have a chastity mark applied. Generally, no woman is willing to have the ugly chastity mark placed on the back of her hand. After hearing this news, Hua-un looks shocked. Then in the future, won't Miss Nangong Shui have to meet her beloved before the mark on her hand can be removed? The chastity mark is to prove a woman is still pure. People apply the chastity mark to their bodies. The specific method is to first keep geckos in containers and feed them cinnabar until their bodies slowly turn red, then grind the geckos into paste with a mortar and apply it to women. If they are pure, even water cannot wash away that blood mark. After hearing his explanation, I break out in sweat. This is truly too cruel. Such cute lizards actually have to be ground into powder. This makes me extremely angry. Besides, isn't there something that can distinguish women's chastity better than geckos? Just then we hear Nangong-en's voice. "Sister is just ahead. Let's hurry over." When I see Nangong Shui's figure, I'm completely stunned. I see a woman sitting in a small pavilion ahead of me. Looking closely, the woman is extremely beautiful. Even more beautiful than Hua-un by a few degrees, graceful and elegant. Only there's a blood mark on the back of her hand which must be the chastity mark. Seeing our arrival, the woman is also slightly stunned. She didn't expect Hua-un to appear here. Nangong-en steps forward. "Hua-un brought spirit medicine containing cold energy. Father wants you to exchange ice jade for this spirit medicine." After seeing our spirit medicine, Nangong Shu is also incredibly surprised. "This is truly amazing. I've never seen such dense cold energy." Then she takes out a piece of ice jade from her pocket and gives it to me. When my gaze falls on the ice jade in her hand, my eyes light up, truly worthy of being a top treasure. The cold energy it emanates is simply fear-inducing. After getting the ice jade, I'm very happy, now that Paradise Realm can be saved. However, Nangong Sui's mood is somewhat low, and her beautiful eyes appear somewhat haggard. Hua-un quickly speaks to comfort her. "We also heard about that matter. Miss Nangong Shu, don't be so sad. We absolutely believe you're not the type of person who would do such things." Miss Nangong Shu naturally understands this point, but she's also helpless. There are simply too many witnesses. They all know where that mole of mine is located. This makes a thought suddenly flash through my mind. Could this be a mystery case? I cover cover my face and laugh wildly. In my previous life, I watched over 22,000 episodes of Detective Conan. The mystery cases I've experienced are countless, so I can say I'm an expert in this area. No case can escape my eyes. In my previous life, whenever I participated in escape rooms or deduction games, I was always called Detective Sherlock. This title alone is enough to prove my talent in this area, so I confidently ask, have you ever bathed alone at night by a pond or riverside? However, Hua Yun directly undermines me. You're not trying to say someone was peeping, are you? But this makes Miss Nangongshu somewhat anxious. I haven't bathed outside. This makes my head explode with a thunderous sound. It seems I completely guessed the wrong direction, but this shouldn't be possible. I kneel dejectedly on the ground. It seems we're back to square one. I'm truly sorry. However, Hua Yun seems to think of something, a flash of inspiration crossing her mind. Then she says with a joyful expression, in this situation, isn't there one most likely possibility? I don't quite understand Hua Yun's words. What's the most likely possibility? Hua Yun says with a shocked expression, could it be that all those people at the foot of the mountain encountered a ghost? This news frightens the two Nangong sisters until they turn pale. Even I look at Hua Yun in disbelief. How could there be ghosts in this world? But thinking about it carefully, it does seem possible. After all, I once saw the azure-spotted centipede that became a ghost after death in a dream. So this theory isn't without merit. So we begin questioning Miss Nangong about whether she's touched any elixir-type medicines recently. She really thinks carefully about this point. I think I did touch something, she says seriously. I touched a tree branch recently. This makes me sigh. Could this be the legendary beautiful airhead? Just then, Miss Nangongshu seems to suddenly remember something. When I was practicing sword work on the back mountain before, I always felt some movement as if someone was constantly watching me, and that person was extremely fast. I couldn't catch their figure at all. Nangong En's expression becomes somewhat stunned. After hearing this, I didn't expect sister would encounter such things. Hearing this, I fall into deep thought. I feel there's definitely something suspicious about this matter. After another moment, a maid runs over hurriedly, with an extremely anxious expression on her face. Nangongshu quickly stands up to ask, what exactly happened to make you run so urgently? The maid says with a panicked face, another villager has disappeared from the foot of the mountain. The Nangong family has already sent out many warriors to search, but they still haven't found any trace. Hearing this, Nangongshu can't help but clench her fists. It must be that person imitating me causing trouble again. Her eyes are filled with anger, and even her molars are trembling with rage. So she stands up and declares that she wants to personally go to the back mountain to catch whoever is imitating her. Whether it's human or ghost, Nangongshu will catch them herself. But Nangong En firmly disagrees. If sister goes out alone secretly again this time and gets discovered, you'll be punished. However, Nangongshu gives a charming smile. I'm not going alone this time. Then her gaze turns to Hua Yun and me. Then Nangongshu darts forward and grabs my wife's hand. She pleads with us to go into the mountain with her to catch the ghost. If we can catch it, she will definitely reward us generously later. Hua Yun and I are shocked beyond words for a moment. It seems we have to help whether we want to or not. Then our group ventures into the back mountain at night. Along the way, Nangong En is almost in tears. If we're discovered this time, I might also be confined, and it would definitely be for half a year. Then Nangong En turns to look at me, asking me to persuade Hua Yun, but I can only show an awkward yet polite smile. Actually, I'm quite helpless too. After all, having received someone's things, I definitely have to help them. It turns out that just a while ago, Nangongshu handed me an ornament. She said this is a pendant woven with rope knots, and the decoration in the middle can perfectly hold the ice jade, although she doesn't know why we need ice jade. If we're taking it with us, this thing is quite good, and can perfectly contain the ice jade. When Hua Yun and I see it, we're immediately attracted to this shining pendant. It's really too beautiful. Moreover, this thing can be split into two halves and serve as our love token. As long as we're willing to help, Nangongshu will give this to us. Hua Yun and I only hesitate for a moment before agreeing. Thinking of this, I clear my throat twice. I didn't agree because I coveted the pendant. I only came along to restore Miss Nangongshu's reputation. Hearing this, Nangong En doesn't believe it at all. You little brat, stop lying. Your expression doesn't match what you're saying. Seeing this, Nangongshu gives a cold snort. You cannot shout in front of guests. That's impolite. We walk deeper for a while, then Nangongshu stops. When she came to the back mountain to practice sword work before, it was here that she noticed the movement. There might be some traces around here, so she plans to investigate first. During this time, Nangongshu also tells Hua Yun not to be afraid. If any evil spirits appear, she'll use this sword containing evil breaking righteousness to slay them. Suddenly, I notice some white mist coming from behind and turn to look. At the same time, I hear three voices suddenly cry out, "Why is there suddenly fog? We can't see anything!" I'm incredibly shocked inside. How did everyone disappear from my sight in just 2 or 3 seconds? The more I can't find their figures, the more anxious I become. I start running through the mountain forest, but no matter how I shout, they can't respond to me. It seems I've gotten separated from all of them. Walking along, I trip over spider webs under my feet. This makes me somewhat curious. Why are there so many spider webs clustered together on the back mountain? Moreover, I find these spider webs somewhat different. Each spider silk is very sturdy, unlike webs that ordinary spiders could weave. I carefully feel these spider webs. This kind of web can only be woven by large spider monsters at least. Suddenly my body freezes because I hear a scream from behind. Hearing this kind of sound at this time makes my body quite reactive. I carefully analyze that sound just now. It seems like Miss Nangong En. Could something have happened to her? Thinking of this, I don't rush over immediately, but tell the 3 centipedes to quickly find Hua Yun and guard her. I send out 2 centipedes to search for Hua Yun while keeping 1 heavenly dragon inside my body. With the olfactory senses of 2 centipedes, they should be able to detect Hua Yun's location, even if thick fog has risen in the mountains. While I run toward the source of the sound, gradually reaching the depths of the forest, I'm still puzzled why those spider silks would appear here. If my judgment is correct, spider Spiders are mainly divided into two categories: sedentary and hunting types. Sedentary types build nests and live in one place, while hunting types wander around. But regardless of which type, they wouldn't weave webs on the ground like this. In other words, this is definitely not an ordinary spider. After running for a while, I find the fog seems to have dissipated somewhat. In a little while, I need to quickly find everyone and gather together. But just at this moment, I stand frozen in place, because the scene ahead truly shocks me. I see that ahead of me, everything is covered in dense spider webs. This involuntarily creates fear in my heart, and my steps begin to retreat unconsciously. Then I suddenly look up and see an unbelievable scene. I see that on the tree ahead of me, a woman is actually tied up. It's Miss Nangong-en. I don't know what happened to her. She's actually tied to the tree, her body covered in spider silk. Then I turn to look around, wanting to see if there are any other suspicious things. The moment I turn my head, I see a woman sitting there, and below her appears to be a spider. The woman supports her face with her hand, and eerie heh laughter comes from the corner of her mouth. Looking closely, this woman is actually Miss Nangong-shu, but upon careful observation, it doesn't quite seem like her. This must be the one imitating Nangong-shui. She's probably also the one who's been absorbing men's yang energy on the back mountain. I immediately sense danger, feeling this woman is incredibly powerful, definitely not someone I can handle. The woman stares with wide eyes and chuckles, seemingly already considering me prey to be slaughtered. My heart thumps. Now that Nangong-en is in her hands, I absolutely cannot act rashly. Moreover, this is the first time I've seen this kind of spider. Her webs aren't woven in midair but on the ground. Truly a new species. Although the current situation is somewhat critical, I've also come to understand the whole story of those events. At this moment, what stands before me in Miss Nangong-shui's appearance is the spider's mimetic pedipalp. This kind of spider can change its appearance, then use this to attract men and consume the yang energy in their bodies. The so-called pedipalps generally refer to the second pair of appendages. They're used for sensing touch, reproduction, and assisting in hunting, a special organ. The reason they're called the second pair of appendages rather than spider legs is because pedipalps are organs that grow on the head, like scorpion pincers. They're actually not legs, but pedipalps. At this moment, to seduce me, Nangong-shu actually exposes her fragrant shoulders and puts on an alluring pose. But I know this is just the result of evolution, purely to attract men and make them her meal. But I'm thinking of playing along, so I pretend to blush slightly. At the same time, Nangong-en on the tree slowly regains consciousness and struggles continuously. When she sees my expression, she becomes furious inside. She didn't expect Wee So-young to also be enchanted by this venomous creature. I slowly approach the front of Nangong-zu. I chuckle. You're truly too beautiful. I'm already attracted to you. Then while she's not paying attention, I pounce into her embrace and hug her. Nangong-shu is momentarily stunned, but then shows a cunning smile. It seems all men in the world are the same. They simply can't resist the temptation of beauty. The next moment, Nangong-shu's expression suddenly changes, and her hands reach toward me. She can feel that the yang energy in my body is very abundant. However, just as she's about to act, I shout, "Little centipede, quickly bite her for me." With a swoosh, the little centipede moves incredibly fast and immediately runs to the spider demon's neck for a bite. No matter how beautiful Nangong-shu looks, she can't create any temptation for Cho, because he's still a child. And moreover, Cho is female. After biting Nangong-shu's neck, Cho immediately retreats. Nangong-shu's eyes fill with tears, her expression extremely sorrowful. No wonder people would be deceived by her. She originally wanted to use this method to win me back, but she soon discovers something wrong with her body. With a thud, Nangong-shu's body crashes heavily to the ground. I turn to look. It seems Nangong-shu's body has been completely invaded by the little centipede's toxin. I even poke the spider's leg with a tree branch and find no reaction at all. Centipede venom is used to erode the nervous systems of other insects. Although centipede venom is quite strong, because this creature is large, its resistance to poison is also stronger, so it should wake up before long. I raise my hand to stroke the spider's fur. Don't be too sad. If you're caught by the villagers, you might lose your life, so I'm actually saving you right now. Then my expression changes, showing one of appreciation and fondness. The next moment, I directly hug the spider's body and nuzzle against it. This spider is simply too attractive and incredibly cute. But just as I'm about to further examine the spider's eyes, I hear whooshing sounds. I see Hwaeun descending from the sky, her legs kicking toward my cheeks while shouting, "You cannot defile Miss Nangong-su!" This kick comes especially suddenly, even the centipedes, and I don't react in time. My mind goes completely blank, and I don't even realize who's kicking me. Just 10 minutes ago, I was confronting the human-faced spider. I skillfully used techniques to approach her, then had the centipede bite her neck. Just as I subdued her and prepared to study her, Hwaeun suddenly descended from above, her feet heavily kicking my cheeks. This left me completely dazed, feeling a burning pain in my cheeks. Then my body flew out, crashing hard against a tree trunk. Hwaeun thought I had been bewitched by the spider demon, but she herself didn't expect that kick to be so forceful. At this moment, I was almost seeing my great-grandmother, eyes seeing stars and foaming at the mouth. Under this moonlight, 10 minutes gradually passed. During these 10 minutes, I explained everything to Hwaeun, finally making her understand the current situation. She apologetically told me she thought I had been bewitched by the spider demon. Truly sorry, but what she didn't know was that in some way, I was indeed enchanted by it, because this spider looked incredibly cute in my eyes, and its fur was very soft and smooth. Moments later, Hwaeun seriously asked if I felt any discomfort, and I was curious why she would ask this. It turns out the mist pervading the forest would cause men to lose themselves if inhaled, and she had escaped outside the mist to gather her energy before re-entering, but I felt nothing at all from it. This made me understand that those villagers must have had their minds disturbed by this mist. It seems this should be a type of pheromone released by the spider. So I patted the spider's fur and asked Hwaeun what kind of venomous creature this was to be so powerful, but Hwaeun appeared very flustered, mumbling that she didn't know either. After all, there were so many venomous creatures, she couldn't possibly know them all. smile, but her actions left me stunned. If she didn't know, then she didn't know. Why act so flustered? Just then we heard a voice. Turning to look, it was actually coming from Nangong-en, who was tied to the tree. This shocked me greatly. I had completely forgotten about this woman's existence. Just now I was only focused on admiring that spider. Seeing this scene, we hurriedly untied her. Fortunately, Nangong-en wasn't dead, just had her nerves disturbed by the spider. Next was to find Nangong's shoe. Once this mountain mist dispersed, we'd be able to find her. Moments later, I bound the spider with silk. This spider absolutely cannot die. I want to bring her back to the Tang clan, then confirm her identity. She might be an unexpectedly significant venomous creature. Hua Yun seemed to want to say something but remained silent. Just then, a whooshing sound came from behind. Turning to look, it was actually Nangongju running over quickly. Seeing Nangong-en on the ground, she panicked, thinking her sister was already dead. Looking around, she saw that spider demon behind us, and its appearance was identical to hers. This filled her with grief and rage. "You monster actually hurt my sister and ruined my reputation. Today I will make you die here." With a swoosh, Nangong-shui flicked her wrist. This made me extremely panicked. I immediately shouted, "Nangong-shui, please calm down." Seeing that Nangong-shui's speed hadn't slowed at all, I immediately rushed forward. I blocked Nangong-shui with both arms, telling her not to be so impulsive. This spider was still useful and couldn't die here. However, Nangong-shui was experiencing the pain of losing her sister and couldn't listen to my words at all, just kept telling me to get out of the way. But how could I possibly move aside? This spider held extraordinary significance for me. So I said righteously, "This spider was caught by me, so it's my property. No one can touch it." Hearing this, Hua-on was also stunned. "What are you talking about? That spider's current appearance is Nangong-shu." At this moment, Nangong-shu was very angry. Then her eyes widened with fury. "You are my friend's lover, so I respect you. But if you stop me today, I won't be polite to you either." When Nangong-shu said this, her eyes were full of cold light, proving she was truly angry. Her aura made my forehead break out in cold sweat. But no matter what, this spider absolutely couldn't be killed by her. Instead, Hua-un calmed down and said to Nangong-shu, "Your sister is still alive. She's not dead, just unconscious." Hearing this, Nangong-shu's expression paused, and her anger dissipated significantly. Seeing this, Hua-un struck while the iron was hot. "I understand your feelings, but once the spider dies, the form it mimicked will disappear, and there will be no way to clear your name." Hua-un glanced at the spider demon behind us and told Nangong-shu to think carefully. The most important thing was to bring the spider demon back. And another thing, whether it's catching that spider, obtaining the spirit medicine for exchange with you, or saving Nangong-in's life, it was all my lover who helped you. No matter what, you shouldn't swing your sword at him. After hearing Hua-un's words, Nangong-shu's expression softened considerably. She actually felt she had been a bit impulsive just now, so she sheathed her sword and apologized to me. Not only had she failed to remember my kindness, but she had also made such a basic error. Hua-un's words made me give her a thumbs up. If you hadn't been here, I would have been in danger. After the misunderstanding was cleared up, what remained was dealing with this spider demon. I patted the spider demon's head. "She's quite pretty. I must bring her back to the Tang family for proper study." But hearing this, Nangong-shu's heart started beating rapidly. "You actually said she's cute. Isn't that indirectly saying I'm cute too?" So her face instantly turned red. "You actually said such things. What about Hua-un in the future? I can't marry you." Hua-un looked speechless. "You misunderstood his meaning just now. He was talking about this spider." Seeing that Nangong-shu had misunderstood my meaning, Hua-un felt it necessary to explain. He was saying the spider itself is cute. Not only is its fur soft, but it also has special abilities. Hearing them chatter on and on afterwards, I had no idea what they were talking about. The next day after dawn, I brought the spider to Nangong-shu's house. The Nangong family head drew his sword as soon as he saw the spider demon, wanting to personally clear his daughter's name. I desperately tried to dissuade him, sighing that it was truly like father, like daughter. The Nangong family head thanked me. "You saved both my daughter's lives and reputation. The Nangong family won't forget this kindness. Let's do as you wish." I seized the opportunity, so I hurriedly said, "This spider demon, I'll take her away." However, there was something the Nangong family head was concerned about. His confusion was also everyone present's confusion. This spider demon's face was still that of his precious daughter. What should be done about this? The Nangong family head didn't want it to be taken away with his daughter's appearance. I stroked my chin and thought. It seemed I had obtained ownership rights, but the image rights issue hadn't been resolved. Just then, I heard noisy sounds coming from behind. Looking carefully, I discovered several people making a commotion at the gate. I quickly ran to the gate and asked Captain Shubei what was happening. It turned out the onlookers at the gate were angry. They wanted the family head to immediately execute this spider. So Captain Shubei argued with them. "This spider was caught by the Tang family. Are you going to speak disrespectfully about the Tang family's property?" I praised him for doing well, but since the misunderstanding had been cleared up, no more people should be let in afterwards. So the Nangong family guards drove away all the people at the gate. But just then, an old man appeared. The old man tremblingly extended his hand, pleading with the Nangong family guards to let him in to see that spider. But this put the guards in a difficult position. After all, there were orders from above. They couldn't let anyone else in. The arguing at the gate caught my attention. I didn't expect this old man to come so far just to see the spider, so I quickly spoke up, "Let him in." In a moment, the old man stood in front of the spider, staring at her continuously. His eyes were full of tears, revealing a familial gaze. The old man turned to ask me how I planned to deal with this spider. Would I kill her? I said I planned to take her back. Aside from eating rather unusual things, she's actually just an ordinary spider. After hearing my words, the old man smiled weakly. This was the first time he'd heard someone say this. Then he suddenly tore off the ropes on the spider, shocking us behind him. "Old man, what you're doing is too dangerous." The old man completely ignored the Nangong-shu appearance above and lovingly stroked the spider head below. Unexpectedly, this spider actually reacted, smiling at the old man. This made me breathe a sigh of relief. So he and I were the same type of person. From his actions I could tell we were kindred spirits. We are the type of people who pay special attention to venomous creatures we like. At this time, the old man slowly said, her name is Yaohua. She was a pet I once raised. Years ago, a plague caused him to lose his family, and one day he discovered a fist-sized spider. This spider would sleep by the old man's bedside every day, and had done so for 20 years. When he was young and vigorous, he could feed her with yang energy, but now in his old age and frailty, he could no longer provide yang energy. He felt deeply apologetic, never expecting to cause such trouble for the Nangong family's eldest daughter. This was all his responsibility. Now that he had met me to take her in, he was also relieved. I bowed respectfully to him. I will take good care of her from now on, the old man said tearfully. I won't be able to take care of you anymore. After all, Daddy is old. You should live well with this young master. Unexpectedly, the human-faced spider actually shed tears. This should have been an emotion only humans possess. To make a pet so understanding of human nature and responsive to human emotions would definitely take a lot of time. It seems this grandfather truly cared for the spider like a daughter. So to prevent them from parting, I invited the old man to return to the Tang clan with me. But the grandfather waved his hand, indicating it wasn't necessary. Thank you though, but at my current age, I can no longer endure long journeys. After hearing his words, I also expressed understanding. But could you tell me how to raise this type of spider? And what I was most curious about was how to transfer yang energy to the spider. The grandfather said to put fingers into the spider's mouth. This way yang energy could be transferred, and besides that, they could also sleep together. After transferring yang energy, the spider would transform into the most beautiful form in the yang energy owner's mind. The next moment, the spider transformed into an unfamiliar woman. This woman was the grandfather's wife, who had passed away many years ago. The grandfather told me to try it too. Then the spider absorbed some yang energy. Immediately after, she began emitting red light and started changing. I was somewhat expectant. I predicted the form should be H2A-un, but I was shocked on the spot. What the heck is this? At this moment, the spider demon had transformed into a black chocolate person. The grandfather nearby said, this happened once before when she hadn't taken human form. Captain Shubei behind us anxiously shouted, what on earth is going on? Why isn't it Hua-un's appearance? I understood. The reason the spider demon could maintain Nangong Shui's appearance was because most villagers recognized Nangong Shui as the greatest beauty. But when I gave the spider demon yang energy, she didn't transform into Hua-un's appearance. Unable to accept this blow, I quickly ran away. No matter how much I liked venomous creatures, it couldn't surpass Hua-un. At this time, Hua-un was in the courtyard taking care of Nangong-en. Before long, I hurriedly pushed open the door and walked in. Hua-un was somewhat surprised. What happened to make you run so breathlessly? However, I directly asked Hua-un if I could hug her, just once. Hua-un was startled by me, her face instantly turning somewhat flushed. What are you saying? I told Hua-un not to misunderstand me. Let me hug you. However, Hua-un said I must have found out about these things. Then Hua-un covered her face with both hands and said, actually, I've always known this spider's name. Hua-un spoke up. That spider is actually the human-faced spider from the 10 greatest venomous creatures. After hearing her words, I remembered our previous agreement that as long as I caught one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures, she would marry me. For a moment, the room was dead silent, terrifyingly quiet. I really didn't expect that spider demon to actually be the human-faced spider from the 10 greatest venomous creatures. After revealing the truth, Hua-un became shy again. It turns out she had been hesitant because she knew the human-faced spider's identity. Soon, Hua-un slowly approached me. The agreement has been fulfilled. Naturally, I will honor it. With a thud, she embraced me tightly. At this moment, I could feel my heart beating very fast. But at this moment, I suddenly noticed. I didn't expect Nangong-en to wake up at this moment. She had seen everything that just happened, and now she was hesitating whether to excuse herself. Cold sweat immediately broke out on my face. This person really woke up at the wrong time. After getting everything in order, we prepared to return. This journey also came to an end here. Fortunately, the spider demon had transformed into Hua-un's appearance, so I didn't have to worry about others' judgments. I apologetically said to the spider demon, bear with it. Once we reach the Tang clan, I'll let you out. Shubei came over at this time, asking how the next itinerary should be arranged. Originally planned to go directly to the lizard's cave after getting the ice jade, but now with the spider demon added, the journey was long, and I didn't know if Yaohua could endure it. But when Yaohua heard my words, she kept shaking her head. I was somewhat surprised. Can you understand what I'm saying? Yaohua nodded repeatedly, indicating she could understand. This moved me greatly. I didn't expect her to be so kind, so I ordered to go to the lizard cave first. After arranging the itinerary, looking at the wide river surface, I didn't expect that coming to the Nangong family would yield the human-faced spider, one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures. Just then I heard people talking. Did you hear? This time the Alliance leader personally led the Azure Dragon team on expedition. Those guys caught last time revealed intelligence about other strongholds. The more they talked, the more serious their expressions became. That battle had almost no casualties. We don't know what method they used. It's truly miraculous. They said, I heard someone created a power-dispersing poison specifically targeting cult members. Those two people were very excited. It's really incredible, but I heard the Martial Alliance people didn't reveal that person's identity to protect him, but we must be grateful to him. Their words moved me greatly. This was the highest honor in my previous life. Just as I was intoxicated by the pleasant praise, we had unknowingly arrived at Myeongsan Mountain. We kept walking deeper and again saw that waterfall descending from the sky. With the lizard's cave behind this waterfall, we gazed at the waterfall from afar. This time it would be somewhat difficult to cross easily. I said, my lightness skill isn't proficient enough. You go over and bring those two little ones out. However, Hua-un and the captain were a bit worried. They didn't know if the lizards would be willing to come out with them. Suddenly someone shouted, Master Soryong, look over there. I turned to look and found Yahello had already climbed up the rock wall, but at this moment, she spat out spider silk from her mouth. Then she flew up, then landed safely on the ground. It seemed this waterfall was simply effortless for her. Seeing this scene, we were all dumbfounded. I really didn't expect Yahello could fly. Seeing her like this, I suddenly thought of ballooning. Could it be because Yahello is a spider that she can fly? Spiders can ride the wind and fly tens or even hundreds of kilometers. This phenomenon is called ballooning. If you suddenly feel you've touched a spider web on the road, that's a trace of ballooning. This made me very excited. Truly worthy of being the human-faced spider, one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures, so I could also enter the cave. Then I sat on Yahello's legs and flew up the waterfall. At this moment, Yahello held me tightly with both hands, then climbed along the wall. Soon I was brought by Yahello to the cave entrance. This made me overjoyed, so I turned and hugged her. I'm really so grateful to you. However, Hua-un nearby became jealous. Wasn't your hug just now a bit inappropriate? Then I told them all to wait here. I would go bring the lizards over. Then I walked deeper, and soon saw 2 lizards playing at the cave entrance. I shouted at them, "Little ones, I've come to invite you back to the Tang clan." Seeing my arrival, the 2 little ones eagerly ran to my side. I hugged them both. After not seeing you for a while, you've become even more affectionate, but you still look very healthy. I showed them the ice jade I brought back, asking if they wanted to come with me. The 2 little ones chattered for a while, then cheerfully nodded. After seeing them agree, I started naming them. The female would be called Rain, the male Ice. You 2 together are Ice Rain, truly a match made in heaven. After finishing everything, I prepared to leave this place with the 2 little ones. Thus we returned to the Tang clan, and Ice and Rain also became part of the Tang clan. It was already late at night. We finally returned to the Tang family. The 2 guards were startled when they saw me arrive. This seems a bit off. They looked carefully behind me and discovered there were actually 2 young ladies. But looking more carefully, it seemed even more wrong. One of the ladies actually had a spider body behind her. Seeing this, I cleared my throat and prepared to speak. I told them to go in and report, saying the son-in-law had brought back one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures. The 2 were even more shocked. How is this possible? The 10 greatest venomous creatures of Central Plains were brought back so easily by the young master. Not allowing them to think much, they immediately fired a signal flare. In just a moment, the entire Tang clan resounded with news that Master Soryong had returned with one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures. Within just 3 minutes, the Tang clan head, elder patriarch, and branch elders all rushed over. After they arrived, they began asking me, "Didn't you go to exchange food for the lizards? How did you end up catching one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures?" However, what shocked them even more was that the human-faced spider looked exactly like their daughter. They almost couldn't tell them apart. I chuckled. "What you don't know is that I happened to pick up this spider demon when I went to the Nangong family." Hearing this, the family head and elder patriarch laughed heartily. They had roamed the martial world for decades. How could there be such a thing as accidentally picking up one of the 10 greatest venomous creatures? How could the legendary fierce beast human-faced spider be captured so easily? However, my previous deeds had shocked them many times, so they easily accepted it. Only someone of this level could be worthy of being the Tang family's son-in-law. The father-in-law and mother-in-law laughed heartily. It seems Soryong is truly our Tang family son-in-law now, and the agreement with Hua-un has been fulfilled. Next is to prepare the wedding. These words surprised me greatly. I didn't expect they had already known about the agreement between Hua-un and me. The father-in-law told me not to mind anyway. From now on, we're all family, and we'll become a real family. Then grandfather told me to go to the riverside tomorrow to catch a wild goose. It must be a live goose, because the wild goose is needed for the engagement ceremony, and it must be prepared by me personally. After hearing grandfather's words, I couldn't help but feel shy. I didn't expect them to have us hold the engagement ceremony so soon. At this time, the father-in-law stepped forward. After the engagement ceremony, even if you regret it, you can't escape. You can only be a person of our Tang clan. After saying this, they all burst into laughter, everyone unable to hide the joy on their faces. I also smiled slightly. I hadn't experienced the warmth of family for a long time, so I spoke up and called to everyone, please listen to what I have to say. I clasped my fists and bowed to everyone. Thank you all for considering me a member of the Tang clan. I will definitely work hard to do everything well from now on. At this time, everyone looked at me. They were very satisfied with me as a son-in-law. Even Hua-un behind me was extremely excited. After going through so much, we had finally reached this step. I smiled gracefully. Thank you all for your kindness. I'll be counting on everyone's support in the future. The next day, I settled the spider demon. She really liked a tree beside the old well and decided to make her home there. As for the 2 little lizards, we decided not to put them in the poison garden, but to keep them with us because they kept clinging to us. After several days, our bond became even deeper. The most important day was also approaching, which was the engagement ceremony between Hua-un and me. The next day, at the Tang clan chief's hall. This time, they called us over to talk to me about the Great Method. Familiarizing with the Tang clan's internal techniques, the process of absorbing poison is called the Great Method. Grandfather suddenly sighed. This capture of the human-faced spider couldn't be better. Its poison is the weakest among the 10 greatest venomous creatures, beneficial for your absorption. But now is not yet the time to practice the Great Method. Then father's next words stunned me. He carefully examined the venomous creatures I was currently caring for, suddenly recalling something that had been forgotten by the family. Then father asked me if I knew what the so-called 5 poisons referred to. These 5 poisons naturally couldn't stump me. They are centipede, lizard, scorpion, venomous snake, and toad. These 5 venomous creatures form the backbone of the 5 poisons return to origin technique. Then he turned to ask if I wanted to learn the 5 poisons return to origin divine technique. This stunned me. This was the first time I'd heard of the 5 poisons return to origin divine technique. What was the difference from the 5 poisons return to origin technique? It turns out the Tang clan divides venomous creatures into 2 major categories: common creatures and spirit creatures. The so-called common creatures are ordinary venomous creatures seen everywhere, while spirit creatures are different. different, they are very intelligent and possess magical powers, or those with inner cores are called spirit creatures. The biggest difference between the 5 poisons return to origin technique and the 5 poisons return to origin divine technique is that one absorbs common creatures, the other absorbs spirit creatures, because the venomous creatures I brought back earlier were all spirit creatures. The golden maned bee king, ice lizards, azure spotted centipede, and human-faced spider, each venomous creature was extraordinary, while the 5 poisons return to origin technique only absorbs poison from ordinary venomous creatures. And now that we already have the centipede and lizards, these 2 spirit creatures, we just need to find spirit level, snake, scorpion, and toad to master this supreme martial art. I felt a bit strange. I remember the ice lizards I brought back seemed to have no poison. Grandfather stroked his beard and chuckled. Actually, this type of lizard has a poison that makes people feel like falling into an ice cellar. That is, the cold air they emit is the poison. So I now have 2 choices. One is to absorb the centipede and lizard's poison to practice the 5 poisons return to origin divine technique. The other is to absorb the 10 greatest venomous creatures to practice the 10 poisons dual origin technique. I raised my inner doubt. Couldn't the 10 greatest venomous creatures substitute for the 5 poisons? But unfortunately, there are no lizards among the 10 greatest venomous creatures. If I absorb lower level venomous creatures, I can no longer use the 10 greatest venomous creatures to accumulate. In short, should I take the spirit level 5 poisons route or choose the 10 poisons route? It seems like there are many choices, but the 2 types of martial poison return to origin techniques can basically be abandoned. This is similar to skill points in games. In my previous life when I played games, what I valued most were skill points, because a character's success or failure completely depends on skill points. Father seemed to see that I was having difficulty choosing, so he told me to consider carefully. These 2 techniques each have their own characteristics. After hearing Father's words, I broke out in cold sweat. My heart was actually very conflicted. Should I choose the simple and quick 5 poisons, or the difficult but peak-reaching 10 poisons? My heart sank with a thud. I seemed to have fallen into decision paralysis. After the conversation, I kept considering which to choose but never had a clue. Hua-un also knew my worries, so she spoke up. If it's for our agreement, then you don't need to worry about the 10 poisons at all. The 5 poisons return to origin divine technique is a very remarkable divine palace martial art, but no matter which I choose, I am still me. Right now, I still have 2 to 3 days to consider. After all, Father had said before, no matter how I choose, his preparation process is the same, just the poison added at the end is different. But I considered for 2 days straight and still hadn't made a decision. While the great method was about to be completed, I looked at the 2 lizards on the bed. I felt it was quite difficult to choose. No matter which I picked, I would seem to regret it. But just at this moment, my room door was suddenly pushed open by Hua-un, and she frantically called my name. Hua-un said breathlessly. The 3 little centipedes seemed to be molting again. I immediately sat up from the bed, telling her to quickly take me to see. Moments later, I came to a pavilion, and the 3 little centipedes were lying underneath the pavilion. Hua-un and I were full of excitement. I didn't know what the little centipedes could evolve into after this molting. Looking around, these little centipedes had already shriveled up considerably. It wouldn't be long before their shells would break. Hua-un also didn't expect it to be the second molting so soon. I was also very happy. After all the centipedes were about to transform, maybe they might grow blue spots on their bodies. If they could become as majestic as their centipede mother, just thinking about it made me incredibly excited. Hua-un chuckled. I feel after they molt, they might become even cuter than before. Just then, a thought suddenly flashed through my mind. Then I turned to look at the centipedes on the ground again. The great method starts tomorrow, but their bodies haven't dried out yet. What should we do? After all, ordinary centipedes take a whole day. Based on the last molting situation, they would definitely take even longer. The lizard's poison is very special and needs preparation before extraction. I was originally hesitating whether to use the centipedes or Yahua's poison. But this way, wouldn't I only be able to use Yahua's poison? If I forcibly extract the poison, problems would definitely arise, but I can't wait for their bodies to recover. If this is the case, I can only choose Yahua's poison. But wouldn't I have worried for nothing these past few days? Time quickly came to 2 days later. I was brought by the family head to a room. In front of me was a cauldron, inside mixed with many poisons. This was the great method specially prepared for me, and the venue was arranged inside the myriad poison hall. Considering the centipede's condition, I originally wanted to postpone the great method a bit, but the preparation process for the great method is very complicated. The specific process is to first use hundreds of medicine jars to separately boil hundreds of medicinal herbs, after squeezing out all the medicinal water. Then let it cool and pour it all into a large cauldron for stirring. Then add several types of poison and venomous creatures' blood into the large cauldron. This is a very difficult thing. If there's any delay, the painstakingly made medicinal water would be unusable and would have to be poured out completely, so I couldn't keep waiting. At this moment, I slowly came to the front of the large cauldron. I was ready. I still decided to first absorb the poison of the 10 greatest venomous creatures. I peered at the green water in the jar. I found this color really deep. At this time, grandfather had somehow come behind me and said, "Soryong, take off your clothes and soak in the cauldron." I lifted my foot and gently touched the water surface. It felt cool. Then my whole body sat in the cauldron. After sitting in, I felt my body getting somewhat warm. Probably the medicinal herbs had some effect, and this medicinal soaking cauldron gave me a feeling very similar to soaking in a swimming pool in my previous life. It was really a bit nostalgic. And next was to drop 1 drop of Yahua's poison into the medicinal herb water cauldron, then pour in the prepared medicinal water to let the body absorb the poison. This process was originally very painful, but fortunately Yahua's poison is a neurotoxin, so it shouldn't be that painful. Moments later, both of them left completely, leaving only me alone in the room. Then Hua-un brought the 2 ice lizards and Yahua to see me, and also brought me good news. That is, all 3 centipedes had completed molting and were now eager to find me. Due to the 3 centipedes longing, Hua-un could only bring the 3 lizards to see me. I carefully carefully observed the 3 lizards and found they really became prettier after molting and also grew quite a bit in size. Although somewhat different from what I imagined, they suddenly felt a bit like pillows, becoming even cuter than before. The 3 little centipedes looked puzzled. They felt it was strange seeing me soaking in the green medicinal water. I chuckled at Hua-Yun not far away. It's quite dangerous here. Have her take the 3 centipedes away. But one centipede was still lying on the jar. This little centipede was crawling at the edge of the bathtub, driven by curiosity. It really wanted to know what these green bubbles were. But just at this moment, the bubbles at the edge of the cauldron suddenly burst, splashing onto the centipede's antennae, causing it pain. This shocked me greatly. Could this medicinal water be irritating to venomous creatures? So I quickly told Hua-Yun to take it out and wash it with clean water. After hearing this, Hua-Yun also looked